What is going on, guys? Welcome. Good morning. Happy week 17 of the NFL. It's going to be a fantastic week. We are live on YouTube. Last week of the regular season. Good morning, everyone who's joining us on YouTube. Hit that like button if you're joining us on YouTube. You got those notifications on. Week 17, always an absolutely wild week. We got a lot to get through on this show. Joey G, how's it going? Happy week 17, everybody. Welcome if you're just joining us on YouTube. Good morning. Be live right up until game time. What is up, RG Falcons? How's everybody doing? Week 17 is always a chaotic week in the NFL, and this year is going to be no different. Dobbins, Malcolm Brown, or Drake? And is Corey Davis a good flex start? And good morning. Yeah, good morning, Eric. Dobbins, Malcolm Brown, or Drake? And is Corey? Yeah, Corey Davis is a fantastic flex start this week. I like Corey Davis a lot. I like everyone really on that Titans team. And I think that J.K. Dobbins is a little bit more exciting than Malcolm Brown and Kenyon Drake for me this week, with Chase Edmonds and Cam Akers looking like they're going to play. Josh Allen or Kirk? I don't think you can bench Josh Allen this week. It's tough with the Bills. They don't have very much to play for. Week 17, a lot of week 17 is understanding which teams have something to play for. The Buffalo Bills are up against a Miami Dolphins team that has a ton to play for. If they win, they're essentially in the playoffs. And the Bills are really fighting for like the 2 seed. And there's no bye for the 2 seed this season. So it doesn't matter that much for the Buffalo Bills, which makes playing any of that offense, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs especially, even more risky than they normally are. So I personally would go Josh Allen still, but Kirk Cousins has a fantastic matchup this week, and I like him a lot in DFS. I got a lot of Kirk Cousins lined up, so I don't think you can go wrong with either of those guys. I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a fantastic day. I think Justin Jefferson is going to have his 8th 100-yard game today, solidifying himself as one of the best rookie wide receivers in the history of the NFL. Josh Simmons, what's up, my man? If you're watching live on YouTube, guys, hit that like button. Akers or Hilton? Cam Akers is a guy that is going to be impossible to trust this week. I mean, he's coming off a high ankle sprain and supposed to be a 6-week injury. He's only missed 1 week. They're clearly pushing him back because they need a win. The winner of the Rams-Cardinals game makes the playoffs. This is a playoff game between these two teams. Jared Goff is out. They have some guy, I can't even remember that guy's name, that's playing quarterback for them. He's going to be absolutely terrible. So they're trying to rush Cam Akers back and have him be the focal point of the offense. But I don't think that's going to go very well. I would play T.Y. Hilton over Cam Akers. Richie James is the sleeper of the week, guys. Richie James, he's the DraftKings and FanDuel sleeper of the week, priced extremely low, basically the lowest possible price for Richie James this week. And without Brandon Ayuk and without Deebo Samuel, he's going to be playing almost every single snap for that team. Noah says pick 3, T.Y. Hilton, Marquise Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Ty Montgomery, Emmanuel Sanders, and Aguilar. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Ty Montgomery, because Ty Montgomery is a complete trap this week, as is Alexander Madison. I think that Ty Montgomery is probably going to see at least half of the backfield snaps for the Saints this week with all of their running backs out. But will we be that surprised if he does? His floor is below 5 points. I want nothing to do with Ty Montgomery. I would probably lean towards T.Y. Hilton, Emmanuel Sanders, and Aguilar there. Do I start James Elite White? No, I don't think you can start him. You trust McKissick this week. I don't trust McKissick that much this week with Antonio Gibson back. Chubb or Gaskin? Definitely Nick Chubb. And I like Gaskin. I'm a big Myles Gaskins fan, but Nick Chubb, guys, is a top 5 running back this week. He hasn't performed that great in the last couple of weeks. Can I start Terry this week? Yeah, there's another injury, another high ankle sprain, just like Cam Akers, rushing these guys back because they need to win this week. I don't know how much you can trust Terry McLaurin this week coming off that high ankle sprain. OMG, 6 a.m., he in that grind. Yeah, man, I'll be live right up till football starts. And you'll notice as you come back later in the show, as we get closer and closer to football, I will have a lot more energy. This is the morning crew. Love the morning crew. It's always a little bit more chill in the morning. but I don't think you can be starting Terry McLaurin, Madison, or Gus Edwards. I would go Gus Edwards. I really don't want anything to do. I really don't want anything to do with. I gotta adjust that, Brian. Thanks for letting me know. I don't want anything to do with Alexander Madison this week. I think Alexander Madison's the bust of the week, and I don't want him in my lineups. I think that Alexander Madison, back in week 6, if we remember, against the Atlanta Falcons, Alexander Madison was the big play of the week. He was actually priced lower back then than he is this week. And he scored under 5 points. He had 26 rushing yards, 10 carries. And I'm not convinced. Alexander Madison, guys, he hasn't played over 50% of the snaps. He hasn't seen over 10 carries since that week 6. He really hasn't been involved. He's been injured. There's a lot going against Alexander Madison that I don't think you can trust him in your lineups. I think he's being overblown. This is Alexander Madison is the overhyped player of week 6, week 17. I think Ty Montgomery is as well. On that Ty Montgomery fix and the optimized, Brian. Thanks for letting me know. Do you think the Giants are going to win? No, I don't think the Giants are going to win. I think that the Cowboys are going to win that game. That's going to be one of the most exciting games, though, because that's one of the games that's essentially a playoff game. Both those teams need a win if they want a chance to make the playoffs. Then they'll need a Washington football team loss. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. Do you believe Malcolm Brown will get a lot of snaps over Akers, and should I still start Diggs? Yeah, I think you still have to start Diggs if you haven't. But again, he's got increased risk this week just because the Bills don't have that much to play for. But I do think Malcolm Brown's going to get the bulk of the carries for the Rams. Best QB this week. There's a lot of quarterbacks I like. Aaron Rodgers is probably the number 1 quarterback this week just because they have a lot to play for still. That Packers-Bears game is also going to be one of the more exciting games of the week. The Bears have a chance to make the playoffs if they win. Mitch Trubisky has a chance to keep his job next season if they win and make the playoffs. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers will clinch the 1 seed with a win. And that's nothing to look over. The 1 seed is huge this year. There's no bye for the number 2 seed this year. So a bye is even more valuable than it was in past years. So I fully expect the Packers to be going all out to try to get that 1 seed. And I expect them to destroy the Bears. Hopkins playable this week? Yes. DeAndre Hopkins is definitely playable this week. Christian Kirk is out. Larry Fitzgerald is out. DeAndre Hopkins could see his largest target share of the season. Do you think Aguilar will go off? Yeah, he's been great. I think he should be in the conversation for comeback player of the year. I mean, he was literally booed out of town in Philadelphia, and he comes back and has his best season by far of his career. He's really the leading receiver for that team, and I think he's going to do really well again this week. I won't be surprised at all. A.J. Brown or Mike Evans, I would go A.J. Brown. I love that Titans offense this week. And the thing with the Bucs offense is we don't really know how long those starters are going to play, especially if they get a big lead. Washington or Colts defense, I would go Colts defense. Sam, I use your app. Any DraftKings advice? Yeah, I got lots of DraftKings advice. And thanks for using the app, man. Really do appreciate it. If you guys haven't checked out the WalterPicks app yet on the iOS App Store, we use artificial intelligence, machine learning to help you dominate DraftKings and FanDuel and prop picks. And I got a lot of DraftKings advice this week. I'm still alive. I'm in a high stakes season long DraftKings league where you have to make a new DraftKings lineup each week and you play a head to head matchup. And I'm still alive. I'm in the playoffs. There's 3 weeks left. And to this week, there's a lot of interesting DraftKings choices with there's a lot of cheap running backs available. One of the running backs I like a lot that I didn't write about in the WalterPicks app, Ty Johnson, who's going to be starting for the New York Jets against a horrible Patriots defense. No Frank Gore this week. And Ty Johnson has a realistic path to 20 touches. That makes him a very intriguing DFS option for me. I like Ty Johnson a lot. I don't think I like him more than Chris Carson in a season-long league, but in DFS, Ty Johnson's got a great floor and ceiling at that price. Do you believe Aguilar, Hilton, and Lamb is a good 3-player for wide receivers and flex, or should I put Sanders and Aguilar somewhere in there? I would probably be playing Emmanuel Sanders over CeeDee Lamb. Bourne or Corey Davis. Don't bench Corey Davis this week. Corey Davis, he has not had 2 bad weeks in a row this entire season. Chubb or David Johnson. I would go Chubb. Myles Gaskin, Henry, Jeff Wilson, or Giovanni Bernard. If that's Derrick Henry, then definitely Derrick Henry. Never bench Derrick Henry. Tom Brady this week. Yeah, if he plays the whole game, Tom Brady's going to be a top 5 quarterback. Pick 3, non-PPR. Chubb, Gaskin, Wilson Jr., Scary Terry, Madison, Gordon, Montgomery. I would go with those first 3 guys, Chubb, Gaskin, and Wilson. And I think maybe Montgomery over Wilson, but I would definitely be playing Chubb and Gaskin. Why don't you like Lamb this week? I do like CeeDee Lamb this week. The Giants secondary is a lot better than people realize, but it's not that I don't like CeeDee Lamb. It's that I think that Emmanuel Sanders is going to see more targets than him. Best tight end this week. Yeah, the best tight end this week, it's Mark Andrews. I mean, Travis Kelce's not going to be playing the whole game. George Kittle is probably going to play a lot, but there's also there's no incentive for the 49ers to continue to risk George Kittle. So if George Kittle doesn't play the full game, I don't think you can confidently project Travis Kelce to play the whole game, and that leaves Mark Andrews as the top guy. Darren Waller probably is up there as well, but again, how much are they going to really risk their starters in the last game of the season? Is A.J. Dillon startable this week? I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would start A.J. Dillon. I think Aaron Jones is still going to see the bulk of the touches. Would you start Ty Montgomery over Hunt? No, I want nothing to do with Ty Montgomery. I think he's another trap along with Alexander Madison this week. Ty Montgomery, I like Ty Johnson, yes, more than Ty Montgomery. Ty Montgomery has a very realistic chance, probably above a 50% chance to score under 5 points. Big Bob Tunyon. Yeah, I do like Tunyon. You're my favorite creator. Thanks, man. I do appreciate that. It's been a long season. Man, it's been an absolute grind, but it's been a lot of fun. It's weird only seeing 17 people in the live. Yeah, it's early. It's early. It's week 17, so don't worry, Jake. More people will be coming. Higgins, Lamb, or Mike Williams. I'd probably lean towards Higgins, then Lamb, then Mike Williams, but they're all really, really close. And can't say 24. Thanks for the follow, man. Kittle or Logan Thomas? I'd probably lean towards Kittle. I'm considering benching Montgomery because Green Bay shut down Henry. Yeah, and it's strange because Green Bay hasn't been very good against the run this season. What's your DraftKings at? It's at Sam Fact. I maxed out the $20, not $20, the $3 entry in the, what's it called? It's the one I've been maxing out every single week, but I'm also in a high-stakes season-long DraftKings league, so I make a head-to-head lineup that has a lot risked on each week as well. But my ad is at Sam Fact on DraftKings. What's this contest that I'm in? I'll pull up the name. My fantasy season over, but I still support my bro. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, you got to try out DraftKings or FanDuel if you haven't tried it out yet. Jimmy Graham or Jonnu Smith? I would go Jonnu Smith. I like every piece that I can get of that Titans offense. I would go Jonnu Smith, especially with Cole Kmet really playing over Jimmy Graham. Even though Jimmy Graham has outscored Cole Kmet recently, Kmet's playing more. Irv Smith, good or not? Yeah, I do think he's good. Hi, Sam. Just wanted to say hi and that your app has saved my season. Elias, thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that. Why couldn't I find you at the beginning of the season? Well, don't worry. You found me before the beginning of the next season. And guys, we are going to dominate with the draft content next year. I'm so excited to have a full off season to plan the draft content, and I'll be posting draft content way too early. Like I promise you, before you're thinking about your draft, I will be thinking about the fantasy football drafts. There's only 17 people I know you're seeing me. Caleb, how's it going, man? Will you apologize for telling me Bell over Gaskin last week? Yeah, Caleb, I'm sorry. Le'Veon Bell was my biggest miss of week 16 by far. The process on Le'Veon Bell, I do think, was pretty good. I mean, he was supposed to be the number one running back on the best offense in the NFL, but clearly that's not what ended up happening. So I'm sorry about the Le'Veon Bell week 16 take. T.Y. Hilton or Dobbins at flex? I would lean towards Hilton. I think T.Y. Hilton's going to do very well. The app is not on Android yet, but it's coming. What are your plans for fantasy basketball? We're going to be having a DraftKings and FanDuel. We're changing our optimizer to work for DraftKings and FanDuel for the NBA. It's going to be out in just a couple of weeks. And we're also going to have some player props for NBA as well. So very excited for that. Prop of the day, Kobe, got to come back. Once we pass 100 likes on the YouTube stream, we will be giving out the free prop pick of the day. Start 2, AB, Sanders, Aguilar, Shepard, or Chenault. I'd probably go Sanders and Aguilar there. How many points do you think Madison will put up? I think he's going to put up less than 10. I think Alexander Madison is the trap of the week. I want nothing to do with him. How will Jones play? Which Jones? There's a lot of Jones. Fantasy basketball does not hit the same as football. Yeah, Josh, I agree. Basketball will never compete with football. Best defense this week. There's a couple defenses I like a lot this week, and they both have to do with backup quarterbacks playing. The Browns have a fantastic matchup against Mason Rudolph, who's behind. The Steelers are dealing with a COVID breakout. They're missing tons of starting players, and they're benching Big Ben, and several other starters. Mason Rudolph's in at starting quarterback. The Browns defense is going to eat them up this week. And I think that the Cardinals defense is also going to dominate the Rams with their backup quarterback playing. Is Diggs a start? Yes, he is. But I like A.J. Brown more. I like A.J. Brown more than Diggs, given that one team has a lot to play for and the other doesn't. Why is Andrew Luck trending? Because Andrew Luck should come back to the NFL. He should come back, join the Colts, then go win a Super Bowl. And I hope it happens. I'd imagine that's why it's trending. What about Gus Edwards? How many points do you think he'll get? I think he'll get a right around 10. Sup, Sam? You helped me a ton this year. I won 2 championships, Ben. That's what I'm talking about. Can't wait to share this with all my friends. Keep up the awesome work, man. And Walter, we trust. Ben, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Can Bucs win the Super Bowl? I do think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have an outside shot. And if you're betting on who's going to win the Super Bowl, the odds for them are still pretty good. And I think that if there's any team that has a slight chance to compete with the Chiefs, I think you could argue the Bucs are in that list. It's been a crazy season this year. Thanks for all the help and advice. Yeah, it has really been a crazy, crazy season. I mean, this is not a normal fantasy football season. It was probably the most challenging fantasy season of all time in my lifetime. Giants or Cowboys? I think the Cowboys are going to be the Giants. Don't need to worry about the Saints. Yeah, I think that the Saints are up against the Panthers, and I don't think you need to worry about them. They do have a lot to play for. They still can get that number 1 seed. If the Packers don't beat the Bears, the Saints could get that number 1 seed, and that means a lot this year. The first round bye means a ton. It means more than in past years because there's only one bye. Zeke or Jeff Wilson or Dobbins? I would lean towards Zeke over Jeff Wilson and over Dobbins. Ezekiel Elliott took back the primary workhorse role for the Cowboys last week, and he's going to have it again this week in a must-win game against a Giants team that's weakness is stopping the run. Their strength is the secondary. Their weakness is their defensive line. Rams or Cowboys defense? I would lean towards the Cowboys defense over the Rams defense. Cardinals or Rams defense? I like the Cardinals defense a ton, guys. They're up against a quarterback that has never played a snap in the NFL. Le'Veon Bell runs like he has bricks. Yeah, Caleb, I'm done with Le'Veon Bell, man. Any prop picks on the app listed in any specific order? Are the props? No, they're not listed in any specific order, BMC, but the ones with a lock next to them, those are the ones that Walter's most confident in. Walter's the artificially intelligent algorithm that has helped us identify the exploitable props. I think we have 6 in the WalterPicks app today, exploitable prop picks. So I'll be sharing one with all of you completely free on this stream, guys. We've had over 85% accuracy sharing free player prop picks on this stream. So I'll share my most confident prop with everyone on this live stream. Excited for that. When we hit 100 likes on that YouTube stream, so hit that like button and we can get to that free prop. Can't wait for the prop of the day. Matt, good morning, man. Happy Football Sunday. Week 17, Matt. Season flew by. It always does. Well, who's your favorite 3 winners this week? I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants this week. The Cowboys are starting to click a little bit on offense. And if Andy Dalton is able to throw against this Giants secondary, which is a big if, I don't think there's any chance the Cowboys lose. I also think the Browns are going to completely destroy the Steelers. And I thought this before the COVID outbreak for the Steelers, and that's even adding to this opinion of mine. But the Browns are in a must-win game. The Browns win, they're in the playoffs. The Steelers are literally benching. They have nothing to play for. And both those things working together, Mason Rudolph is starting. We saw, guys, half a season of Mason Rudolph. He is not good. He is a bottom 5 quarterback playing this week. The Browns are going to destroy the Steelers. I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. And then I'd say my third pick is the Titans to beat the Texans. The Titans are also in a must-win game this week. I expect a lot from that offense, and it'll be interesting to see if Deshaun Watson can keep up, because the Titans defense is the weakness of the team. They really have had a bad defense all year, but I think the Titans offense is going to win. Your free prop picks literally paid for my summer. Appreciate the work you put in. Love to hear that. Yeah, if you've just followed our free prop picks this season, you've definitely cashed in. Steelers are losing because they did the Corvette after the last win. Yeah, they're cursed by the TikTok dances. I mean, really, that was when the downhill started for the Pittsburgh Steelers. On Android, a boom. I think you spelled that wrong. That's even a Goomba Wally, I think is how you say it, or Rodney Smith. I like a Goomba Wally a little bit more. Both those guys, interesting running back options this week, though. How many points do you think Jamison Elite Crowder, or Alexander Madison will get? I like Jamison Elite Crowder a lot more than Alexander Madison this week. I think Jamison Elite Crowder is probably going to see at least 8 targets against the Pats, who have a horrible secondary and a horrible defensive line and really horrible everything this season. So I do like Jamison Crowder. I don't like Alexander Madison that much. The matchup is perfect for Alexander Madison. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed top 5 fantasy points per game to running backs all season. but I don't think you can confidently say Alexander Madison's going to get over 50% of the workload in that backfield, and that's why I'm completely out on him. Damn, you're only 23, LOL. Yes, I am 23 years old, soon to be 24. Why do you keep saying the Steelers have a COVID outbreak? They have 2 players out, Ebron and Hayden. Yeah, I thought there was a coach as well. Maybe it's not as bad as I've been saying. Thoughts on Jeff Wilson? I think Jeff Wilson's just coming off his best game of his career. I think he's a great option this week. Hey, WalterPicks, who you got today, Cardinals or the Rams? Definitely the Cardinals. My name's Sam, by the way. I built an artificially intelligent algorithm that's name is Walter. It's a classic mistake. But yeah, I like the Cardinals a lot more than the Rams. With the Rams playing their backup quarterback, both teams, the winner of this game goes into the NFL playoffs. And yes, we will have a free prop pick this week. We've had over 85% accuracy giving away our free prop picks this season. We're going to be giving that away when we hit 100 likes on this YouTube live stream. So hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. And if you're watching live on TikTok, go over to YouTube, hit that like button. Think Zeke can get 100 plus yards? Yeah, I do think he can. Whoa. Thanks, bro. I'm a huge Cardinals fan. No problem, man. Sam, you're definitely a guy I'd love to share a beer with. Maybe someday. I owe someone a beer because Jonnu Smith somehow finishes a top 10 tight end. I have no idea how he did that. He literally had 2 good weeks. You can separate the newbies from the returnees by if they call you Sam or Walter. Yeah, exactly. I need a waiver wire running back and wide receiver. Who do you suggest? There is a ton of waiver wire options this week, and there always is in week 17. That's why you shouldn't be playing your fantasy championship in week 17. But Ty Johnson, if Ty Johnson is available, you got to go add Ty Johnson. I think he is tremendous upside. If you're looking for a wide receiver, look no further than Richie James. So Richie James is going to play 100% of the snaps for the 49ers today with Ayuk and Deebo Samuel out. Murray or Herbert? I like Kyler Murray a little bit more than Herbert, especially in that must-win game. I think Gibson will play this week. I do. What do you think about Washington versus Eagles game? Yeah, Alex Smith looking like he's going to play. Terry McLaurin looking like he's going to push through an injury that was supposed to sideline him for multiple weeks. He only missed 1 week. I think that the Washington football team, the fate is in their hands. But I think that the Washington football team is going to end up winning that game. If they don't, I think the Cowboys are going to be in the playoffs because I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Eagles. Waller or Kittle? I'd probably lean towards Waller over Kittle. I'm sad to see this fantasy coming to an end. Yeah, it's always sad when the fantasy football season comes to an end. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Helps me out a ton. Do you think the Jags plus 14 cover against the Colts? That won't surprise me at all. That's honestly not a game I'd be willing to bet on. But I do think that the Colts are going to win that game. They need to win to get into the playoffs. How many points do you think Jamison Crowder and Alexander Madison will get? I'd say Jamison Crowder over 10, Alexander Madison under 10. Josh Allen is a good option this week, even though he could end up resting later in the game if the game isn't close or if the Buffalo Bills decide it's not worth chasing the number 2 seed. There's not much to play for the Buffalo Bills. There's no bye for the 2 seed this season. So if I were the Bills, I would be resting everybody. Green Bay versus Bears, who do you think will win? I think the Packers are going to win that game. The Packers still have a lot to play for. If they win, they get the number 1 seed, and that is not something to overlook this year. The 1 seed has a tremendous advantage in the playoffs. So I think that the Packers are going to win. Yes, Devontae Adams, is going to play. Derrick Henry goes over 2K today. Yeah, I think he needs 160 yards or something crazy like that. And obviously that's in reach for a guy like Derrick Henry. I would love to see it. Josh Allen or Tom Brady? I'd probably lean towards Tom Brady over Josh Allen this week. Ty Johnson or Malcolm Brown? I like Ty Johnson more than Malcolm Brown because Malcolm Brown now is looking like he's going to split carries with Cam Akers. So I like Ty Johnson more. Ty Johnson is not going to split carries with anybody. He's probably going to get 20 touches. Sportsbook is better. I don't know what that even means. Jets or Pats? I think the Jets are going to beat the Pats. It's going to be miserable. It's going to really put a nail in the coffin on this season for the Patriots. And it's going to at least let Adam Gase leave on a high note because apparently he's going to be fired tomorrow or today. I believe Henry actually needs 230. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But he's over-under today. Derrick Henry, his over-under has been above 120 for 4 consecutive weeks now. Absolutely insane. Like, think about that. If you want to bet on Derrick Henry's rushing yards, the over-under is 125. Any games to avoid because of weather? I've seen nothing on the weather today. So I don't think there's anything to worry about with wind over 25 miles an hour. So nothing to worry about for the weather. Who is an okay tight end for today? My favorite tight end on DraftKings and FanDuel today is Mike Gesicki. And I talked about Mark Andrews and I think Evan Ingram in the WalterPicks app this week. But another tight end I really like is Mike Gesicki, who is benefiting from a lot of injuries for the Dolphins, and he's really going based on the weapons that they have, he's going to see at least 8 targets. Thoughts on Saquon Barkley next season and where he should be drafted in fantasy? I honestly don't think that the top 2 picks should change heading into next season. And they might change just because of the injury bias that people have when they draft fantasy football. It's one of the biggest advantages you can get. We'll be talking a lot about next year's draft heading into next year, but I think that Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley should still be the top 2 picks next season. Yuck, my opponent has Mike Gesicki. Good luck. Yeah, Jared Cook is an interesting DFS option as well. With all the injuries to the Saints, he should be more involved in the offense. Who is out for week 17? David, that's an extremely long list, man. Go to RotoWorld. They'll let you know. Do you think Henry will get 2,000 yards in total? He needs 223 against Houston. I don't think he's going to get that, but I bet he comes pretty close. Who is out for week 17? Yeah, again, there's a ton. Pick 2, Antonio Gibson, JT Monty, or Miles Sanders. I would probably lean towards Miles Sanders is out this week, so I guess you got to go with JT and Monty. Jonathan Taylor, guys, is also, he's only 86 yards away from hitting that 1,000 mark after really not doing much the whole first half of the season. Jonathan Taylor could hit 1,000 yards. He's averaging 97 yards per game since week 11, and I think he's going to hit that 1,000-yard mark today. Jeff Wilson or Aaron Jones? I would lean towards Aaron Jones still, and I know a lot of people are salty about Aaron Jones. A.J. Dillon outplayed him last week, but I think you got to run it back with Aaron Jones. Gaskin or Johnson? I would probably lean towards Gaskin over Ty Johnson. Will Colts make the playoffs? Yes, I do think the Colts will make the playoffs. I think the Titans will make the playoffs as well. The Dolphins are in a must-win game, and they've really been leaning heavily on Myles Gaskin. TB12 or Murray? I really like Kyler Murray. Even against a good defense, guys, it's a must-win game for them. Kyler Murray's looked fully healthy recently. I don't think you can be benching him in fantasy. Hawkinson or Gesicki? I like Gesicki more than Hawkinson. And what a warrior, guys, Matthew Stafford is. I mean, he's arguably the most, that guy's an absolute warrior. He's playing through all sorts of injuries for really no reason. Their season's over. Will the Browns make the playoffs? Yes, guys, the Browns are going to destroy the Steelers today. The Steelers are playing a backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph, who we've seen enough of to know that he's not good, a good football player in the NFL. Guys, hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. Once we hit 100 likes, I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. Where should Myles Gaskin be drafted? Myles Gaskin's probably going to be in like the 5th to 7th round. I put him around that area, but it'll be interesting. He's definitely going to be a risky pick. It'll be interesting to see if they bring in anyone else in the offseason. They probably will. Will the Bears make the playoffs? No, I don't think the Bears are going to make the playoffs. They need to beat the Packers, who have a lot to play for as well this week. They need that number 1 seed to get a bye. So I don't think that the Bears are going to be able to beat the Packers. Ertz or Tunyon? I would lean towards Tunyon, but Ertz is a pretty good option, guys. Dallas Goedert is out this week. Will the Bucs re-sign Godwin? They should, if they're smart, and I won't be surprised if they do. A.J. Brown or Allen Robinson? I like A.J. Brown a ton. Mason Rudolph had a winning record last week. Yeah, but wins are not a quarterback stat. How many times do we have to go over this? Wins are not a quarterback stat. Wins are a team stat. Quarterbacks have quarterback stats, and the quarterback stats for Mason Rudolph were not good. He had a horrible touchdown to interception ratio, horrible completion percentage. He wasn't able to throw the ball deep at all. He's not good, and he didn't help them win. The defense helped them win, and their playmakers helped them win. Ronald Jones or Carson? I would lean towards Carson over Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones also coming back from an injury. Be interesting to see how much he plays, but to me, he's risky this week with the uncertainty around Ronald Jones. And just the incentive for them not to play. The Bucs have very little to play for. I don't really understand what they're pushing for. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are against the Falcons in a game where really neither team has anything to play for. The Buccaneers cannot get the 1 seed. So if you can't get the 1 seed, what are you playing for? What is your top 10 wide receiver list? 10-0. That you can actually find that video on YouTube. I ranked my top 10 wide receivers about a month ago. I also ranked my top 10 running backs. So definitely go check out that video on YouTube. What drug will Josh Gordon use this week? Oh man, don't knock a man while he's down. Hi Sam, please pick 2. Myles Gaskin, Wilson Jr., Madison, or Aaron Jones? I would probably lean towards Myles Gaskin and Aaron Jones there. You think the Panthers will beat the Saints? No, probably not. The Saints have something to play for. The Panthers do not. So I do think that the Saints will win that game. Irv Smith Jr. or Dawson Knox? I would go Irv Smith. And whoever mentioned the Ty Montgomery salary thing, I do think that the salary is going to be fixed for Ty Montgomery very soon. Do you think the Pats are going to win today? No. I think it's going to be a brutal ending to the Patriots season with them losing to the New York Jets. And it's just going to be a sad way to end. And it's going to be Adam Gase leaving on a high note. And wow, I can't believe Adam Gase was a head coach in the NFL for 5 years. He's been one of the worst coaches in the NFL for 5 years. Saints have no Thomas or running backs. Yeah, they have nobody. So the Saints are going to be playing Ty Montgomery at running back. I think we're going to see a lot more of Taysom Hill this week as well. And I think Jared Cook, Emmanuel Sanders are going to be the two focal points of the offense. Antonio Brown or Ronald Jones, I would go Antonio Brown. JD or Lockett, I would go Lockett over JD McKissick. And Lockett really has been mostly a disappointment this season, honestly. He's had a couple big games, but he's been in that boom or bust category, not where we were hoping he was when we drafted him in the top 4 rounds. Jeff Wilson or Aaron Jones? I'd go Aaron Jones still. Hey, Sam, pick one. Irv Smith Jr. or Dawson Knox? Yeah, Kobe, I would go Irv Smith over Dawson Knox. Patriots should hire Adam Gase and fire Bill Belichick. It's probably the worst comment I've ever seen in the 17 weeks I've been doing this show. Guys, hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. Really do appreciate it. When we hit 100 likes, we're going to be giving away the free prop pick of the day. Yeah, I do like the Arizona Cardinals today. I think they're going to destroy the Rams with their backup quarterback playing. Melvin Gordon or Curtis Samuel. I like Melvin Gordon a lot. He's up against a horrible Raiders run defense that we've been exploiting all season long, really the last month especially. I do like Melvin Gordon a lot. Are the Panthers D good? I don't love the Panthers defense. No. Pick one at quarterback. Jones or Henne? I would probably go Jones. Thoughts on Zeke today? Yeah, I think Ezekiel Elliott's going to see at least 20 touches, which means I like him, and I think he's a great value in DraftKings and FanDuel. He's priced really low on DraftKings, and they really haven't adjusted for him, being the workhorse back on that team again. And I think he's a great value, especially in head-to-head contests where you're really looking for a high floor. He's going to see 20 touches. Who do you think winning the NFC East? I think the Washington football team are going to end up winning. Their defense is going to carry them. But if it's not the Washington football team, I got the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. Kittle or Logan Thomas? I would go Kittle. Chubb, Gaskin, or Carson? Pick 2. I would go with those first 2 guys, Chubb and Gaskin. You can't bench Nick Chubb this week. I like Nick Chubb a lot in DFS this week as well. They're huge favorites against the Steelers. It's a must-win game. He's going to see at least 15 carries. I think Nick Chubb is going to do very, very well. Jeff Wilson or Ronald Jones? I would lean towards Jeff Wilson over Ronald Jones. Allen or Herbert? I would go Allen, man. I like Herbert a lot, but to me, Josh Allen still has that higher ceiling. Both teams also in a similar situation where they don't really have that much to play for. Is Stephon Diggs going to play? Yeah, it does look like Stephon Diggs is going to play. Chargers beat Kansas City? Maybe. I mean, the Chiefs literally aren't playing anybody. Lamar Jackson against the Bengals or Aaron Rodgers against the Bears? I would play Lamar Jackson. You can't bench Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football this week, guys. He's been on an absolute tear recently. He hasn't scored less than 20 fantasy points in 3 straight weeks, and his ceiling is so high with how much he's running the ball again. You got to love Lamar Jackson. They're in a must-win game against the Bengals. They're going to be playing all out. I like Lamar Jackson a ton. And the Bengals defense is nothing to worry about. Thoughts on Madison? Yeah, to me, Alexander Madison is the bust of the week. I want nothing to do with him. He's a complete trap. Last time we were doing this was week 6 when he was up against the Falcons. Back then, they were allowing top 5 fantasy points per game to running backs. We were all in on Alexander Madison. He ended up with 26 rushing yards, 10 carries. I think we're going to see something similar this week, even in a fantastic matchup against the Detroit Lions, who are averaging top 5 fantasy points per game to running backs. Corey Davis, McLaren, or Hilton? I would probably rank them as Corey Davis number 1. Corey Davis and A.J. Brown are fantastic options this week against a bad Texans secondary in a game with one of the highest over-unders of the week. I think T.Y. Hilton would come in right after Corey Davis, and then after that is Terry McLaurin. And the reason Terry McLaurin is last, and by the way, I rank Terry McLaurin as a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL on talent alone. I posted my top 10 wide receiver video on YouTube if you want to go back and check that out. But Terry McLaurin's coming off an injury, and it's unclear how much he's actually going to play, which is why I would rank him 3rd. Gus Edwards or Swift? I think you got to go Swift. Hurts or Wilson? I would lean towards Jalen Hurts over Russell Wilson. And, God, that's weird to be saying in week 17 of the NFL, but here we are. I like Hurts more than Russell Wilson, but I like Phillip Rivers more than Jalen Hurts. Phillip Rivers is up against the worst secondary in the NFL. We've been exploiting this Jaguar secondary in fantasy for the last month. They've been extremely injured. They have nothing to play for. The Colts have a ton to play for. Jonathan Taylor is a top 10 running back this week. He's only 86 yards away from passing the 1,000 mark. I think he's going to go over 90 yards. Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton, both good options against a Jaguar secondary that has not stopped a soul in the last month. They have not stopped anybody. I would probably be starting Terry McLaurin over Antonio Brown, but it's definitely close. Tom Brady or Tua? Tua's just not a very exciting fantasy football quarterback. He does not push the ball deep. He doesn't take many risks, and so I would go Tom Brady. Aaron Jones, Jeff Wilson, or Madison? I'd go those first 2 guys. Again, Alexander Madison, to me, he's the trap. He's the trap of week 17. The number 2 trap is Ty Montgomery, by the way. What do you think the NFC playoff picture will look like? Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the playoff implications for today. I think that the NFC East is going to end up going to the Washington football team. I think that the Packers are going to end up getting that first round bye. I think they're going to beat the Bears today. And the first round bye is very much worth playing for, guys. Only one team in each division this season is getting that first round bye, and that means a lot. The first round bye is a tremendous advantage this season, even more so than past seasons. So I do think that the Packers are going to end up getting that first round bye. I think that the Saints, they're already locked into the playoffs. The Bucs are going to be in the playoffs. The Seahawks still need a win to get into the playoffs, but I don't think that we need to be concerned about the Seahawks. I'm most interested to see if the Cardinals or the Rams are going to make it in. I think it's going to be the Cardinals over the Rams, and the NFC playoff picture is going to be pretty competitive. Ty Johnson or Kiki QT? I like Ty Johnson more. Ty Montgomery is the second trap of the week. It's Alexander Madison and it's Ty Montgomery. These are the two big traps this week. I don't think you can confidently say either of these guys is playing over 50% of the snaps. Taysom Hill is probably going to see carries too. Yeah, I agree. I think Taysom Hill is going to be more involved than usual. I don't think you can trust Ty Montgomery. Guys, Ty Montgomery has one carry this season. One singular carry. I mean, are we really trusting a guy that has one carry? Brady or Kirk? I like Kirk Cousins a lot today as well. Guys, we just saw what Brady did against this Lions secondary. You could argue that the only secondary that could be worse than the Jaguars is the Lions. I mean, Tom Brady threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in a single half against this Lions secondary. And if you watch that game, I mean, guys were just running wide open. I think Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are all going to have fantastic days against this Lions secondary. If you're playing DFS today, to me, I was choosing really between 3 quarterbacks in my lineups. It was Ryan Tannehill, who I think is going to do fantastic today against a bad Texan secondary. It was Kirk Cousins, who I think is going to do fantastic against a horrible Lions secondary. And I also think Drew Lock is an interesting, cheap DFS option stacked with Jerry Jeudy, who saw 15 targets last week. Don't be surprised if Jerry Jeudy has a breakout game to end the season and makes himself on the sleeper radar for every single fantasy football player next season. Guys, Drew Lock has a ceiling today against a bad Raiders secondary. He's only 5,000 on DraftKings. You can fit in guys like Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb when you're playing Drew Lock in DFS. So those 3 quarterbacks are probably my favorite in DFS. Do you like March Madness? Do you do March Madness, Sam? Yeah, I'll probably be doing a March Madness show. I don't think we'll have anything on it in the WalterPicks app, but March Madness is always a great time. I always do like a heavy week of research for March Madness the week before. Gaskin or Swift? I would lean towards Swift over Gaskin. I think Swift's ceiling is just too high to ignore. Gaskin or Amari Cooper? Yeah, Amari Cooper's got an interesting one. He's going to be up against Bradbury, top 3 cornerback in the NFL, but Amari Cooper has really had, he could have his best season of his career if he gets just, I think he needs 116 yards to set a career high in season yards this week. And I won't be surprised if he does it even in a tough matchup. Would you start Justin Jefferson or Jerry Jeudy over DK Metcalf, Tyreek Hill, or Stephon Diggs? You can't play Tyreek Hill. You can't play Tyreek Hill. You can't play Patrick Mahomes. You can't play Travis Kelce. All 3 of those guys are most likely going to be sitting on the bench by halftime. And as they should be. They already locked in the 1 seed. They should not be risking those guys. So all 3 of those guys definitely do not start in fantasy football this week. It's why you shouldn't be playing your fantasy football championship in week 17. But yeah, Justin Jefferson can be played over Tyreek Hill for sure. And I would still be playing Stephon Diggs over Jerry Jeudy, but it's close. I think, guys, Jerry Jeudy had 15 targets last week. They were funneling targets to him. It's very clear they want that connection going into next season. So I do think Jerry Jeudy is an intriguing option, but I still wouldn't play him over Stephon Diggs. AB or Lockett? I'd go AB. Lockett's been brutal. Jonathan Taylor or David Montgomery? I would go Jonathan Taylor over David Montgomery. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. We are only 70 likes away from the free prop pick of the day, which we had over 85% accuracy giving away free prop picks this season. Where do you think Juju will sign? There's so many free agents to talk about. I'm looking forward to discussing. I won't be surprised at all if Juju re-signs in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's got good receivers. I mean, Chase Claypool is very much the real deal, and Deontay Johnson is the number 1 receiver. Can you say hi, Max? Yeah, how's it going, Max? Pick 2, Jeudy, Madison, Ty Johnson, QT. I would lean towards Jeudy and Ty Johnson there. Again, the trap of the week is Alexander Madison. The trap of the week is Ty Montgomery. Do not trust these guys. The best cheap values on DraftKings. Yeah, Drew Lock is the best cheap value at the quarterback position. At the running back position, the best cheap value is Ty Johnson, who's probably going to see 20 touches against a horrible Pats defense. And then at the wide receiver position, the best cheap value, it's Richie James, who's only, I think he's 3,200, almost the bare minimum price for a wide receiver. Richie James is going to play 100% of the snaps for the 49ers. No Ayuk and no Deebo Samuel. At tight end, my favorite value is probably Mike Gesicki. Also, big Nets fan. Nice, man. Crowder, Juju, or Landry? I would lean towards Crowder over Juju and Landry this week. Pick 2: Akers, Crowder, Corey, Ty Johnson, or Juju. Yeah, I don't know how much you can trust Juju in a game where they're benching a lot of their starters. I don't trust Mason Rudolph to move the ball at all. I would go Jameson Elite, Crowder, and Corey Davis there. And Ty Johnson should be considered as well. If you're going for the safe route, I would play Ty Johnson over Jamison Crowder. Should I start Brandon Cooks or Stephon Diggs? I would go Brandon Cooks, who's probably going to play the full game, while Stephon Diggs might not. What do you think about Melvin Gordon? Melvin Gordon's not only been seeing more volume of late. Phillip Lindsay out again this week. He's on the IR, but he's also been pretty effective. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. Gaskin or David Johnson? I would go Gaskin. Do you like Rivers as a pick? Yeah, I do like Phillip Rivers as a pick. Is Malcolm Brown a good pick? Yeah, I do like Malcolm Brown this week, but you got to be aware Cam Akers looks like he's going to play, which really lowers the floor and ceiling for Malcolm Brown. It's pretty ironic the Colts need to win to make the playoffs, and they're the only team to lose to the Jaguars. Yeah, I can't believe the Colts lost to the Jaguars, and now they get a chance for redemption this week. Rivers or Allen? I would lean towards Phillip Rivers over Josh Allen just because he has so much more to play for. Sam, please, Kirk Cousins or Justin Herbert? I'd go Kirk Cousins. Again, he's a lot more to play for. What do you think about Mayfield? I think Mayfield's one of the more trashed-on quarterbacks. I think he's underrated in terms of public perception. I think Baker Mayfield still has the ability to be a winning quarterback in the NFL. I think that with Baker Mayfield, you can win a Super Bowl, and I don't think many people believe that. Do you like Pascal this week? Yeah, I do like all of that Colts offense against the horrible, horrible secondary of the Jaguars. I think that Pascal, I think T.Y. Hilton, both of those guys can do very well. Browns, Raiders, or Washington? I would lean towards Browns defense. Guys, the Browns defense is up against Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph is absolute trash. Jerry Jeudy or Robbie Anderson? I would go Jerry Jeudy over Robbie Anderson. Do you think the G-men have a chance to make the playoffs? Yes, they do. Both the G-men and the Cowboys have a chance to make the playoffs. I mean, the Washington football team is by no means a lock to beat the Eagles. I think that the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants, though. I don't like the Giants' odds of making the playoffs. Josh Jacobs or Gordon? I would lean towards Gordon over Josh Jacobs just because of the matchups. Thoughts on Ty Montgomery this week? Yeah, Ty Montgomery's a trap. Alexander Madison, also a trap. I wouldn't be trusting either of those guys. I do like Ty Johnson, I think, Noah, a little bit more than Cam Akers, just because Cam Akers has this added layer of risk based off him coming off of an injury. And if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, hit that like button. When we hit 100 likes, I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. Herbert or Hurts? I'd probably go Herbert with that one. What's up, Sam? How's it going? Should I keep Allen or Deontay next year? Would lose 12th round for Allen, last for DJ. That's close. I would probably keep last pick with Deontay Johnson just because quarterbacks are so easy to get late in drafts. Even though Josh Allen is a beast, I would probably go with Deontay Johnson with your last round pick. That's a great pick. David Montgomery or Eckler? I'd probably go Eckler. Gordon or Jeff Wilson? That's a really close one. I would probably lean towards Melvin Gordon over Jeff Wilson, though. Hilton or Crowder to start? I think I would go Hilton over Crowder for the upside. If you're going for the floor, though, it's probably Jameson Elite Crowder. And again, I preach in fantasy football, it's all about a range of outcomes. The range of outcomes for T.Y. Hilton, it's 5 points to 30 points. The range of outcomes for Jameson Crowder, it's like 10 points to 25 points. So if you're going for the floor, I'd go Jameson Elite Crowder. Evan Ingram or Jonnu Smith? This one's close. I do like Evan Ingram. This is a must-win game for the Giants. Evan Ingram has been more and more involved. Golden Tate is out. I like Evan Ingram a little bit more than Jonnu Smith, but in DFS, if you're looking for a cheap way to get into that high-scoring Tennessee-Houston game, then go with Jonnu Smith. Championship final, Kyler or Herbert? I'd go Kyler. Do I start Diggs after his projection dropped by 6 points? Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen will likely be sitting on the bench by halftime, as they should be. There's no reason for them to be risking these guys when they have no shot at the 1 seed. So they have an increased risk. You got to be aware of it. Do I trade Darnell Mooney and CEH for Damian Harris and DJ Moore? Darnell Mooney and CEH for Damian Harris and DJ Moore in Dynasty? No, I would not do that, Jordan. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is good, and he's on too good of a team to be doing that. I don't like it. It's an interesting trade, though. Mayfield or Allen? I would lean towards Allen. Do the Bills have a genuine chance to make the Super Bowl? The only problem with the Buffalo Bills is that there's just no way their defense can stop the Kansas City Chiefs, but I do think that their offense gives them a legitimate chance to keep up with the Chiefs offense. So yeah, I do think there is a reasonable chance for them. You like Claypool? Yeah, I do like Claypool. Is Travis Kelce playing? If he does play, he's not going to be playing enough. So I don't love Chase Claypool. For some reason, it's not letting me share that link, Matt. Let's see here. I'll send this link in the YouTube chat. It's good. It's a good article on who has something to play for today. Who's your favorite team? It's the Pats. It's been a brutal season to be a Patriots fan. I don't know if you want to answer my question, but thoughts on Chris Godwin and Austin Eckler this week? Yeah, I like Chris Godwin a lot. I think he's going to do well for as long as the Bucs play their starters. And Austin Eckler, even though that team has nothing to play for, he's probably going to be playing every single down. So I like both them a lot this week. Is it a bad idea to start Devontae Adams? No, it's not a bad idea. The Packers have a lot to play for. They need that number 1 seed. So I think you can trust Aaron Rodgers. I think you can trust Devontae Adams. And I think you can trust Aaron Jones. Gus Edwards or Madison or Kenyon Drake. I would probably rank them Kenyon Drake number 1, Gus Edwards number 2, Madison number 3. What's the player prop? Yeah, I see people coming back for the free player props, and it's not surprising because we've had over 85% accuracy giving away free prop picks. We dominated with Chase Claypool last week, and if you stayed till the end, we gave away another free prop pick, which was Melvin Gordon. He dominated over 72 yards. Both those were absolute locks. We got a couple locks to share with you today as well. And if we get to 100 likes on this YouTube live stream, we're almost halfway there already. So come over and hit that like button on our YouTube stream. We'll be giving away another free prop pick, and it's an absolute lock today. Diggs, Terry McLaurin, or Amari Cooper. I would probably go Diggs, then Cooper, then Terry McLaurin this week. Do you think A.J. Dillon will eat into Jones' touches again? Yeah, Justin, probably a little bit, especially if the Packers get a big lead, which is very possible. But I still think Aaron Jones is startable in fantasy football. Please help. Running back 2, McKissick, Dobbins, or Swift. I would rank those guys as Swift, then Dobbins, then McKissick. Akers a good flex enough, although not 100%. Yeah, Tanner, I don't like Akers this week. I do think they're going to still get him involved, but a high ankle sprain is a big deal for a running back. So I'm not all in on Cam Akers this week. Diggs or Mike Williams. I like Diggs more than Mike Williams, even though Diggs could be benched by halftime. I think one half of Stephon Diggs is better than a full game of Mike Williams. Pick one at quarterback, Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold. If you're talking about real football, I think I would lean towards Sam Darnold. But if we're talking about fantasy football this week, I think I would go with Daniel Jones. Thoughts on Chargers? Wide receivers. Yeah, Keenan Allen is out. I think Mike Williams does have some upside with him out. I like Guyton as well. Is Antonio Gibson safe? No, he's not safe. He's definitely not safe, but he is playing, and I do think he is going to be a back-end running back too this week. Thoughts on Alexander Madison? Alexander Madison is the trap of the week, along with Ty Montgomery. Don't trust either of these guys. Are you really that confident that either of those guys, Alexander Madison and Ty Montgomery, are going to play over 50% of the snaps? Because I am not, and for that reason, I'm totally out on both of them. No deal, Howie. I want nothing to do with Alexander Madison or Ty Montgomery. Herbert or Cousins? I would go Cousins over Herbert. Samuel or Jacobs? I would probably go with Josh Jacobs there. I play week 17. All right, man. Do I start Ty Montgomery, Damian Williams? Or I'm assuming you mean Darrell Williams or Malcolm Brown. All three of those guys, you can find a better option. Go see if Ty Johnson is available. Go see if Darwin Thompson is available. Apparently, the report I read this morning is actually Darwin Thompson is going to be playing more snaps than both Darrell Williams and Le'Veon Bell. So don't start Darrell Williams, start Darwin Thompson. You can't start Malcolm Brown because Cam Akers is playing, and you can't start Ty Montgomery because he's literally had one carry this entire season. So I don't like him. Where do you think Kyle Trask will land on the draft? Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of draft content, but I do think he's going to be, wherever he lands will be super interesting. A.J. Brown or DeAndre Hopkins? I would lean towards DeAndre Hopkins. Guys, there's no Larry Fitzgerald this week. There's no Christian Kirk this week. There's a lot to like about DeAndre Hopkins, who could see his top target share of the season. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get to 50 likes. Who's going to be that 50th like? Do you like Lawrence Taylor is the best defender of all time? He's up there. I can't wait for the draft content too. The draft season is the best time of year. Who is someone, other than when you win your championship, who is someone to pick up on waiver wire instead of Madison? Go get Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson is a fantastic option. Corey Davis, Crowder, or Emmanuel Sanders. Pick two. I would go with those first two guys. All three of those guys are pretty good options this week. Corey Davis, Jamison Elite, Crowder, and Emmanuel Sanders all should see pretty good target shares. But I like Corey Davis and Jameson Elite Crowder a little bit more than Emmanuel Sanders. Do you like Jonathan Taylor this week? Logan, I love Jonathan Taylor this week. They're in a must-win game against a horrible defense. The secondary is the weakness of the Jaguars, but their run defense also hasn't been very good. Bottom 10 in the NFL. Jonathan Taylor, meanwhile, he's averaging over 16 carries a game over his last 3 games. He's averaging 97 rushing yards per game since week 11. And he's only 86 yards away from breaking that 1,000-yard mark, which is definitely something he wants to do. I think Jonathan Taylor seeing at least 16 carries, especially if the Colts get a big lead. They're going to feed Jonathan Taylor. Again, this is a must-win game for the Colts. They win, they're in the playoffs. They need to win. So I think I love Jonathan Taylor in DFS. I like Jonathan Taylor in season long a lot. I got a lot of Jonathan Taylor in my DFS lineups. I love his floor and ceiling combination. Based on the 10,000 simulations we did on week 17, Jonathan Taylor looked fantastic. So I like him a lot. What defenses are you in DFS this week? There's 2 defenses, Matt, that I'm in DFS this week, and they both have to do with the backup quarterbacks playing. No, the first one is the Browns, and I love the Nick Chubb Brown stack this week because I feel like Nick Chubb, he's had back-to-back weeks under 100 yards after having 5 straight weeks with 100-plus yards in total. And I feel like people are a little bit down on Nick Chubb. Meanwhile, he's still been the most efficient running back in the NFL this season. Number 1 in yards created per touch. He's number 1 in yards after first contact. He's number 1 in breakaway run weight. Nick Chubb is also playing against the most stacked boxes in the NFL, even more stacked boxes than Derrick Henry sees. That's what Nick Chubb is up against. The defenses know he's getting the ball. It does not matter. I love the Nick Chubb Cleveland Browns stack. They're 9-point favorites now. The line keeps getting higher and higher. I think they're 9-point favorites against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are resting Big Ben. They are playing Mason Rudolph. The Steelers just let up over 100 yards to Giovanni Bernard. I like Nick Chubb and the Brown stack a ton this week. I think it's one of the highest upside stacks of the week. Mason Rudolph is not good, so I do like that stack a lot. I also like the Arizona Cardinals defense against a Los Angeles Rams backup quarterback who's never played a snap in the NFL. The Rams offense is not that scary this week. So I like the Cardinals defense as well. Again, that's a must-win game for them. I like the defenses that are in those must-win situations. Yeah, it's 10 points now. That's insane. Yeah, it was 7.5 like 24 hours ago. Last I saw it was 9, and now it's at 10. The Steelers the Steelers have nothing to play for, and so they're going to rest everyone. Can you please help Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts week 17? Championship, Diggs or Justin Jefferson? I need you. I like Justin Jefferson more than Stephon Diggs this week because Stephon Diggs there's incentive for them to rest Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. So they both have increased risk. Like if they were playing the whole game, obviously you're playing Josh Allen over Jalen Hurts, but are we really sure they're going to play the whole game? If they do, then you need to start them. So I like Josh Allen more than Jalen Hurts. I think half of Josh Allen could still end up being like a half of Tom Brady from last week, but I think I would go Justin Jefferson over Stephon Diggs. I think you should hedge your bet there a little. Just go with Josh Allen, but then don't play Stephon Diggs. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Once we get to 100 likes, I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. We've had over 85% accuracy giving away those free prop picks this season. It's been a fantastic season, by the way. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in right now. It's been a hell of a season, and I'm very excited for the offseason and really getting into that draft content for the next season. We're going to be posting that stuff way too soon, probably in like 2 or 3 months. Do you think that the Ravens are the biggest threat to the Chiefs? No, I don't think the Ravens are the biggest threat to the Chiefs. I think the biggest threat to the Chiefs are the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans, who have had the 2 most efficient offenses outside of the Chiefs in the AFC this season. And I don't look too much at defense because no defense is stopping that Chiefs team anyway. I picked up Ty Johnson. Thank you. Good. I like it. Ty Johnson's probably going to see 20 touches this week, guys. He's a great value in DFS this week as well. What do you think about Richie James? I think Richie James is one of the best wide receiver values in DraftKings this week. He's priced at nearly the bare minimum. He's going to be playing 100% of the snaps for the 49ers this week. Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel are both out. Kyler or Derek Carr? Definitely go Kyler. Washington, Browns, or Cardinals? D. I'd probably go Browns, then Cardinals, then Washington. Kyler or Derek Carr? Again, Kyler. Do I bench Juju for Crowder? Yes, I would. Who knows how much Juju is going to be playing? Akers or Agumbawale at flex this week? Oh, God. Here we are, week 17. We got to decide between a beast rookie running back, Cam Akers, or a really no-name Agumbawale at running back who really dominated touches for the Jaguars last week. I'd probably go Agumbawale. I don't think you can trust Cam Akers. I used the free subscription, then accidentally subbed for real. I don't mind it, though, because you deserve it for all the time you spend on here. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Is Jeff Wilson a valid start over Madison? Yes, he definitely is. You think Kyler against a Rams D? Yeah, I'd still like Kyler Kyler against the Rams D. Give us some spread locks. Yeah, my favorite teams to be betting on today against the spread. I think the Cowboys, that game's a pick 'em right now. I like the Cowboys to beat the Giants. The Cowboys offense has really been cooking recently. I also like the Miami Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills team. The Miami Dolphins have everything to play for. The Buffalo Bills really have nothing to play for. I think that's like a -1 spread. So I like the Dolphins a lot as well. Rivers, Breeze, or Kyler. I would probably rank these guys as Rivers number 1 this week, Kyler number 2, and Breeze number 3. Guys, Phillip Rivers is against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have an atrocious secondary, bottom 2 in the NFL. And I say bottom 2 because the Detroit Lions are also really, really, really bad. And that's why you got to like Kirk Cousins today as well. Tannehill, Herbert, or Cousins. I would rank those guys as Tannehill number 1. Tannehill also going up against a bad secondary with the Houston Texans. Then it would be Kirk Cousins. Then it would be Justin Herbert. Guys, Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, and Tannehill, Kirk Cousins are both great options. I also do like Phillip Rivers. That's who I was trying to think of. Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, and Phillip Rivers. All three of those guys are in great options. Best DFS players this week. All three of those quarterbacks, really choose one of those 3 quarterbacks. One of them is going to be tremendous value. Tannehill, Kirk Cousins, or Phillip Rivers. If you're looking to pay down at quarterback, though, go with the Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy stack for optimal upside at a really, really cheap price. If you're going for running backs and you're looking for DFS values at running back, it's Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson is a fantastic value. He's going to see 20 touches against a horrible Patriots defense. Has ESPN players stop playing in week 17? Yeah, not all ESPN players do, but we're playing DFS and props today. All my fantasy leagues are over. If you're looking for wide receivers that are a great value, go look no further than Richie James, who's going to be playing every single snap for the 49ers. No Brandon Ayuk, no Deebo Samuel. I also do like Jerry Jeudy a lot. I think Jerry Jeudy is probably my most heavily weighted wide receiver this week. He was identified as one of the best values from our machine learning, artificial intelligence algorithm. You can use our DFS optimizer, by the way. You can see how it works for completely free. Go check it out in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store if you want to dominate DraftKings and FanDuel today. T.Y. Hilton or Curtis Samuel? I would lean towards T.Y. Hilton. Should I start Akers or Brown? It's a brutal decision to have to make. I'd probably lean Cam Akers over Malcolm Brown, though. Watson or Rodgers and Aaron Jones or Jeff Wilson? I'd go Aaron Rodgers over Deshaun Watson for sure, and I would go Aaron Jones over Jeff Wilson for sure as well. Jeff Wilson or Gibson? I would go Jeff Wilson. How about Andy Isabella? Matt, love the way you're thinking. Christian Kirk, out. Larry Fitzgerald, out. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be getting a lot of attention from that Rams defense. Jalen Ramsey is going to be on DeAndre Hopkins for most of the game. So yeah, Andy Isabella, also a very good sleeper this week, who's going to probably be playing 100% of the snaps for the Arizona Cardinals. He very legitimately will probably be their number 2 wide receiver. He's got insane speed. So yeah, I like Andy Isabella as a good cheap option too. He's right up there with Richie James as a great cheap sleeper in DFS this week. Need to fill in for Kamar. Devin Singletary or Malcolm Brown? I'd probably go Devin Singletary, but arguably I like Ty Johnson more than Devin Singletary and Malcolm Brown. He's probably available on your waiver wire. Cam Akers or Amari Cooper at flex? I would lean towards Amari Cooper. If you had to pick a low-key guy to score TD, who would you say? A low-key guy to score TD, look no further than who we were just talking about. How about Andy Isabella, who's going to be playing probably 100% of the snaps for the Cardinals in a must-win game against the Rams, where they're going to be very focused on DeAndre Hopkins. So there's a good sleeper for a touchdown. Love it. Thank you. Yeah, I got you. If your props literally never miss. Yeah, we've had over 66% accuracy. 2/3 of our props have hit. Over 200 prop picks dating back to the beginning of last season. You can't make this stuff up. I'm here from TikTok again. Ryan, good to see you, man. Cousins or Brady? I would lean towards Cousins. Ty Johnson or Jeff Wilson Jr. to start? I would go Jeff Wilson over Ty Johnson. But again, I do like Ty Johnson a lot this week. Woods, DJ Moore, Jacoby Myers at flex. I would probably rank them in that order. But Woods is tough to trust with that backup quarterback. Stephon Diggs, Jamison Crowder, Marvin Jones. I think that I would rank those guys in that order as well. Stephon Diggs, even if he plays just a half, he's probably still worth starting. Jamison Elite Crowder is going to see at least 7 targets against a horrible Pats defense. And Marvin Jones is, if Matthew Stafford plays, which it looks like he's going to be playing through all sorts of injuries, he's seen insane air yards, but it's just tough to trust any of that Lions offense with Matthew Stafford battling through injuries. What's the prop this week? The prop of the week, everyone. The free player prop pick of the week is going to be released when we hit 100 likes on our YouTube stream. We're over halfway there. So hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. And if you haven't liked our YouTube stream yet and you're watching live on TikTok, go hit that like button. And I'll be sharing it after we hit 100 likes throughout the whole rest of the stream. I'll be live right up until kickoff. So if you're looking for the free profit, come back in a couple of hours, and I promise you I will give it to you after we passed 100 likes on that YouTube stream. Go get the premium on the app. It will pay for itself on the first profit. Ryan, that's exactly how it works. You go to the WalterPicks app. You start your 3-day free trial. You got 3 days completely free. And then you get to see all of our prop picks for this week. We've had over 66% accuracy identifying exploitable prop picks. Bet on those. And then you will get more money than what the subscription costs. And then you paid for your subscription before you even charged for the subscription. It's too easy, man. It's really too easy. So definitely go check out the WalterPicks app if you haven't. Can you rank Hines, Gallman, and Agumba-Wally? I would probably say Hines number 1, Agumba-Wally number 2, Gallman number 3. Hey, who's winning, the Bears or the Packers? Probably the Packers. They still have a lot to play for that number 1 seed. So I do think that the Packers are going to beat the Bears. Melvin Gordon or Ty Johnson? I like Melvin Gordon more than Ty Johnson, but it's close because they're probably going to see a similar amount of touches against similarly bad defenses. And yeah, that's how bad the Patriots defense is. But I like Melvin Gordon a little bit more. He's been really efficient, probably more efficient than Ty Johnson will be for the New York Jets. Pick 2, Zeke, Jeff Wilson, Josh Jacobs. I would go Zeke and Josh Jacobs there. Ezekiel Elliott, guys, he's back into that workhorse role. He's one of the best values in DFS this week at running back. He's priced like he isn't a workhorse back, but he is. He's going to see 20-plus touches in a must-win game for the Dallas Cowboys against a Giants defense whose weakness is stopping the run. Their strength is their secondary. They actually have one of the better secondaries in the NFL. Their weakness is their defensive line. So I do like Zeke. I was leaning more towards DJ Moore because of the Rams QB situation. Yeah, that's totally understandable. Playing DJ Moore over Robert Woods based on that quarterback situation. Can you do some follower leagues next season, Justin? I'll think about it. I'm in way too many leagues as is, but I'll definitely consider it. Drake or Gibson? I'd probably lean towards Drake over Gibson. Thank you for telling me to play Cooks over Lockett last week. Won me my championship. That's what I'm talking about, man. Good stuff. Thoughts on Brady? Yeah, I think Tom Brady to me is a guy who, if he plays the whole game today, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in fantasy. So I do like Brady, but are you really sure he's going to be playing the whole game? Boston Scott or Hines? Yeah, Boston Scott's going to be starting for the Philadelphia Eagles. Miles Sanders is out this week, but it's tough to like Boston Scott against a very good Washington football defense, a really strong defensive line, really strong secondary. It's tough to trust Boston Scott. I don't think I would go with Boston Scott this week. Can't wait to win the first annual WalterPicks Fantasy League in 2021. You're already getting me excited. There's no way any of you would beat me in the first annual WalterPicks League. I got to consider it. Please help, Sam. I need you. Pick 2: Diggs, Cooks, Corey Davis, Richie James, Andy Isabella. I think you got to go. I think if you're looking for 2 guys who are definitely playing the whole game, then you go with Brandon Cooks and Corey Davis. But I think I would probably go with Stephon Diggs and Brandon Cooks over Corey Davis, Richie James, and Andy Isabella. I think it would be cool if you just had a fans league, not even necessarily leagues that you're in, though that would be cool. Yeah, but I would want to be in them. But yeah, that would be cool even if it was just fans leagues. Cooper or Shepard? I would lean towards Shepard over Cooper. I think Shepard's going to see at least 7 targets again this week. Golden Tate out. He led them in receiving last week. Are you streaming anywhere else? I can't close YouTube. Yeah, you can. We're also streaming on TikTok right now. We're TikTok and YouTube. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Do you like Tyler Lockett for $18 on Yahoo? Yeah, that seems like a pretty good value for the upside. But again, Tyler Lockett's been extremely boomer bust. So Tanner, I would only be playing Tyler Lockett in a tournament, definitely not in a head-to-head contest. Jerry Jeudy or Diggs at flex? Jerry Jeudy or Diggs at flex? It's close. I think I would still go Diggs over Jerry Jeudy, but I do like Jeudy a lot. And I don't think there's a single player I have more in my DFS lineups today than Jerry Jeudy. He saw 15 targets last week. He's still priced extremely low against a bad Raider secondary. If you're looking for a cheap, high upside stack in DFS today, it's Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy. There's no higher upside stack for such a cheap price on DraftKings and in FanDuel. In terms of fantasy value, Diggs or Corey Davis? Definitely Diggs. It's not even close. Moore or Mike Williams? I'd probably lean towards DJ Moore over Mike Williams. Do you like Madison this week? No, I don't like Alexander Madison this week. If you saw that TikTok video I posted this morning, I hate Alexander Madison this week. I think he's a complete trap along with Ty Montgomery. The last time we were talking about Alexander Madison was week 6 against the Atlanta Falcons, where Dalvin Cook was out in that game as well. He had 26 yards in that game. The Falcons defense was atrocious at that time. And now he's up against another really, really bad defense, the Detroit Lions. But I don't think you can trust Alexander Madison to see over 50% of the work. I think Mike Boone is going to be involved as well. Yeah, you got to bench Alexander Madison, guys. Don't put him in your DFS lineups either. He's probably going to be the biggest bust for DFS lineups. He had one of the highest ownership percentages last time, and he's just not. And he had an even higher price last time too. I think D-Hop or Corey Davis. I would definitely go DeAndre Hopkins, guys. Larry Fitzgerald is out. Christian Kirk is out. Larry Fitzgerald is out. DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to see his largest target share of the season. Johnny Sins or Jamison Elite Crowder. Who's Johnny? I would definitely go Jamison Elite Crowder. Gus Edwards or Hines, non-PPR. I would lean towards Hines, even in non-PPR leagues. Does Gesicki score a TD today? Probably. Gesicki's probably going to see at least 7 targets today. I like him a lot. He's one of my favorite tight ends on the DFS slate as well. Fantasy production for this week, Diggs or Corey Davis. Oh, I would go Diggs this week. Guys, stop spamming. Yeah, there's no need to spam. I'd rather have Alexander Hamilton over Madison. I get it. He fell for it. Nate, I fall for everything because I read the comments. So I will definitely fall for whatever you're typing in. Who do I pick up instead of Madison? I like Ty Johnson more than Alexander Madison this week. Ty Johnson's going to see 20+ touches for the New York Jets against a horrible Patriots defense. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. When we get to 100 likes, I will give away the free prop pick. Kittle or Gesicki? I would lean towards Kittle over Gesicki, and I'm glad I could make you laugh. Do you like Ty Montgomery for 4K on DraftKings? No, I don't like Ty Montgomery at all. I think Ty Montgomery and Alexander Madison, the 2 biggest traps of the week. I don't think you can confidently say either of those guys are going to go over 50 total yards. Like, seriously, their floors are so low, so I don't like them. Kittle or Tunyon? I would lean towards Tunyon over Kittle, but it's definitely close. Ty Johnson over Boston Scott. Yes, I like Ty Johnson. You're a good guy, bro. I hope you go further and more successful in your career, even more than now. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I 2021, guys, I'm going to be taking a big leap of faith with this fantasy football stuff. So I'm very excited about it. No questions today, but I want to say thank you for your help all year. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving you guys a tremendous amount of fantasy football draft content. It's going to be way, way too much. Way too early as well. I got your app on my girlfriend's phone. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's a good girlfriend. Is the player prop of the day one that's visible on the app, or are we going to get another one? It's going to be another one. Yeah, there's already one free player prop pick available for you completely free. If you go into the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store, you click on the player prop tool, there's one completely free. That's separate from the one I'm going to be giving away on this live stream. Once we pass 100 likes, we're only 30 likes away, by the way, from giving away that free prop pick. So if you come over to YouTube, hit that like button, we'll be giving away that free player prop pick. And yes, there is one prop pick right now showing completely free in the WalterPicks app. If you go into the prop tool, and if you want all the props completely free, just start your 3-day free trial. Then bet on all the props, make more money than the subscription costs. It's really not an expensive subscription. There's people out there charging $800 a season for projections that are worse than ours. Osmo's charging more. PFF charges way too much. And we really have a very fair price. And the free prop pick of the day is an absolute lock that you're seeing in the WalterPicks app right now. And the one that I'm going to be sharing with you today is also an absolute lock. I'm very excited to share that one. Once we hit 100 likes, we're almost there. We're less than 30 likes away. Hit that like button, guys, if you're watching live on YouTube. Tyler Bass or Daniel Carlson? Kicker talk, man. I would go Tyler Bass. Who do you think will win the NFC East? I think it's going to end up being the Washington football team, but my sleeper is the Dallas Cowboys. You think NBA props will be as good? AI work as well? Ryan, this is a great question. I back tested this a lot. I've been working on the NBA projections and the model there for a little over 2 years now. Ever since we saw the NFL success start to come, I said, all right, we got to get working on NBA. We're going to be releasing that in the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be interesting to see if we can keep above that 65% accuracy threshold. That's how we did design it. That's what the back test has shown. But of course, it's never guaranteed that that's going to happen in the season. So we'll see. I'm pretty confident about it, though. I'll definitely be risking a lot. And I hope that the WalterPicks subscribers are confident in it as well. This week's tough because you never know who's going to sit. Yeah, week 17 is an absolutely insane week every single season. It's a brutal week. There's going to be things that happen this week that completely impossible to predict. Eagles or football team? I'd probably say football team. Biggest sleeper for next year. I mean, I think there's going to be a ton of sleepers just based on injuries. I think Ezekiel Elliott, depending on where he's picked, could end up being one of the biggest sleepers just because people are so done with him. Thanks, Sam. You're a real one. Yeah, I got you, Jack. McLaren or Corey Davis? I would lean towards Corey Davis over McLaren this week just because of him coming off an injury. I like Kirk Cousins over Herbert. Guys, quarterbacks that I absolutely love this week. Kirk Cousins against a horrible secondary. The Lions secondary could be the only secondary worse than the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is why I like Phillip Rivers against the Jaguars this week. And if you're looking for an even deeper sleeper than Kirk Cousins and Phillip Rivers, then it's Drew Lock against a bad Raiders secondary. The last quarterback I would recommend in DFS especially is Ryan Tannehill against a bad Houston Texans secondary. I would probably go Ryan Tannehill over Kirk Cousins. Tyler Lockett or Marvin Jones? I'd like Marvin Jones a little bit more than Tyler Lockett. Logan Thomas has a valid start even with the quarterback situation. Yeah, he is. And it looks like Alex Smith is actually going to play, which is pretty crazy. What are your thoughts on Murray for draft? Yeah, Kyler Murray. Are you talking about Latavius? Oh, Kyler Murray for DraftKings. Yeah, I think that Kyler Murray has a really high ceiling in a must-win game, even against a really good defense. Your mic is pointing in the wrong direction. Why? Why is it pointing in the wrong direction? I think we're on mirror mode in TikTok. That's why. Saquon is going to fall to the end of the first round in some leagues, and those teams are going to have a huge edge. Yeah, I think the top two picks should be Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey still. If that's not the case, then those are going to be insane values, Matt. Christian McCaffrey should be the first overall pick next year. He had the second best fantasy football season last year of all time. The only better fantasy season than what Christian McCaffrey did last season was LaDainian Tomlinson's season, where he just scored infinite touchdowns. Like you can't be passing on Christian McCaffrey with the top 3 pick, and you can't be passing on Saquon Barkley with the top 3 pick either. So yeah, both those guys, if they fall outside of the top 3 picks, are going to be insane values. Gallup, Hilton, McKissick, Madison, or Gibson. I want nothing to do with Madison. I would probably go T.Y. Hilton over all of those guys. Jared Cook or Zach Ertz. I would go Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, I know Jared Cook's probably going to be more involved for the Saints with all the guys out for them. But Zach Ertz, no Dallas Goedert, he's probably going to be very involved. Jalen Hurts has really shown a lot of love for his tight ends so far this season. Hey, Sam, love the streams. Thanks, man. Who do I start? Jeff Wilson or Aaron Jones? And DK or Diggs? I would probably go Jeff Wilson over Aaron Jones, but it's close. And for DK versus Diggs, I would go DK Metcalf. Guys, DK Metcalf is in a tremendous spot this week in a game that the Seahawks need to win. So I do like DK Metcalf a lot. I think DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown are both fantastic DFS options if you can fit them into your lineups. Like if you're building out a tournament lineup, one of my favorite tournaments that I liked, one of my favorite tournaments lineups that I built this morning when I finished my DFS lineups is starting with the Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy stack, very low priced, high upside stack in tournaments today. And they're probably going to have pretty low ownership as well. Then you can fit in DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown and Nick Chubb stacked with the Browns defense if you toss in a little bit of Ty Johnson for a very cheap price and Richie James at one of the bare minimum prices, or Andy Isabella at one of the bare minimum prices. Like that type of DFS tournament lineup, I think is going to do fantastic today in Week 17. Ty Johnson or Aaron Jones? I'd still go Aaron Jones. Love the stream. Gibson, Jacobs, or Johnson? Thanks, man. I would lean towards Jacobs, then Johnson, then Gibson today. Bernard today? Yeah, Giovanni Bernard's been on a tear recently, over 20 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks, but I don't think he's that much of a lock. How's Taylor going to be this week? Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to go over 90 total yards. Today, he's been averaging 97 rushing yards per game since week 11. He's averaging over 16 carries a game. This is a must-win game for the Colts against a bad Houston Texans defense. Ty Johnson or David Johnson? I think I like Ty Johnson just a little bit more. When do you have Logan Tom? I'm not falling for that again, man. Austin Hooper or Gesicki? I would lean towards Gesicki. Allen or Murray? I would probably go Kyler Murray over Josh Allen. Kyler Murray's going to play the whole game. Josh Allen might not. That's the only reason for that. Pick 1, Swift, Gaskins, DJ. Also pick 2, Terry, Mike Williams, Gal. Swift, Gaskin, or DJ. I would lean towards Swift, then Gaskin, then DJ. But if you're going for the floor, it's Gaskin. If you're going for the ceiling, look no further than DeAndre Swift. And at those wide receivers, I'd probably go Mike Williams over Terry McLaurin, and I'd probably go Gallup over Terry McLaurin as well, but it's definitely close. What are your thoughts on the Steelers versus Browns game today with Big Ben being benched? Yeah, I think the Browns are going to destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense was already struggling over the last couple of weeks with Big Ben. Mason Rudolph is a huge step down from Ben Roethlisberger. We've seen him start in the past. He's not good. And the Steelers defense also has been not doing very well the last few weeks. So I think that with the guys that they're benching today, and they're probably going to end up benching even more guys at halftime, the Browns need a win. And I think the Browns are going to take this one home. Player prop, we're 30 likes away from the free prop pick, guys. Hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. When we get to 100 likes, I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. Week 17, everybody. This NFL season absolutely flew by. It was a tremendously fun season. I'm excited for the NFL playoffs. I'll be live during the NFL playoffs as well. Yeah, we're definitely going to be continuing the player prop picks in the playoffs. No better time for player prop picks than the NFL playoffs, along with DFS. That'll be going in the WalterPicks app throughout the entire playoffs. Very excited for that. Steelers are sitting him on purpose so we can lose and play Cleveland in the playoffs over the Ravens. Aaron, that's an interesting philosophy there. I think they're just benching him because the win does nothing for them. When will your app be available on Android? Definitely by the start of the next NFL season. Huge priority for me in this offseason is getting our app into the Android store. It is a tremendous amount of work. There's a lot of different phones for the Android. So we got to make sure the app looks good on all the different phones, but we'll definitely be getting that done before the next NFL season. A lot of work to do before then. Crowder or Hilton? I would lean towards Hilton for the upside, Crowder for the floor. Where do you think we should draft David Montgomery? Yeah, David, I'm probably going to be telling people not to draft David Montgomery next season, even though I thought he was underrated really all year long. We always see this happen at the last month of the season. He had great matchups, and he's been the number one running back in fantasy football, the number one running back in fantasy football the last month of the season. But Tariq Cohen will be back next season. And one of the best things about David Montgomery since Tariq Cohen was injured was he was seeing the most targets that he's seen in his NFL career. That's probably the most targets this season that he'll see in his whole career now that Tariq Cohen's going to be back. So I'm probably going to be telling people not to be drafting David Montgomery in the top 5 rounds next season. Aaron Jones or Austin Eckler? I like Austin Eckler more than Aaron Jones. What is your take on Gaskin this week? Gaskin has been on fire for us, guys. He was a prop pick last week for us as well. Absolute lock last week. I think Myles Gaskin is going to go over 75 rushing yards again this week. So I like him a lot. He's been seeing 15-plus carries a game. DFS tight ends today. Thanks for the season, Sam. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to help, man. And there's a lot of good DFS tight ends, but it's really a small list. Mark Andrews, to me, has the highest upside and the highest floor among all tight ends. He's worth paying up for if you can fit him into your lineup. The Baltimore Ravens need a win. The Bengals haven't been good against tight ends this season. Mark Andrews is realistically the number one option for Lamar Jackson right now. So I like Mark Andrews a lot. George Kittle also has some upside. And Darren Waller does too, but I like Mark Andrews a little bit more, and I think he's priced even below both those guys. Travis Kelce can't be trusted this week. He's probably going to be on the bench by halftime. If you're going lower on the tight end price list, then it's Mike Gesicki, who could be the number one option for Tua today. Devontae Parker might play, but other than that, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. I like Mike Gesicki a lot as well. I also think that if you're looking for an option in that Tennessee-Houston game, one of the highest over-unders of the week, the Titans have one of the highest implied team totals of the entire week, then go with Jonnu Smith, who's extremely low priced. Will Dolphins cover plus 2.5 and Falcons plus 6.5? I think the Dolphins will cover plus 2.5. The Falcons, I'm not so sure. The Bucs offense has really been cooking. Diggs, Madison, or Ty Johnson? I would probably definitely not Madison. Again, Alexander Madison and Ty Montgomery, those are the traps of the week. Don't trust either of those guys. For the Stephon Diggs versus Ty Johnson, I'd probably go Diggs still there. Kiki QT or Jalen Guyton. I like Kiki QT a lot today in a potential shootout. The Tennessee Titans secondary has not been good. I think Deshaun Watson, Brandon Cooks, and Kiki QT are all going to do very well today. Brady or Rodgers? I would lean towards Rodgers. I think Rodgers is going to do very well, but also the Chicago Bears are dealing with a lot of injuries today. That is only going to help Aaron Rodgers. Is Akers a risky start? Yes, he is. And I'm seeing some of the top people on Twitter for fantasy football touting Ty Montgomery as a good play this week. Don't believe them, guys. He could see 10 to 15 touches. Even if he does, I think he's going to end up busting. We're only 25 likes away on this YouTube stream from the free player prop pick of the week. We've had over 85% accuracy giving away free prop picks this season. So come over to YouTube. If you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button, and we will be giving away the free prop pick of the week. It's an absolute lock today. And there's also another free prop pick, completely free, available for you in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. Go hit that prop tool in the WalterPicks app, and you'll see one that's different than the free one I'm going to give away to you in probably just like 10 minutes when we hit 100 likes on this stream. And that's a separate free prop pick. That's an absolute lock. Yeah, let's get to 100 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get to 80 first. Who's going to be that 80th like? Austin Eckler or Justin Jefferson? I like Justin Jefferson a lot today. Justin Jefferson is probably going to have his 8th 100-yard game today. Do you think David Montgomery over 79 yards? It's not a horrible option. He's been seeing consistent volume, and the Packers' run defense really hasn't been great but they did just stop Derrick Henry. So they haven't been great all season. They just stopped Derrick Henry. So what teams did most recently is usually what's most predictive of what's going to happen next. So David Montgomery, 79 yards seems like a pretty good line to me. Jared Cook over Kelsey this week. Yes, you can't trust Travis Kelsey this week, even though he kind of has a lot to play for personally, where he could literally lead the NFL in receiving yards if he gets enough today and Stephon Diggs doesn't do much. Travis Kelsey could lead the NFL in receiving yards, and that's something to play for, but it's not something to risk a Super Bowl contention over. So I don't think he's going to end up playing more than half. So I would go Jared Cook over Travis Kelsey. TB12 or Tannehill. I would lean towards Tannehill over TB12 today. Guys, Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins are both really good options, as is Phillip Rivers. All three of these guys are in great matchups and are going to be throwing the ball a ton. I would go Justin Jefferson over David Montgomery. When are you putting the basketball stuff on the app? Good question, man. Yeah, we are going to be having that out in the app in the next 2 weeks, next 14 days, probably sooner, probably like the next 10 days, but I'll give myself a little wiggle room with what I'm promising. Next 2 weeks, we're going to have NBA DFS Optimizer out in the WalterPicks app and NBA player prop picks, which I've been building that algorithm for over 2 years now. It's not like I just started building it. Over 2 years, I've been building this algorithm. The second we had this NFL success, I was like, all right, we got to start making money on the NBA now too. So I'm very excited to get that NBA product out to everyone as well. 20 likes till the player prop. Like the stream, guys. Yeah, hit that like button. 18 likes away from giving away that free player prop pick on this live stream. Again, we've had over 85% accuracy giving away those free prop picks last week. We absolutely dominated. Melvin Gordon over 70 rushing yards was an absolute lock. Chase Claypool over 39 receiving yards, absolute lock. Both those were smash plays. And if you parlayed those, you probably made a lot of money. Murray or Tom Brady. I like Kyler Murray a lot today, even against a good Rams defense. I would go Kyler Murray over Tom Brady. Jeff Wilson or Gaskin. That one's extremely close. But I like, especially in week 17, this strategy isn't always perfect, but going with the guys who have more to play for, I just feel more comfortable with those players. So I would go Myles Gaskin over Jeff Wilson, who has a lot more to play for today than Jeff Wilson. When you're putting out an Android app, it's going to be there by the start of the next NFL season. That is the goal. What do you think about the Dolphins +3? Or the Dolphins +3. I thought they were like -1 the last time I saw. I like the Dolphins a lot. NBA player props. Let's go. I legit make mine and my wife's car payments with your NFL props. Ryan, that's you got to go submit that to the winners wall, man. You got to take that exact quote, go submit that to the winners wall. I'll display you in the app. That's hilarious. And that's how good the NFL props have been this season. Over 66% accuracy. 2 out of every 3 props we recommend hits. And it's using artificial intelligence. It's not like we're blindly picking. This is math. It's math. It's not luck. We've had over 66% accuracy for over 2 years, over 200 picks. So, Ryan, that's what I'm talking about, man. And I have literally built my own business on the money I've made from the prop picks. I wouldn't have had enough money to pay a developer, pay a designer to build this app if I hadn't been betting on these props the year before. So I've definitely been cashing into. What's the free pick? We're 15 likes away on our YouTube stream from hitting 100 likes. When we do that, I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. And it's a good one, guys. It is a good one. And so come over to YouTube, hit that like button. We're only 15 likes away, and then I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. Very excited to be giving away that one. And it's a fun one today, guys. I'm really confident in it. There is also another free prop pick available in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. If you just go click on that player prop tool, you will see another free prop pick. So lots of props today. We got 6 locks today. We are very close to 100 likes, guys. Only 10 likes more. Hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. We can get all of us that free prop pick. I've been live, guys, since 9 a.m., about an hour and a half into this stream, and I'll be live right up till football starts. So if you come back too, this is kind of the morning crowd. We're transitioning into the kind of afternoon crowd, but as you come back, I'll get more and more excited as football gets closer and closer. I think my heart rate just naturally, because I love football so much, just starts to slowly rise as we get closer and closer to kickoff. And there's a lot to be excited about today. And guys, you got to enjoy every week of football we have left, because in about a month and a half, no more football. So we got to enjoy the football we have left. It's been a fast season, but there's still a lot of fun to be left. What's the lock this morning? Guys, we're 7 likes away on YouTube from getting that lock, the free player prop lock of the week. So hit that like button on YouTube and we will get that. Hurts or Rivers? I would lean towards Rivers. I like Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins, and Ryan Tannehill a ton this week. I have tons of DFS lineups in tournaments with all 3 of those guys, but my favorite cheap high upside stack in DFS lineups today is Drew Lock stacked with Jerry Jeudy. Will he still be live before playoff games? B-Money 97. You bet I will be live before some of the playoff games. Not every single one of them, but I will definitely be live in the NFL playoffs. I need this. Bigger boom players. All right, Max, I got you. Madison, Akers, Jeff Wilson. If you're going for the boom, you go with Jeff Wilson and you go with Madison. This is the only person I'm going to be telling to start Madison, but he is in a really good matchup. Don't get me wrong. Alexander Madison is in a fantastic matchup against the Lions defense that really hasn't stopped anyone. Dropped a like. Tell the TikTokers to come over here and drop some likes. Yeah, TikTokers, guys, come over to YouTube. YouTube's nice because the chat is just a little less spammy. And it's also nice because you can give me a like. And it's like this physical thing that I can see that people are liking the YouTube stream, which is also nice. So hit that like button. When we hit 100 likes, we're 2 likes away. Hit that like button. We're going to be giving away the free prop pick of the week. Over under locks. Yeah, Theo. I don't bet on over-unders. They're one of the most accurately set lines in all of Vegas. Over-unders each season, about 50% go over, about 50% go under. It's actually extremely impressive how accurately they set those lines. And so I never bet on over-unders. I don't think I've ever bet on an over-under bet in the last 2 years because I've had exploitable prop picks that I've been dominating with over the last 2 years. So yeah, guys, hit that thumb button. We're almost at 100 likes. And if you want a different free player prop than the one I'm about to share with you, when we pass that 100 like mark, then you have to go into the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store if you're not a subscriber and tap on that player prop tool. You get another free player prop pick. And I do really like the one I'm going to be sharing with all of you today. And there we are. We hit 100 likes. We're going to wait till like 102 because people always unlike and like. Is Kyler still a must start? Yeah, I do think you can definitely trust Kyler Murray today, even against a good Rams defense. Kyler Murray is going to be playing a ton. Lamar, Kirk, or Hurts. Don't bench Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's the number one fantasy football quarterback today. Do not bench him. He's been on an absolute tear. He's heating up right at the right time, along with that whole Ravens offense. Can you just explain why Madison is a bad play? Yes, Luis, let me explain why Madison is a bad play. The story starts back in week 6 against the Atlanta Falcons. Dalvin Cook is out this game. Alexander Madison is being touted as the best DFS value of the week. Lock play in DFS. Alexander Madison goes out there against a Falcons defense that was a bottom 5 defense at the time and put up 26 total yards. He had 10 touches, 10 carries, and this is what could happen this week for Alexander Madison. He's coming off an injury. He hasn't played very much in the last month. Are we really sure Alexander Madison is going to see over 50% of the snaps? I don't think you can confidently say that Alexander Madison is going to get over 50% of the snaps. I clicked on the prop pick part of the app and couldn't find the other pick. That's interesting. It should be the first one that you see, actually. So that's weird. I don't know if anyone else can confirm that, but I thought someone else said they saw it. Yes, we passed 100 likes on this YouTube stream. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get to 105 likes. Really do appreciate everyone that's tuned in. And I'm about to be giving away the free prop pick of the week. We've had over 85% accuracy with these props. I saw the other prop in the app. That's good. B-Money. Good to know. Yeah, so you should be able to see it. I had to scroll down to see it. Yeah, the order's random. So scroll down. You should see that free prop pick. And also consider starting that 3-day free trial, because if you be betting on these free prop picks, you've made more than the subscription cost. And if you subscribe, it really does help me out. And actually, truly brings me one step closer to a dream come true of a leap I'm trying to take in 2021 of doing this full time. So I really do appreciate everyone that subscribes. And we passed 100 likes. So as promised, here comes the free prop pick of the week. And here it is. Here it is. And I really love all of our prop picks this week. So it's tough to decide which one to share with you all. But here's the free prop pick of the week. It is Justin Jefferson, over 72.5 receiving yards, at least 73 receiving yards for Justin Jefferson today. Let me explain to you why. Justin Jefferson he's averaging 85 yards per game. First of all, they set this line at 72.5. He's averaging 85 yards per game, which is absolutely insane from a rookie. He's cleared 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games. He's cleared 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games, and he's seen at least 8 targets in 6 of those 7 games. Let me just repeat this start, guys. Justin Jefferson, he's averaging 85 yards per game. They set this line at 72.5. He's going over 72.5. He's cleared 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games, and in those 7 games, 6 of those he saw at least 8 targets. He has an amazing matchup, guys, against a Lions secondary that just allowed 9 wide receivers, 9, to get at least 75 receiving yards in their last 6 games. The Lions have allowed 9 receivers to go over 75 yards in their last 6 games. If you're calculating that in your head, that's like 1.3 receivers per game going over 75 yards against the Lions in their last 6 games. Yes, that is, you heard this correctly. 9 receivers in their last 6 games have gone over 75 yards against this Lions secondary. Jefferson could literally beat this prop in the first half as long as he plays his normal role in a game where the Vikings have nothing to play for but pride. This is the only risk with this bet. The fact that the Vikings have nothing to play for but pride in this game adds risk to everybody in this offense. But if Justin Jefferson plays the whole game, he's clearing 72.5 yards with ease. He could get close to the receiving record for a rookie of all time. Walter has Jefferson projected for 91 yards in Week 17. We just saw Tom Brady toss for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Lions in one half. Walter, the artificially intelligent algorithm I built, loves Justin Jefferson over 71.5 receiving yards. I also love it. Lock in Justin Jefferson. That's the free prop pick of the week. Justin Jefferson over 71.5 receiving yards. Lock it in. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed 9 different wide receivers over 75 yards in the last 6 games. Hey, Sam, amazing app. LeVar Ball, good to see you again, man. Do I start Kyler or Rivers? It's my championship. I would go with Kyler over Rivers. And I like Phillip Rivers a lot today. The risk with Phillip Rivers, though, is that Jonathan Taylor just starts to feast. Because if they get a lead, which they probably will, Jonathan Taylor is going to just be fed the rock. Nyheim Hines is going to be very involved. And that lowers the ceiling for Phillip Rivers, even against one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. I would still go Kyler Murray against a good Rams defense because Kyler Murray is an elite rusher at the quarterback position, and it gives him an extremely high floor and ceiling. You're offered 83 receiving yards. Is that still good? That is a lot. We have them projected for 91. 83 seems way too high. That's not what I was seeing. Let me see what the different books are offering. I'll look this up for all of us really quickly. When I saw it yesterday morning, it was at 71.5. Let me pull this up. But if you're seeing anything, I would take this Justin Jefferson prop really up to 80. I wouldn't take it any higher than 80. 83 is too high. I think that's too high to be taking this Justin Jefferson prop. Let me see what most of these books have it at. What I'm seeing right now, it's moved a lot. DraftKings has it at 73.5, but that's plus 125. That's fantastic odds if you have DraftKings. Justin Jefferson over 73.5. MGM and I forget what this other one's called. 2 other books have it at 78.5. I would take it up to that. FanDuel is offering it at 82.5. That's way too high. I wouldn't take it over that. But that just shows there's a tremendous difference in some of these lines this week. I like Justin Jefferson over 73.5 if you can get it. I'll adjust this in the app. 73.5 now. But shopping for the right pick is always the best. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, William, I got you, man. Kyler Murray or stack JJ with Cousins. I like the JJ and Cousins stack a lot today. Guys, hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button too, so you don't miss out on all of our fantasy football draft content coming this offseason, and some NBA content is coming as well. Anything on the Bills? Yeah, the Buffalo Bills are tough to predict this week because they really should be resting their starters. They have very little to play for. They can't get that number 1 seed. The number 1 seed is really the only thing worth playing for anymore if you're already clinching the playoffs, and the Chiefs have already locked that up. So don't be surprised if we see Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs sitting on the bench at halftime. Mark Andrews or Alexander Madison. I would go Mark Andrews. Alexander Madison is the trap of the week. So is Ty Montgomery. I really wouldn't be trusting either of those guys. Stafford or Lamar. I would go Lamar over Stafford, Derek. It's really not close. Stafford's dealing with all sorts of injuries. The dude's an absolute warrior. Probably the toughest guy in the NFL, if you ask me. But I would still go with Lamar Jackson. Thanks for the lock. It's worth a like for sure. Thanks, man. Yeah, we've been over 85% accuracy with the free prop pick of the week. This week, it's Justin Jefferson over 73.5. It's moved. I got it at 71.5 yesterday when the lines came out. And some sites, FanDuel has it at 82. I wouldn't take it any higher than 80. But if you can find Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards, lock that one in, guys. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed 9 different receivers, 9 in their last 6 games to go over 75 yards. Rodney Smith is a guy that I'm excited to watch today, by the way, for the Panthers. He's going to be their starting running back. Myers or Aguilar? I'd probably go Aguilar. Pick one, Antonio Brown, Cam Akers, or Ty Montgomery. I'd go Antonio Brown. Cam Akers can't be trusted, and Ty Montgomery is an absolute trap. Do not trust Ty Montgomery. In champ, opponent fell into the trap and started Montgomery, Madison, Ty Johnson. Love the advice, man. Yeah, guys, the Madison is a trap. Ty Johnson, though, is not a trap. Ty Johnson's probably going to see at least 20 carries against a horrible Patriots defense. Will Giants win? I think that the Giants will not beat the Dallas Cowboys today. It's going to be a good matchup, though. You can never trust Arians. Yeah, we'll see. Arian says Rojo will get a lot of work. Yeah, Bruce Arians lies all the time about the workload. I mean, before the season, like he's done this time and time again. There's so many examples of Bruce Arians just spewing nonsense. Pete Carroll's known for it as well. Pete Carroll just lies about injuries all the time. He's not lying. He's just overly optimistic. Malcolm Brown or Rodney Smith? I think Malcolm Brown's just too risky this week I think Malcolm Brown's too risky this week. Malcolm Brown's too risky this week for me with Cam Akers playing. You can't trust Malcolm Brown. Hello, D-Hop, Woods, or Gallup. Thank you. Hello, Alex. Good to see you, man. I would definitely go DeAndre Hopkins. Guys, DeAndre Hopkins, there's no Larry Fitzgerald. There's no Christian Kirk. DeAndre Hopkins could see his largest target share of the season. And it also makes Andy Isabella a very intriguing sleeper in DFS this week. Andy Isabella is probably going to play 100% of the snaps for the Arizona Cardinals in a must-win game where the Rams are going to be very focused on DeAndre Hopkins, as they should be. Andy Isabella could very easily go over 50 yards today. I haven't seen a prop for him, but Andy Isabella is a very, very intriguing option. See what his line is set at. There is no line. People are nervous about setting lines for Andy Isabella. I couldn't find any line for him. Pick 3 out of the 4. Jeff Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Miles Gaskin, or Chris Godwin. I would probably go with those first 3 guys. Those guys are giving you the safest floor. Diggs or Dobbins. I would go Diggs. Even though he might only play half, I would still go Diggs. Murray or Herbert. Thanks, buddy. I would go Murray over Herbert. Even in a tough matchup, I like Kyler Murray today. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Let's get to 110 likes. Really do appreciate it. Everyone that's tuned in week 17. Guys, take a second today while you're watching football and just appreciate it, man. It's almost over. It's almost over. We got like a month and a half left of football. Isabella let us down last time. He owes us. Yeah, Ryan, he does. Did you say the player prop pick of the week yet? Yes, I did. It's Justin Jefferson. Over 73.5 receiving yards. I got it at 71.5 yesterday, but the lowest I'm seeing it right now is over on DraftKings, 73.5 yards. Take that over. Justin Jefferson's up against a Lions defense that has allowed 9 different receivers over 75 yards in the last 6 games. Justin Jefferson has cleared 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games. I'm not going to be shocked at all when Justin Jefferson goes over 100 yards today. Lock it in. Lock in Justin Jefferson. Should I play Aaron Jones or will he sit? No, I don't think Aaron Jones is going to sit, but he probably will share a little bit of the work with A.J. Dillon again this week. So I would still go. I think you can still trust Aaron Jones, though, just not in DFS. Hey, Sam, I know this is a crazy question, but I have to start 3 of these guys. Who do I pick? Jeff Wilson, Kenyon Drake, Dobbins, AB, or Hilton. I personally, and again, I would use the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store to help you out because we do have all those projections for Week 17 based on 10,000 simulations of the week. But I would go with Jeff Wilson and T.Y. Hilton. If I had to choose 2 of those guys, definitely those 2. And then between the guys that are left there, I'd probably go Antonio Brown. Colts defense or Saints defense? I like the Colts defense a lot today. Thielen or A.J. Brown, both fantastic options, but I don't think you can bench A.J. Brown. Jacobs or Elliott? Zeke, guys. Zeke is going to see just as many, if not more touches than Josh Jacobs today in a must-win game. I'd like bet on the guys that have something to play for today, because the worst thing is when you bet on guys that have nothing to play for, which I guess I'm jinxing myself here with Justin Jefferson, very little to play for. But I don't think if you're choosing between 2 guys, one has a lot to play for, like Ezekiel Elliott, one has nothing to play for, like Josh Jacobs, I would lean towards Zeke. Is Jefferson a 3rd-round pick next year? Yeah, he's probably going to be a 3rd-round pick next year. Who do you want for the future in Dynasty, Claypool or Pittman? Definitely Claypool. Ty Johnson or Rodney Smith in a fantasy ship today? I would go Ty Johnson over Rodney Smith. I like Ty Johnson a lot. Aaron Jones or J.D. McKissick, PPR running back 2. I would go Aaron Jones over J.D. McKissick. Guys, we're 3 likes away from 110 likes. Hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. And if you missed the free prop pick of the day, it's Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. Best Cowboys wide receiver to score TD today. I think the best Cowboys wide receiver to score TD today is Amari Cooper, even though he's probably going to be covered by Bradbury. Cowboys or Cardinals defense? I would lean towards Cardinals up against a backup quarterback who's never played a snap in the NFL. I like Amari Cooper more than Aguilar. Malcolm Brown or Dobbins? I would probably lean Dobbins. For Dynasty, Jacobs or Gibson? It's Jacobs for sure. And you must have waivers. Yeah, Austin. I think Ty Johnson's probably better than some running backs you probably have. Ty Johnson's probably going to see 20 touches today against a horrible Patriots defense. Won't shock me at all if Ty Johnson goes over 100 yards. So I like Ty Johnson a lot. And he's available in I think, 90% of fantasy leagues still. So Ty Johnson's the starting running back for the Jets, and Frank Gore is out this week. His over-under, by the way, that I'm seeing is 58.5 rushing yards. I like that a decent amount as well. Do you put Gibson over Wilson or Madison non-PPR? Yeah, I would put him over Madison. I have no faith in Madison today. I think he's a complete trap play. I wouldn't be trusting Alexander Madison. There's really a good chance that he doesn't even see 50% of the work. So I don't trust Madison at all. Is Alex Smith starting? It looks like he's going to be able to start. DeAndre Swift or Chubb? Don't bench Nick Chubb today in a must-win game. Nick Chubb as a 10-point favorite, you don't bench him. And the Nick Chubb Cleveland Brown stack to me is the best running back defense stack on the slate on FanDuel and DraftKings and Yahoo, wherever you're playing. They're the best stack of the week. Nick Chubb, Browns defense against Mason Rudolph and a lot of backups for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just allowed over 140 yards to Giovanni Bernard. Like, Nick Chubb's going to eat this team up. Ty Johnson or DeAndre Swift? I would lean towards Swift over Ty Johnson. I do like Ty Johnson. I don't like Alexander Madison. I'm fading Alexander Madison. I have him in none of my DFS lineups. I think that he's going to be extremely high owned as well. FanDuel has Jefferson at 82.5 yards. Would you still play the over? I would go try to get on DraftKings because DraftKings has it at 73.5. I personally think that our algorithm wouldn't have it as exploitable any higher than 80. But 82.5, I do think he's still going to clear that, so I'm okay going with it. T.Y. Hilton or Amari Cooper, but the official free prop pick is 73.5 because that's what you can get on DraftKings. T.Y. Hilton or Amari Cooper, I would probably lean towards T.Y. Hilton today with Amari Cooper's matchup. Josh Allen or Kirk Cousins. I like Kirk Cousins a lot, and Josh Allen could be on the bench by halftime. Diggs or McLaren, I'd still go Diggs. Dang, you know your stuff. Max, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And if you haven't hit that like button on YouTube, definitely hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, by the way, we started this YouTube channel literally less than 2 months ago, and we've already got over 2,500 subscribers, which is super exciting. My goal for next season is to hit that 10,000 mark. I think we're going to do it. Corey Davis or T.Y. Hilton, I'd go Corey Davis. Kittle or Logan Thomas in fantasy ship, I'd go Kittle. Diggs or McLaren, I would go Diggs over McLaren. Both of them are a little sketchy. Diggs could be benched at halftime. McLaren could be limited as well with his injury. I would go Diggs. Why not start Alexander Madison? Here's why. Because let's take it back to week 6 when he was supposed to be the starting running back with Dalvin Cook out against the Atlanta Falcons, who were a bottom 5 defense at that time. And he had under 30 yards in that game. That could very well happen again today where Mike Boone is going to be involved. They're probably going to throw the ball a decent amount as well. That's why I like Justin Jefferson a lot today. Lions secondary is arguably the worst in the NFL right now. Madison hasn't even played in a couple of weeks. It's hard to trust Alexander Madison to get over 50% of the work. Do your students know about your TikTok account? They're actually slowly starting to find out about it more and more as we start to grow. So yeah, some of them do know. Jones or Taylor, please. I would go Taylor. Jonathan Taylor can't be benched today. He's probably going to go off against a bad defense where they're big favorites in a must-win game. What is the guarantee spread today? My favorite spread of the day, it's probably the Dolphins against the Bills because I feel like the Bills are incentivized to rest a lot of their players. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins need a win, and their defense is good. Their defense is top 5 in the NFL. So I like Miami Dolphins spread today. Thank you, man, for all the help. I won my championship with Diggs. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about, Thomas. We were all over Diggs, by the way. In our WalterPicks app, if you're with us during the draft part of the fantasy season, which not as many of you were, we were all over Stephon Diggs as an amazing pick. In the 3rd round, you were getting him. Do you like Crowder or Tyler Boyd? I like Crowder. Jeff Wilson or McKissick? I would go Jeff Wilson over him. Eckler or Jacobs? I like Eckler more in a PPR league. DK running back options. Chubb, Elliott, Taylor, pick 2. I'd go Chubb and Taylor. I like all 3 of those guys a lot, though, Joe. Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, Jonathan Taylor. You've narrowed it down to the right group of running backs in fantasy in DFS this week. How high is Rivers' ceiling? It's really high against a Jaguar secondary that's bottom 2 in the NFL. I say bottom 2 because the Lions is also completely trash. Phillip Rivers' ceiling today is 3 touchdowns, 300 yards. Jeff Wilson or David Johnson? I would lean towards Jeff Wilson. Gallup or Ingram? I would lean towards Gallup. Do you like the Rams or the Cardinals today? I think the Cardinals are going to beat them. The Rams had a backup. The backup quarterback is not a guy who's never played a snap in the NFL. I'm not trusting him at all. I like the Cardinals. It seems like the Cardinals keep choking in these types of situations. So it'll be a fun game to watch, but I think Kyler's going to do well. Thoughts on McKissick? Yeah, Antonio Gibson's playing again. McKissick still has a pretty high floor in PPR leagues just because he gets so many targets, but I don't think he's that trustworthy this week. Can you see the Bears beat the Packers? If the Bears beat the Packers, it would be a truly big upset. The Packers still have a lot to play for. They have to win to get that 1 seed, and that is nothing to overlook. The 1 seed is a tremendous advantage in the NFL this year. It's the only seed that's getting the bye, so I think the Packers are going to beat the Bears. And the boom lineup. Yeah, let me go through my boom DFS lineup with you all. And it starts with Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy. Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy, it's the cheapest stack with the most upside in DFS this week. And it really does have a tremendous amount of upside. And Jerry Jeudy saw 15 targets last week. Drew Lock is known to throw the ball deep more so than other quarterbacks in the NFL. They're up against a bad Las Vegas Raiders secondary. So starting with the Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy stack. Then we're going with Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb at running backs. Probably the two running backs with the most ceiling today. And you can afford those guys by starting Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy in this lineup. And then at wide receiver, I'm going with DK Metcalf. Optimal upside with DK Metcalf, even against a pretty good 49ers secondary. DK Metcalf's going to go absolutely off today. And at wide receiver, the two cheap receivers I really like are Andy Isabella and Richie James. Andy Isabella, priced at only $3,000, the bare minimum for a wide receiver. He's going to be playing 100% of the snaps today for the Cardinals with Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald out. And at tight end, I went Jonnu Smith. I stacked the Cleveland Browns with Nick Chubb in this lineup as well. I think it's the highest upside stack today at the running back DFS stack. You always have to stack your running back and your defense. It's one of the biggest correlations in all of football. A running back does well when the defense does well. Chris Carson or Zeke? I would go Zeke over Chris Carson this week. Prop pick of the week. It is Justin Jefferson, over 73.5 receiving yards. Lock it in. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed 9 receivers in the last 6 weeks to go over 75 yards. Justin Jefferson, meanwhile, has gone over 75 yards in 5 of his last 7 games. Guys, hit that like button. We're almost at 110 likes if you're watching live on YouTube. Cowboys D or Bills D? I would probably lean towards the Cowboys defense over the Bills defense, but it's close. Good tight end this week is Mike Gesicki, who's going to probably lead the Dolphins in targets this week. If Devontae Parker plays, he's going to be their number 2 tight end. So, I like Mike Gesicki a lot. If you're looking for a streamer, though, look no further than Jonnu Smith, who's probably available at this point in a lot of fantasy leagues, and he has a lot of upside in the game with one of the highest over-unders of the week. Would you start Allen and Diggs today? Yeah, I think you can start them depending on your situation, but they definitely have increased risk this week with really not that much to play for. Who do you see being a surprise in the playoffs? It's whoever wins the NFC East. I think that the Cowboys could sneak in if the Washington football team can't play. The Washington football offense really is not very intimidating. Their defense is really good, but I think offense is what moves the needle in the NFL. So I won't be surprised if the Cowboys sneak into the playoffs. That's probably going to be the big surprise of the day. Anderson, Boston Scott, Dobbins, Jeudy. I'd go Jeudy. I think Jeudy saw 15 targets last week, guys. Kiki or Corey Davis? I would lean towards Corey Davis over Kiki QT, but they're both great options. Breeze or Derek Carr? I'd go Derek Carr there. Tannehill, Kyler, or Kirk? I'm leaning Kirk. Yeah, all 3 of those guys, Jared, are really good options. I think I would probably lean Tannehill over Kirk, but they both have really, really good matchups. And for the Titans, there's a better chance that the Titans are able to just run the ball all game than there is that the Vikings can run the ball all game. So I'm okay going Kirk there. Melvin Gordon, Carson, or David Johnson? I would lean towards Melvin Gordon over both those guys. Melvin Gordon, guys, he's seen consistent work. He's actually been really efficient as well, averaging almost 6 yards a carry. Is Irv Smith Jr. a good start this week? Yeah, he is. He is a good start against a horrible, horrible secondary that really just got torched by the Bucs in one half. Saints or Bucs defense? I'd probably go with the Saints defense over the Bucs defense. Derrick Henry or AJ Brown? I'd go Derrick Henry over A.J. Brown. Yeah, the free prop pick of the week. It is Justin Jefferson, over 73.5 receiving yards. Lock it in. The Lions secondary is arguably the worst in the NFL. It's right up there with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Justin Jefferson's gone over 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games. The Lions have allowed 9 different receivers to go over 75 yards in their last 6 games. Do the Saints have anything to play for? Yes, the Saints will be going all out today, especially depending on that Packers game. The Saints could get that 1 seed in the NFC, which is a big deal. It's the only team that gets a bye, so it's a big deal. The Packers and the Saints will be going all out for that 1 seed today. And so, yes, the Saints do have something to play for. Jeudy or T. Higgins? I'd go Jeudy. T. Higgins, Corey Davis, or Laviska Shenault? Yeah, Shenault's another good sleeper this week, guys. DJ Chark out. Shenault's going to be the number 1 option in that offense. So I do like Shenault. If you're stacking that Jaguars game, Shenault should probably be in that stack. And I would probably lean, though, Corey Davis over T. Higgins and Shenault. My whole team isn't playing except Derrick Henry. Ravi. That's tough, man. Sam, bold prediction. Taysom Hill, 100+ total yards and a TD. Like it. How do you feel about Montgomery and McLaren this week? I don't like Ty Montgomery at all. I think he's a complete trap. I don't think we can confidently say he's getting over 10 touches of the football. Taysom Hill is probably going to be more and more involved, so I don't like him very much. And Terry McLaren also is a really big risk. He's coming off a high ankle sprain. The reports are that he's not going to play his full complement of snaps, but I like him more than Ty Montgomery. Aaron Jones or Jeff Wilson, and why? I would argue that Jeff Wilson is safer than Aaron Jones because A.J. Dillon is starting to eat into Aaron Jones's work a little bit. But I like Aaron Jones's upside more than Jeff Wilson's because we've seen Aaron Jones score 40 points in a fantasy game. So I would lean towards Aaron Jones because of the receiving work in that Packers offense. I think the Packers have a lot to play for today too, sealing up that 1 seed. So I would lean towards Aaron Jones. Kiki or Corey Davis? I like Corey Davis more. Justin Jefferson receiving yards is 80.5. Yeah, I would take it up to that and no higher. I saw FanDuel has it at 83. DraftKings has it at 73.5. I would take it up to 80. I think Justin Jefferson's probably going to get 100 yards today. Should I start Gaskin, Carson, or Jacobs at flex? I would lean towards Jacobs at flex. Sup, Walter? Jacob, my name's Sam. It's a classic mistake. I built an artificially intelligent algorithm. I named it Walter. I understand the confusion. Corey Davis or Robert Woods? I would lean towards Corey Davis over Robert Woods, but it's close. Do you like Mike Williams at 5,000 on DK? Yeah, John, the upside is there for 5,000 on DraftKings for Mike Williams with no Keenan Allen. The upside is definitely there with Justin Herbert still playing probably the whole game. So I do like Mike Williams' upside in a tournament. Are you worried about Hurts today in the rain? No, I don't worry about rain, Trustin. I've done some research on weather in the NFL and how it affects offenses. And the research that I've done, there's only a statistically significant impact on offenses, on offensive production when there is wind over 25 miles an hour, which is not the case for that game. They can play through rain. They can play through snow. They can play through cold. So the rain is not a concern for me. Corey Davis or Antonio Gibson. I like Corey Davis to bounce back a lot today. I think Corey Davis and A.J. Brown are going to have fantastic games. Only wind, Ryan. Only wind. Tannehill or Gesicki or Cousins and Andrews. I like Tannehill and Gesicki a lot, but Cousins and Andrews seems like it has more upside. Andrews just has way more upside than Gesicki. Swift or Kittle at flex? I would lean towards Swift over Kittle at flex. How do you feel about Montgomery today? I think he's going to do very well. Probably going to get right around 80 rushing yards. His over-under, I think, is right around 80. Rodgers or Watson? I like Rodgers a lot today. I like Watson too. Watson's going to be in what I'm expecting to be a shootout. The Titans secondary is not good, so I won't be surprised if Deshaun Watson ends the season on a high note. But to me, Aaron Rodgers is up against a Bears defense that's pretty injured as well, and he's got a lot to play for. So I would like Aaron Rodgers. The player prop picks are no joke. No, they're really not a joke. Over 85% accuracy this season using artificial intelligence to identify exploitable prop picks. This isn't me just like randomly pointing my finger. This is a mathematical process to identify exploitable player prop lines. And the Justin Jefferson line is all over the place. So if you're seeing it as high as 80, I wouldn't take it higher than 80, but I'm seeing it at 73.5 on FanDuel. Would you rather play Hurts or Breeze? I would probably go Hurts over Breeze. On DK running backs, is it good to play all three, Chubb, Taylor, and Henry? Yeah, Joe, I like all three of those guys a ton. And those three guys are giving you a lot of upside. All three of those guys could score 2+ touchdowns. Do you like Corey Davis this week? Yeah, I like Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, and Jonnu Smith a lot this week against a bad Houston Texans defense. Can't wait to see the NBA player props. Yeah, I'm excited for those too. We're in the beta mode right now for NBA. We've already had a few props identified this season, and they've done pretty well. They've had over that 65% accuracy threshold so far. Hurts or Wilson? I'd probably lean towards Jalen Hurts. Did I miss the prop pick? Yes, the prop pick is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. Lock it in. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed 9 different players over 75 yards in the last 6 games. Justin Jefferson's gotten over 75 yards in 5 of his last 7. When will there be a bid app for Samsung? It's coming, man. It's definitely coming. Should I play Madison or Jeff Wilson in full PPR? I would go Jeff Wilson. I think Alexander Madison and Ty Montgomery are complete traps today. I'm not trusting either of those guys. Crowder or Landry? I would go Crowder over Landry. Who are sleepers? Yeah, the sleepers for today. Richie James, fantastic sleeper. He's going to play 100% of the snaps for the 49ers. Andy Isabella, fantastic sleeper. He's going to play 100% of the snaps for the Arizona Cardinals with Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald out. I think Ty Johnson is one of my favorite running back sleepers today. He's probably going to see 20+ touches against a bad Patriots defense. I like Drew Lock as a really deep sleeper at quarterback against a bad Raiders secondary. And he has really high upside stacked with Jerry Jeudy today. Would you play Diggs? Yeah, I would play Diggs. Even if he only plays a half, he's probably going to do well. Josh Allen MVP conversation. I do think you're not having a valid MVP conversation unless it includes Josh Allen. But at the same time, I think it's Aaron Rodgers, and there's really no arguing about it. I think you've got to talk about Josh Allen in the conversation because of what he's done and how important he is for that Bills team. But Aaron Rodgers wins it for me this season. What's an upset for the money line? If you're looking for an upset on the money line, I think that a good one is probably either the Rams against the Cardinals or the Texans against the Titans. It won't surprise me if the Cardinals or the Titans blow it in one of those games. Then those are huge money line lines. Thoughts on Latavius Murray with Kamara out? Latavius Murray also out. All of the Saints running backs are out. Taysom Hill is probably going to be involved. Ty Montgomery is supposedly the starting running back, but I do think that that Ty Montgomery is a trap play. I'm not sure he's going to see over 10 touches. Look at the difference in strength of schedule between the Bills and the Packers, though. My only argument. Yeah, the strength of schedule has definitely been different. But if we adjust for the strength of the schedule, the Packers have still had a more efficient offense than the Bills. The most efficient offenses, if we're looking at the NFL, the Chiefs have an extremely efficient offense. Even though they've kind of stalled over the last month, I'm not too worried about them. The Titans have had one of the most efficient passing attacks in the NFL, actually number 2. The Packers are number 3, and the Bills are number 4. All 4 of those teams, to me, those are the top 4 teams for the Super Bowl. But 3 of the teams are in the same division, and they're in the division with the Chiefs. So I don't think the Bills or the Titans are going to be able to beat the Chiefs. But Bills and Titans do have FanDuel has Jefferson at 82.5. Wow, it moved a ton. So what I'm seeing, let me back this up for Justin Jefferson. What I'm seeing for Justin Jefferson on my screen right now, he is still available at 73.5 on DraftKings. I was saying it backwards. He's 73.5 on DraftKings, and they're giving you plus 125 odds. FanDuel is 82.5 minus 110. So go over to DraftKings, and they're giving you a way, way better offer. Over 73.5 yards on DraftKings for Justin Jefferson. Lock that one in. FanDuel has it at 82.5. I still like it, but it's probably under our 65% threshold at that level. Hey, Sam, Breeze or Rivers? I would lean towards Rivers. I like Rivers a lot today against a really bad defense. Mitch or Baker? I'd probably lean towards Mitch over Baker today. Herbert over Hurts? I'd be okay with it. I think they're really similar options this week. But honestly, I think I like Kirk Cousins and Ryan Tannehill and Phillip Rivers more than both those guys this week. Kirk Cousins over Justin Herbert this week. Diggs or Jeff Wilson? I would probably go Jeff Wilson over Diggs just because Diggs might only play a half. But if you don't have a guy as good as Jeff Wilson, who Jeff Wilson, guys, just had his best career game. He's probably going to go over 100 yards again today. But if you don't have a guy like Jeff Wilson, I'm okay starting Stephon Diggs. Who should I draft number 1 overall this year? I think it's going to be Christian McCaffrey for me again. Aaron Jones or Curtis Samuel, ESPN. I would go Aaron Jones over Curtis Samuel. Do you like Derek Carr? Yeah, Derek Carr has been one of the most underrated running quarterbacks, in the NFL over the last 2 years. He's really had his best season of the year. He's been on fire with the props. Any got any this week? Yeah, it's Justin Jefferson over 73.5 yards over on DraftKings. Lock that one in. He's going over 75 yards at least today. Won't surprise me at all when he goes over 100 yards. Screw it, I'm starting Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, Jeudy saw 15 targets last week, guys. He's got really high ceiling. He's very clearly a focal point of that offense right now. They want to get that connection rolling heading into next season. Hit that like button, guys. We're almost at 120 likes on YouTube. Hit that like button. Really would appreciate it. Chubb or Madison? Oh, come on, man. Madison is an absolute trap. He's a complete trap. He's probably going to get under 50 total yards. I do like Nick Chubb a lot today. He's a 10-point favorite. Nick Chubb is a 10-point favorite against the Steelers defense, resting some of their best starters. They're resting Big Ben. The Browns are going to destroy the Steelers today. Did Cyclone Sports ever answer about the internship opportunity? No, I don't think so. Alexander Madison or Kareem Hunt? I would go Kareem Hunt. Madison or Dillon? I would lean towards Madison over Dillon, but I want nothing to do with Madison. I like Ty Johnson more than Madison and Dillon. Pick 2, Zeke, Swift, Jacobs, Gaskin. I would go Zeke and Jacobs there. Both those guys are pretty locked in to see at least 15 touches. Pick 2, Gaskin, Wilson Jr., or Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a tough one, guys. AJ Dillon's eating into his workload. And guys, hit that like button. We're 1 like away from 120 likes. But Aaron Jones is a tough one because AJ Dillon is eating into his workload a little bit. But I still like Aaron Jones more than Myles Gaskin. I would probably lean towards Jeff Wilson over Myles Gaskin too. Yarjma, good to see you, man. Happy week 17. Thoughts on Josh Jacobs? Yeah, Josh Jacobs to me is one of the more underrated running backs in the NFL. I think he gets a lot of hate. He's actually been really consistent, and I like him in fantasy as well. He's going to be, if he falls to the 3rd round next year, I'm going to be all over Josh Jacobs. Steelers resting Cam Hayward, Watt, no Hayden, Edmonds, Bush, and Dupree on IR. Browns should have a field day. Yeah, I totally agree. The Browns are going to have a field day. That's my favorite running back defense stack this week is Nick Chubb stacked with the Browns defense. Antonio Brown or Corey Davis? I'd go Corey Davis. I like Austin Eckler a lot this week. He's probably going to continue to see the most targets at the running back position in the NFL. Allen Robinson also going to be very involved. The Bears have a lot to play for, so you got to let Allen Robinson, guys. He's been a top 10 fantasy football option in the last couple of weeks. Gibson or Jacobs? I'd go Jacobs. Kittle, Landry, Diggs, or Woods? You can't trust Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp at all this week with that backup quarterback playing for the Rams who's never played a snap in the NFL. So I would go with those first 3. Who is your upset of the week? Yeah, there's going to be an upset this week. There always is. Week 17 is always absolutely insane. And I do really like the Browns to beat the Steelers. I don't think that's going to be the upset. I think that there's a chance that either the Cardinals or the Titans end up blowing it. The Cardinals and the Titans are my pick to blow it. I still think both of them are going to win, but if I have to pick an upset that's going to happen, it's probably going to be the Cardinals choking, as they seem to always choke in these types of situations, or it's going to be the Titans against the Texans team with a top 5 quarterback in Deshaun Watson who can keep up with their offense. Jefferson or Robinson in DFS? I like Jefferson. Again, the free prop pick of the day, Justin Jefferson, over 73.5 receiving yards over on DraftKings. They have it all the way at 83 on FanDuel. Look at that difference there. So go over to DraftKings, lock that one in. Terry McLaurin or Stephon Diggs? I'd go Diggs over McLaurin. Bears are about to get the W. Yeah, the Bears have a lot to play for. Mitch Trubisky probably has more on the line this week than any other player. So that's a decent upset pick as well. Do you trust Diggs? Even if Diggs only plays one half, yeah, I would still trust him. How many yards for Derrick Henry? He's going to go over 125 yards. He needs like 230 to break the 2,000 mark. Do you like Chad Hansen? Yeah, I do like Chad Hansen. Do you trust Diggs? I do like Diggs. Even if he only plays in the first half, he's probably going to get at least 70 yards. Diggs or Cooper? See, it's close. That one's close. I would probably still lean Diggs, though. Dare Ogunbowale or Kareem Hunt? Probably Ogunbowale, honestly. Kareem Hunt has really taken a back seat to Nick Chubb in terms of the running game. He hasn't been involved. I couldn't believe Kareem Hunt wasn't more involved in their passing attack last week when all of their receivers are out. Andrews or Madison and Lamar or Hurts? I'd go Lamar over Hurts, and I would go Andrews over Madison. I want nothing to do with Alexander Madison. I think he's the trap of the week, along with Ty Montgomery. Both these guys are projected starters this week for their offenses, but I don't think you can confidently tell me that they're going to see over 10 touches. How much money do you make off your app? We haven't made any money yet. We reinvest every single penny that we've made in the app back into the app. So we've made zero, really negative dollars so far. I've invested pretty much every dollar I have into the app. So definitely go subscribe if you want to help us out. Sam, any thoughts on Giants-Cowboys game? I think the Cowboys are going to win that game. Do you think NFL coaches are aware of other game scores while coaching? If they're smart, they should be, because if it impacts their playoff implications and their reason to play well in the game, like if there's a few of these games today where if they look over at the scoreboard and they see that, for example, the Packers are destroying the Bears, the Saints have no incentive to play anymore because they can't get the 1 seed. So if that's happening, they should bench Drew Brees and put in Taysom Hill and rest Drew Brees for the playoffs. So if that's like a scenario like that, the Saints would be doing a smart thing by looking at the scores of the other games. Do you like the over on Titans-Texans? I think it's one of the highest over-unders of the week, but I do like it. I think that's going to be an extremely high-scoring game, but I never bet on over-unders. I only bet on player prop picks. So I've had over 66% accuracy on over 200 picks dating back to last year. And the free prop pick today is Justin Jefferson, over 73.5 receiving yards. Lock it in today with confidence. Now, on my sports book, by the way, there's like almost no player props listed. They're very nervous about week 17. I think they're on to me too with how exploitable I've been on their prop picks. Swift, Gaskin, or Diggs. I would lean towards Swift. Guys, DeAndre Swift has a really, really high ceiling as the primary, the best player in that offense right now. I think Swift is a pretty good option. They should use him more than they are, but I still like his ceiling. Malcolm Brown, Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake, or Deontay Johnson, pick 2. I don't trust Deontay Johnson, Juju, or Claypool this week with Mason Rudolph starting. I don't trust Malcolm Brown with Cam Akers playing, so I would go Chris Carson and Kenyon Drake. Herbert's, Hurts, Cousins, or Tannehill? I would probably go Tannehill, then Cousins, then Herbert, then Hurts. Do you bet on the props you give out on the app? Yes, I max bet every single prop that I've ever identified as exploitable, and I think I would be a fraud if I wasn't doing that. McLaurin or Cooper? I would go Cooper over McLaurin. McLaurin might not play as much as we normally see him play this week. He's playing through a high ankle sprain, which is concerning. Same thing with Cam Akers. Do you trust Josh Allen? Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs could be on the bench by halftime. So it won't shock me if that's going to be the case. It's going to feel weird seeing your TikToks from NFL to NBA, but we ready. Yeah, we're going to be continuing NFL content. We're going to be sprinkling in some NBA content, as you've seen as well. We're going to potentially be bringing on someone to help with NBA content as well. Allen or Mayfield? I like Josh Allen more than Mayfield. Boston Scott or T.Y. Hilton? I'd definitely go T.Y. Hilton there. David Johnson or Gibson? I would lean towards Gibson. Who's winning, Bills or Dolphins? I think the Dolphins are going to beat the Bills. The Bills have no reason to be fighting in this game. Can you name a good DraftKings team? Yeah. Let me go through my optimal upside DraftKings lineup. I really like this lineup a lot. So starting up at quarterback, I'm stacking Drew Lock and Jerry Jeudy. It's the cheapest high upside stack of the week in DFS, especially on DraftKings. You're getting both those guys at under $5,000, which leaves you enough room to getting Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. To me, the two highest upside running backs on the entire slate today, Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. They're both averaging over 18 fantasy points per game. And then my other two receivers, you can fit in DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf's probably going to go bananas this week against the 49ers in a must-win game for the Seattle Seahawks. You got to love DK Metcalf today. And then my favorite low-priced receiver outside of Richie James, who's at 3,100, is Andy Isabella at 3,000. He's no Christian Kirk today, no Larry Fitzgerald. Today, Andy Isabella is going to play 100% of the snaps for the Arizona Cardinals in a game that they need to win, in a game where DeAndre Hopkins is going to be he's going to draw all the attention of that defense. So I really, really like Andy Isabella at the bare minimum price on DraftKings. And then I went with Brandon Cooks. I like Brandon Cooks in that Titans game to really, really have a really high upside. And Jonnu Smith to get a piece of that Titans game as well. Stack him with Derrick Henry. And then I went with the Browns defense. I really like the Nick Chubb Browns defense stack against a Pittsburgh Steelers team. They're 10-point favorites in that game. Are you trusting Gallup today? No, I don't trust him too much today, but he has been really producing over the last month. Weather updates. Yeah, there's no games with wind over 25 miles an hour, so no weather updates. Free player prop pick. It's Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards over on DraftKings. Lock that one in. Should I start Carson or Jacobs at flex? I think they're both really similar options. Both of them should see 15 to 20 touches today. I personally like Jacobs a little bit more than Carson. Murray or Cousins? I would go Kyler Murray still, even against a really, really good defense. Kyler Murray is one of the best fantasy football quarterbacks there is because of his rushing upside. So I do like Kyler Murray. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Let's get to 125 likes. Really do appreciate that. Thoughts on Zeke today? Yeah, guys, Ezekiel Elliott took over that workhorse role. Again, people were asking me about Tony Pollard last week. Tony Pollard. I said, no, bench Tony Pollard. The Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard situation is extremely similar to the Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds situation, where Chase Edmonds has been more efficient than Kenyon Drake, but we know the coaches are going to give Kenyon Drake more work. It's the same thing in Dallas. Tony Pollard's been significantly more efficient than Ezekiel Elliott this season, but we know that Ezekiel Elliott's going to be fed the rock. They just gave Ezekiel Elliott one of the biggest running back contracts in the history of running back contracts, which was not smart at all. So I think that Zeke is going to do very well. He's probably going to see around 20 touches. Ty Johnson, Giovanni Bernard, or Cam Akers. I've seen a lot of Cam Akers questions, and Cam Akers is risky today, guys. He's coming off a high ankle sprain, and this is a must-win game for them. The Rams clearly want to make Cam Akers a focal point of the offense, but they have a backup quarterback today that has never played a snap in the NFL. That's with Cam Akers. So he's risky. He's very risky, and I won't be surprised if Malcolm Brown ends up stealing his touchdowns if they get in the red zone. So I don't want Cam Akers. And Giovanni Bernard has been great over the last couple of weeks, 20-plus points in fantasy over the last couple of weeks, but P. Ryan's also been involved, and I don't really trust anyone on that Bengals team against the Ravens today. Then we land on Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson is one of my favorite sleeper running backs of the week. I think he's going to see 20-plus touches today with Frank Gore out for the New York Jets against a horrible Patriots defense that I think the Jets could very easily beat the Pats today. So I like Ty Johnson more than Giovanni Bernard and more than Cam Akers. J.K. Dobbins or Jonathan Taylor? Definitely Jonathan Taylor, guys. Jonathan Taylor, his over-under today, I think is around 70 or 80 yards. And he's probably going to go over that. Jonathan Taylor, guys, he's averaging 97 rushing yards per game over since week 11. He's seen 16-plus carries in almost every single game over the last month. Player prop, yes, we got our free prop pick of the day. It is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. Listen, Justin Jefferson has gone over 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed 9 different receivers to go over 75 yards in their last 6 games. 9 receivers in their last 6 games. That's not good for those counting at home. Justin Jefferson's going to eat against this Lions secondary. And yeah, again, I would go Ty Johnson over Giovanni Bernard and over Cam Akers. Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson? I would lean towards Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson. Your app says Hines will do better. Hines will do better than who? How hard is it to get your app on the App Store? It was pretty difficult. I definitely had a lot of help from some good advisors, but the app process, getting an app in the App Store, you have to pay a designer, you have to pay a developer. So that cost alone is at least $10,000. And then you also have to go through the whole app process. You have to build the app, test the app, and then go through the submission process, which is actually somewhat complicated. But overall, we were able to do it in like just 2 months. Do you like Ty Johnson more than Drake? I would probably still go Kenyon Drake over Ty Johnson, but it's close. I think it's very close. I won't be surprised at all if Ty Johnson outscores Kenyon Drake. Madison or Wilson. Madison is a trap this week, guys. Don't trust Alexander Madison. Don't trust Ty Montgomery. Probably I'll end up being wrong about one of those guys, but extremely right about the other one. So don't trust Alexander Madison or Ty Montgomery today. Both of them have too low of a floor to trust. Jeff Wilson's floor is way, way higher than Alexander Madison's. I don't think I like Ty Johnson more than Kenyon Drake, though. Trubisky, Breeze, or Carr. I'd probably go Trubisky. Tannehill or Murray, close one. Very close one. But I'd lean Kyler Murray. I like Tannehill a lot today, and I have him in a few DFS stacks with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. But I think that the concern with Ryan Tannehill that Kyler Murray doesn't have is if they completely destroy. Like if Ryan Tannehill completely destroys the Texans, and the Texans offense can't keep up, we're going to see Derrick Henry see 30 carries. He's going to go over 150 yards, and Tannehill's just not going to have to throw that much. There's always that risk with Tannehill, but I do think the Texans offense can keep up with him, which is why I would still lean Tannehill. But if you want to avoid that risk, then Kyler Murray is definitely safer, even against a good defense. Who do you pick as a tight end for your DraftKings lineup? Mike Gesicki is my tight end this week on DraftKings. The tight end that is in most of my lineups is Mike Gesicki. I really like the value there. Do you think Aaron Jones will have 15 plus touches? Yeah, I think he's going to be right around the 15 touches mark. Who do you pick as a tight? Yeah, I like Mike Gesicki a lot. I like Mark Andrews if you can fit him into your lineups, though. He's got the most upside for me at tight end this week on DraftKings. Madison, McKissick, Higgins, Boyd, or Aguilar. Again, don't trust Madison. Even in a really good matchup, I would go with Aguilar. Do you think the Steelers have a shot of beating the Browns? No, I don't think so. I think that probably the most likely upset is the Bears and the Packers, or it is the Titans or the Cardinals to blow it. But I don't think that I really don't think the Steelers have a chance to beat the Browns with all the guys that they're resting and the Browns needing a win. I would be pretty surprised. Trubisky or Josh Allen? I'd still go Josh Allen. Jonnu Smith, Mike Gesicki, or Irv Smith? I would go Mike Gesicki over both those guys. But the other two guys probably have more upside. To me, Mike Gesicki is the safest option, though. How's Jeff Wilson's matchup? It's not amazing, but it's less about matchup and it's more about touches when we're talking about running backs. And Jeff Wilson's probably going to see 15 plus touches. Cam Newton just announced he's moving on from the Patriots. Is this true? Is he playing today? And he just announced that? That's kind of crazy. I'm risking playing Zach Pascal because I need a big one. Performance at flex, super deep 12-man. Yeah, Zach Pascal, that's fine. He's definitely got upside in a game that could really turn into a high-scoring game. It'd be insane if the Titans missed the playoffs. Yeah, it would be insane if the Titans missed the playoffs. It'd be insane if the Titans missed the playoffs. It would be insane if the Cardinals missed the playoffs against a backup quarterback that's never played a snap in the NFL. And honestly, it would be insane if the Ravens don't win today as well. All three of those teams need to win. How high would you take JJ over yards? My book's at 80. Yeah, I would, Kevin, I would take it up to 80.5. I would not take it higher than that, but I won't be surprised at all when Justin Jefferson goes over 100 yards. I think I still like DK Metcalf, though, a little bit more than Justin Jefferson. DK Metcalf, guys, is going to go off against this 49ers team. DK Metcalf's receiving yards is actually a little bit lower than Justin Jefferson's, but I don't think I would be playing Justin Jefferson over DK Metcalf. Can you tell me who to play between Lamar Jackson or Kyler Murray? Definitely Lamar Jackson. Do not bench Lamar Jackson, guys. He's got too much upside, too high of a floor, and a must-win game for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's been cooking recently. He hasn't gone under 25 fantasy points in like 3 straight weeks. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Who's going to be that 130th like? What is your DraftKings lineup this week? Carter. My high upside DraftKings lineup, one of my favorite cheap high upside stacks, it's Drew Lock stacked with Jerry Jeudy. It's extremely cheap on DraftKings, and Jerry Jeudy saw 15 targets last week. To me, there's a lot of upside against a bad Raiders defense there. And then you can fit in guys like Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, DK Metcalf, who have optimal upside this week in DFS. My favorite low-priced wide receiver this week there's two of them. Richie James, who's going to play 100% of the snaps for the 49ers today. I think he's actually a pretty good receiver. I think he's going to see at least 5 targets. He's priced at $3,100, almost the bare minimum. Then there's Andy Isabella, who's probably going to play 100% of the snaps for the Arizona Cardinals today in a must-win game, with DeAndre Hopkins attracting most of the attention. Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk are out. So I like Andy Isabella at the bare minimum today as well. Mike Williams or Nelson Aguilar? I'd go Mike Williams. Mike Williams or Ty Montgomery? Definitely Mike Williams. Guys, Ty Montgomery and Alexander Madison, absolute traps today. Survivor pool while you're still alive. That's very impressive. Do I take the Browns or the Vikings? I take the Browns. The Browns have more to play for than the Vikings. Definitely the Browns. Guys, the Steelers are resting there's like a lot of their key starters. They're missing a lot of their key defenders, not just Big Ben. Mason Rudolph is trash, and the Browns are fully healthy. I think they're missing Denzel Ward maybe, but I think that the Browns are going to handle the Pittsburgh Steelers today pretty easily. Lamb or Higgins? I would probably lean towards Higgins. Do you not like Madison today? No, I don't like Alexander Madison today. I think Alexander Madison is in a complete trap, just like he was back in week 6 against the Falcons when Dalvin Cook was out in that game too. He ended up getting 26 rushing yards in that game. I'm really not that confident that Alexander Madison's going to see over 10 touches today, and that's why I'm out on Alexander Madison. Sam, I need a running back. Go add Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson is better than Alexander Madison and better than Ty Montgomery today, guys. He's going to see at least 15 touches against a horrible Patriots defense on a team, the New York Jets, that just continuously run the ball, even though they shouldn't be. They're going to pound the rock, and Ty Johnson's going to benefit from that. Everybody does, James. Come on. Packers D, Browns D, or Cardinals D. I like the Browns defense a lot today, guys. Again, for all the reasons I just stated, I think that the best high upside stack at running back defense stack, you should always be stacking a defense with your running back. It's one of the biggest correlations in DFS to take advantage of, is Nick Chubb stacked with the Cleveland Browns defense. LMAO. Who do you think is a sleeper for next year? We're going to be getting into a lot of sleepers for next year, but there's a ton of them, man. And I'm definitely going to be posting a ton of content on TikTok, on YouTube about who you should be targeting in your fantasy drafts next season. But one of my favorite sleepers, I think, heading into next year is going to be Amari Cooper, who did really well this year despite not having Dak. And I think he's been overlooked kind of by the public in general. It won't be surprising if you can get Amari Cooper in like the 4th or even 5th round of fantasy drafts, and that's going to be an absolute steal. Sam, what are your thoughts on NBA? Is WalterPicks going to come out with an NBA product? Yes, Ben, we are coming out with an NBA product. It's going to help you dominate DraftKings and FanDuel with our optimizer, and we are going to have player props for the NBA, which I've already done pretty well, Ben. In beta mode, we've had over 65% accuracy on the first few that we've identified. Jaylen Brown over 23 points was an absolute lock last night? Yeah. Should I put in Aaron Jones today? I do think Aaron Jones has upside. He definitely has a really low floor too. Eckler or Chubb? I still go Chubb over Eckler. Guys, Chubb is a 10-point favorite against a Steelers defense resting so many of their starters. He's an absolute lock in a must-win game. I like Jameson, Elite Crowder more than Kareem Hunt this week. Do you like Cooks and Lockett? I like Cooks a lot more than I like Lockett. Cooks is almost definitely going to see more targets than Tyler Lockett. I like Aaron Jones' ceiling more than Jeff Wilson's, but I would go Jeff Wilson if you're trying to play it safe. A.J. Brown or Hopkins? Oh, get both of those guys in your lineups. Hopkins is going to see probably his highest target share of the season. No Larry Fitzgerald or Christian Kirk, but I think A.J. Brown's probably safer and has similar upside. And yes, we did give away a free prop pick of the week. The free prop pick, it is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. Lock it in. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed over 75 yards to 9 receivers in their last 6 games. And Justin Jefferson has had over 75 receiving yards in 5 of his last 7 games. Andy Isabella or Richie James. I like Andy Isabella, I think, a little bit more than Richie James. I like both of them, but I like Andy Isabella a little bit more. He's also a little bit cheaper. And to me, he has a higher upside just because the speed Andy Isabella has is insane. He's really, really fast. Go look at his 40 time. I think he was in the 4.2s. Big question. I have Montgomery, Gaskin, Chubb, and Taylor. Who do I bench? If you're benching one of those guys, it's got to be Gaskin. Is it good to start Jalen Hurts? Yeah, he's running a lot, which makes him really good, but he is up against a really good defense. So I like Kirk Cousins, Phillip Rivers, and Ryan Tannehill all a little bit more than Jalen Hurts this week. D-Hop or Thielen? Definitely D-Hop. You can't be benching DeAndre Hopkins, guys. I had Chubb, Diggs, and Allen in a 12-man league and won. Yeah, that's fire. That's a fire team. Ravens defense or Browns defense? It's Browns defense, guys. You really think Cousins over Brady this week? I'm torn between the two. I'm only up 1 point. Yeah, it's close. It's definitely close. If you think Brady's going to play the whole game, then go with Brady. And it won't be surprising at all if the Falcons stick in that game. But to me, Cousins is up against the worst secondary in the NFL. Like, we just saw what Brady did to the Lions. I think Kirk Cousins could do something similar this week. Ronald Jones or Kareem Hunt? Close one. I'd probably go Ronald Jones, but it's close. According to Bruce Arians, Ronald Jones is going to get the bulk of the work, but Bruce Arians is known to lie in the past. Anyone answer T.Y. or Landry? I would probably go T.Y. Hilton over Landry. I have Chris Godwin, Corey Davis, Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, or Antonio Brown. I'd go Chris Godwin, Corey Davis, and probably Antonio Brown there. Chris Carson, 100% over Alexander Madison and Antonio Gibson and Ty Johnson. You got to go Chris Carson. Sort them. Hunt, Eckler, David Johnson, Ty Johnson. I'd say Eckler number 1, Probably David Johnson number 2, Ty Johnson number 3, and Hunt number 4. Chris Godwin or DK. Do not bench DK Metcalf. Do not bench DK Metcalf today. Is Diggs a good start? He's risky because he could be benched at halftime because the team has nothing to play for. They can't get the 1 seed. They already clinched the AFC East, so there's not much to play for the Buffalo Bills, and they should be benching their starters if they're smart around halftime. I won my league with Lamar. Good stuff. Thanks for all your advice. Yeah, glad I could help, man. Kirk or Russ? I'd go Kirk over Russ today. I think I just sorted those on YouTube for you. Woods or McLaren or Gibson. I would lean towards you can't trust Woods with the backup quarterback that's never played a game in the NFL. And you can't really trust McLaren coming off a high ankle sprain. So I think I would bench both those guys. I'd play Jarvis Landry over Alexander Madison and Robert Woods. A.B. Hines or Ty Johnson. I'd like Ty Johnson more than both those guys, I think. Ty Johnson, to me, is the safer floor. All three of those guys have upside, though. All three of those guys, Justin, could probably do well. Should I bench Diggs? Happy Sunday. Ryan, it depends who you're benching him for. But Stephon Diggs, even in one half, is probably going to do better than most receivers. Steelers defense or Bucks defense? I'd go Bucks. Swift or Ty Johnson? I'd go Swift over Ty Johnson. What's the deal with Allen right now? Him over Carr? Yeah, I'd still go Josh Allen. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs could both be benched at any time in this game because they have nothing to play for. But so they're not safe. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, you cannot argue that they're safe today, but they'd still have upside. Even if they play just a half, they can probably do really well, just like Tom Brady did well in half last week. And yes, the free prop pick of the week, it is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. Lock it in, guys. He's gone over 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games. The Lions have allowed 9 receivers in their last 6 games to go over 75 yards. Is A.J. Dillon a first-round pick next year? No. Anyone answer J.K. Dobbins, James Conner, or Antonio Gibson? I would lean towards J.K. Dobbins over James Conner and Antonio Gibson. George Kittle or Mark Andrews? This is a close one. Max, this is a close one, but I would lean towards Mark Andrews just because they have more to play for. Hurts or Trubisky? I'm up 20 points, and I'm worried about Hurts. Yeah, Trubisky's a pretty safe option today as well. He's going to have to throw the ball a lot to keep up with the Packers offense. Gordon or Jeff Wilson? I'd go Melvin Gordon. Tannehill or Cousins? Close, man. It's really close. I like Tannehill's upside a little bit more, but his floor to me is lower than what Kirk Cousins' floor is because there's a chance that they just pound the rock with Derrick Henry if they get a lead. So I'm okay going Kirk Cousins. Jefferson prop moved to 79.5 on DraftKings. That looks like we're getting some heavy action just from this live stream. I would take it up to 80. So yeah, I'm okay with 79.5 on DraftKings. It was at 73.5 when the stream started, but it has moved as high as 79.5. Going to give a quick update in the app here. Tannehill or Murray? I like Kyler Murray a lot. I don't think you can bench Kyler Murray with the rushing upside that he has. You can't bench him, even against a good defense. He's in a must-win game. I do like Tannehill a lot today too, but to me, there's more risk that the Titans run the ball just down the Texans' throat than there is that Kyler Murray doesn't end up throwing at least 30 passes, and he's going to run probably at least 10 times as well. So I do like him. Marvin Jones or Michael Gallup? I would lean towards Marvin Jones, but there's a lot of risk with the Lions offense with Matthew Stafford playing through all sorts of injuries. Irv or Jonnu? I like Jonnu a little bit more than Irv. Murray or Hurts? I like Murray definitely more than Hurts. Antonio Brown or T.Y. Hilton? I like T.Y. Hilton a little bit more. Guys, the Colts are up against the worst secondary, bottom 2 secondary in the NFL. The worst 2 secondaries are the Jaguars and the Lions. So I like the Colts and I like the Vikings passing attacks today. Where do you see Galladay going next year, free agency and fantasy-wise? I won't be surprised if he sticks in Detroit, but it'll be interesting. He's a top 10 wide receiver when healthy in the NFL. And I know I say it's tough to make the top 10, but Kenny Galladay's in it. If you're really ranking off talent and what he's done when healthy, Kenny Galladay's a top 10 receiver in the NFL. I'm really excited to see where he goes. And he's probably going to end up being a big sleeper in fantasy next year. Lamar to throw over 1.5 TDs. Yeah, I love that prop every week. It wasn't identified by our algorithm this week, but Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. You're always getting plus odds on that one. And yeah, he's probably going to go throw over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So I do like it. Rodgers or Watson? I would go with Aaron Rodgers. I don't think you can bench. I don't think you can bench Lamar Jackson. I don't think you can bench Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think you can bench Kyler Murray either. So I would go Rodgers over Watson, even though I do like Deshaun Watson a decent amount today. Love your vids. Thanks, man. What stack do you like on DraftKings this week? My favorite running back defense stack. My favorite running back defense stack is Nick Chubb stacked with the Browns defense. They're 10-point favorites. The Steelers are benching all sorts of players on both sides of the ball today, and the Browns are in a must-win game. So I love the Chubb Brown stack. It's my favorite upside running back defense stack of the week. My favorite cheap high upside quarterback receiver stack is Jerry Jeudy stacked with Drew Lock. I mean, there's so much upside there at such a cheap price. 15 targets for Jerry Jeudy last week. He's top 10 in the NFL in air yards when he's seeing at least 5 targets. I mean, he's really does have more upside than people realize. I do like Jefferson over 78.5. I take it as high as 80. And I won't be surprised if Justin Jefferson goes over 100 yards. I don't think anybody should be surprised. Are you worried about Eckler's playing time today? Thinking about playing Dobbins instead. Trusted, I don't think you can play Dobbins over Eckler. And the playing time is why week 17 in fantasy is brutal. But I think that Eckler is going to play just as much, if not more, than Dobbins. You should be worried about Dobbins' playing time too. Gus Edwards is playing, and Lamar Jackson continues to steal carries away from both of them. I'd go Phillip Rivers over Hurts. Robinson or Thielen, I think you got to go Robinson. What round will Dak be drafted next year? Whatever round it is, it's probably going to be too low. I mean too high. Too low. Dak Prescott's, depending on where the injury discount is for him, he's going to be one of my favorite sleepers of the year. Dak Prescott was leading the league in passing yards per game before he was injured, and he was amazing last season too. Hurts or Rodgers? I would lean towards Rodgers for sure. Davis or McLaren, who has a higher ceiling? I think Corey Davis has the higher ceiling. Swift and the higher floor, honestly. Swift, Gaskin, or Jeff Wilson. I would rank them Swift, then Jeff Wilson, then Gaskin. I like all of them, but I think Swift has the highest ceiling. And I'd argue that Jeff Wilson has the safest floor. Giovanni Bernard or Ty Montgomery? I would lean towards Giovanni Bernard. Ty Montgomery and Alexander Madison, they're both traps. They're both traps this week. I really don't think you can trust either of them. Top DFS sleepers. Yeah, my favorite sleepers. My favorite bare minimum price sleeper at wide receiver is Andy Isabella, who's going to play probably 100% of the snaps for the Arizona Cardinals with Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk out. I do like him a lot. Jefferson is 82 on your book. If you want another free player prop pick, go into the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. There's another completely free one sitting there waiting for you, different than Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. And most places it's risen as high as 80. How do you feel about Packers run game? Will Dylan play? Yeah, I do think Dylan will play. And yeah, the free prop pick of the week was Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. Jeudy, 35 yards. Yeah, Judy's definitely clearing 35 yards if that's what the line is at. And a lot of books still are in flux. Week 17 is tough for books because a lot changes. I mean, we've had so much news over the last couple of days. Madison or Nyheim Hines? I would lean towards Nyheim Hines. I want nothing to do with Alexander Madison. The matchup is great, guys. The Detroit Lions have been horrible at stopping the run and the pass, but I do think that Madison is a trap. I'd argue Montgomery is a trap with the amount Breeze throws to his running backs as well. What does Breeze throwing to his running backs have to do with David Montgomery? Do you trust? Oh, Ty Montgomery. Yeah, Ty Montgomery is a trap. Ty Montgomery, I know Breeze throws to his running backs, but Ty Montgomery has had 1 carry this season. 1 carry. There's a very good chance he plays less than 50% of the snaps. Start D-Hop or Diggs. I'd be shocked if Ty Montgomery went over 10 fantasy points. D-Hop or Diggs, I would go DeAndre Hopkins. DK or Allen Robinson, I'd go DK. Walter, do you like Aaron Jones today? My name's actually Sam. I built an artificially intelligent algorithm. His name is Walter Mason. You can access to him in the WalterPicks app. I'm deciding between Jones, Madison, and Brandon Cooks. I would go with Brandon Cooks over Aaron Jones and over Alexander Madison today in what should be a shootout. And don't worry about the name thing. It's a classic mistake. Bro, I have my mortgage riding on the Bears winning, making the playoffs. Wish me luck. Good luck, man. I'm rooting for your mortgage, but they're probably not going to win. Seattle or Cleveland D? I like Cleveland D a ton. Breeze not throwing 50 times. No, he's not throwing 50 times. I won't be surprised at all if we see Taysom Hill very involved in that game. Cooks or Zeke at flex? I would probably go Zeke at flex. Zeke has a really, really safe floor. He's the workhorse back again for the Dallas Cowboys. I do like Ezekiel Elliott a lot in that game. I think that they're going to have to lean on him. The weakness of the Giants defense is their rushing defense. Their strength is their passing defense. And I think that's going to bode well for Ezekiel Elliott today. Newton or Kirk? I would go Kirk, definitely. Newton is not a guy you can trust at all. Cleveland or other defenses? See, I like Cleveland defense a ton. Aaron Jones, Brandon Cooks, or Madison? Yeah, I would go Brandon Cooks over Aaron Jones and Alexander Madison. Allen or Rivers? I personally think that you got to trust Phillip Rivers today, guys. Phillip Rivers is up against a Jaguars secondary that is bottom 2 in the NFL right now. It's a must-win game. And if the Jaguars can keep it close, I think Phillip Rivers is going to do very, very well. Jefferson or A.J. Brown? I would lean towards A.J. Brown, but I like Jefferson a lot today too. Honestly, Jefferson probably has the safer floor than A.J. Brown and a similar ceiling, so I changed my mind. Justin Jefferson, we know he's going over 73.5 receiving yards because that was our free player prop pick of the day, and we've had over 85% accuracy with our free player props this season, and he's probably going to go over 100 yards. Guys, the Lions secondary is an absolute joke. So I do like that a lot. What's your thoughts on Alexander Madison and DraftKings? I want nothing to do with him. I think he's the trap of the week. I think Ty Montgomery also a complete trap in DFS and season-long leagues. I wouldn't be trusting either of them. At least one of them is going to be a complete bust, probably under 10 points for both, in my opinion. The free prop pick is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards, excuse me. Landry or Akers? I do like Jarvis Landry over Cam Akers. Cam Akers and Terry McLaurin, both coming off high ankle sprains, both risky options. Why Mark Andrews over George Kittle? The reason is Mark Andrews has more to play for. He has the easier matchup, and he's really the top option in that offense right now. So I would lean towards Mark Andrews for those reasons. There's a lot of incentive for the 49ers not to play George Kittle as much as they normally would. I like Andrews over Kittle today, yes. Would you bench Aaron Jones for Jeff Wilson or Gaskin? I would consider benching him for Jeff Wilson just because of the floor, but again, I think Aaron Jones has a higher ceiling than Wilson and Gaskin. Thielen or A.J. Brown? Oh, it's a close one. I would go A.J. Brown, though. Yes, Tannehill is a strong start this week. The only risk for Tannehill is that they get a huge lead and they just ride Derrick Henry. That's the only risk. That's really the only risk with him every week, but I think you can confidently go with Ryan Tannehill this week. I have him in a bunch of my DFS lineups. Bears versus Packers over under 48 points. I think it's going to be over. Both offenses are going to be really pushing the ball. Worried about Jones playing time with Dillon? Yeah, I think you can be pretty concerned about that. A.J. Dillon is eating into his workload. Jamal Williams is playing this week as well. Should I pick up Cleveland defense? Yes. Jakeem Grant is inactive. Yes, he is. The free prop pick. Thanks, Sam and Walter, for helping me win my championship. I got you, man. The free prop pick today is Justin Jefferson. I got to stutter. Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. He's gotten over 75 yards in 5 out of his last 7 games. And he is up against a Lions defense that's allowed 9 different receivers over 75 yards in just their last 6 games. So there is a lot to like about Justin Jefferson today and really for the rest of his career. He has a outside shot at the rookie receiving title. Who should I start for my flex? Judy, Anderson, or Dobbins? I like Judy a lot. He saw 15 targets last week, guys. I do like Jerry Judy. DJ Moore or T. Higgins? I'd probably lean towards T. Higgins. Alexander Madison or David Johnson? I'd go David Johnson there. Again, I think Alexander Madison and Ty Montgomery are traps today. I really don't trust either of them. Mike Gesicki or Kittle? I would lean towards Kittle over Mike Gesicki. Choose one. Madison, Moore, Landry. I would lean towards Landry over Madison and DJ Moore. I'd go David Johnson over Alexander Madison as well. Again, I think Alexander Madison and Ty Montgomery are traps today. Guys, hit that like button. Let's get to 150 likes. Hit that like button. You could be 140th like. T.Y. Hilton or Landry? To me, T.Y. Hilton's on an offense that's going to score more points today. Landry's on a run-first team. So I like T.Y. Hilton just a little bit more than Landry. Thanks, Sam. Have a great day. You too, Ryan. Deontay or Hollywood? I would lean towards Hollywood over Deontay Johnson. I don't trust Mason Rudolph at all. I think the Browns are going to completely blow out the Steelers, and I don't think you can trust any of the receivers. I'd go Montgomery over Madison for sure. I'd go Melvin Gordon over Ty Johnson and over Ty Montgomery. Thoughts on Ronald Jones? According to Bruce Arians, Ronald Jones is going to see the full workload today, but he's been known to lie in the past. I think Ronald Jones is a bit of a risk today. Swift or Carson? I would lean towards Carson for the floor, Swift for the upside. Packers -4. Yeah, I think that the Packers are going to win by more than 4. What do you think about the Steelers heading into the playoffs? I'm not that in on them. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Chiefs. Their defense, their secondary is their weakness. And to me, that's a bad sign for a team in 2021 in the NFL. You got to have a good secondary. Madison or Akers? I would lean towards Madison over Akers, but it's close. Allen Robinson or Jeff Wilson for my flex? Definitely Allen Robinson. Don't bench Allen Robinson. Don't bench DK Metcalf. Don't bench A.J. Brown. Don't bench Justin Jefferson. All of these guys are going to go off today. I like Jerry Jeudy as a sleeper today as well. He saw 15 targets last week. Thank you. Thank you, Bob Beast. I appreciate it. Jeff Wilson, yay or nay? I'd say yay on Jeff Wilson. Browns defense is probably the best defense today, guys. They're up against a Steelers offense playing Mason Rudolph and all sorts of backups, and they're in a must-win game. They're 10-point favorites. David Johnson over Myles Gaskin for me, but it's close. It's definitely close. I think David Johnson's probably going to get more receiving yards. Crowder or Ty Johnson? This one's close. I think Ty Johnson's a little bit safer than Crowder just because he plays running back and he's going to see at least 15 touches. But I like Jamison Lee Crowder a lot. I'd probably go with him. McKissick or Madison? You're really pushing the Madison. I would probably – I think that your process should lead you to Madison over McKissick. But I'm telling you guys, Madison and Ty Montgomery, they're both traps today. I'm okay going McKissick in a PPR league over Madison. Jeff Wilson Jr. or Gaskin? I think Jeff Wilson has a safer floor than Gaskin. I just need your thoughts on Kareem Hunt, bro. Yeah, Kareem Hunt, they're 10-point favorites today against a Steelers defense that just allowed over 100 yards to Giovanni Bernard. So they're not that scary of a defense with all sorts of guys resting today as well. I'm okay with Kareem Hunt, but to me, Nick Chubb is going to be the guy that goes off. So Kareem Hunt still got a little bit of risk. He's really taken a backseat in the passing game too, which is weird because they had no receivers last game. He only played one game in the slot, one play in the slot. Corey Davis or Higgins? I'd go Corey Davis. Browns or Arizona? Tough call. I would go Browns. I don't see the Browns not doing well. Cleveland defense, even with so many out in the secondary, yes, because Mason Rudolph is not good. He is not good. So the secondary is less of a concern. What's wrong with Madison? The issue with Alexander Madison is, first of all, he hasn't played in a couple of weeks. He hasn't been very involved in this offense for quite some time. And I don't think it's an absolute lock that Alexander Madison sees over 50% of the work in this backfield. I think Mike Boone is going to end up being very involved. And let's look back at week 6 when Alexander Madison was supposed to be the starting running back for Dalvin Cook against the Atlanta Falcons, who at the time had a bottom 5 defense. And he was probably the most owned player in DFS that week. And back in week 6, he played 51% of the snaps. He saw only 10 carries and he had only 2 targets, a total of 30 yards. He had 30 yards in that game. We could see something very, very similar in this game today. I think he's going to be right around 50% of the snaps. I won't be surprised if he sees 10 or fewer carries. And to me, that's just way too much risk. He hasn't played over 25% of the snaps since week 9. Like, are we really sure they're just going to hand over the keys to Alexander Madison today? He hasn't played. He didn't play in week 16 either. Kirk over 20. Yeah, I do think Kirk's going to go over 20. Aguilar or Curtis Samuel? I do like Aguilar over Curtis Samuel today. Dobbins or Ty Johnson? I'd probably go Ty Johnson. Yeah, the free prop pick of the day. Hit that like button, by the way. We're 1 like away from 140. Really do appreciate all the likes on the YouTube stream. And I do think that I would be benching Alexander Madison in that situation. But Ty Johnson over Dobbins is close for me. It's not going to feel good. Dobbins has a lot more to play for than Ty Johnson does. But I think Ty Johnson's going to end up seeing more touches than J.K. Dobbins, so I'm okay going with him. Cardinals money line, Goff is out. Yeah, Cardinals are going to beat the Rams. But I think if there's any team that ends up blowing it today, it's going to be either the Arizona Cardinals or the Tennessee Titans. I think that the Arizona Cardinals are just one of those teams that continues to blow it in these situations. And the Tennessee Titans, I think Deshaun Watson could keep up with that offense. I think that's going to be an extremely high-scoring game. Titans and Texans, you want a piece of that game in your DFS lineups. Yes, I'm back in Boston, back in the crib in Boston. McCole Hardman for DFS. Yeah, he's got upside for sure. And who knows what that Chief offense is going to be like. Darwin Thompson's probably going to lead the team in touches. Yes, the player prop is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. It's moved as high as 80 in most spots. I'm okay taking it up to 80. Chris Carson or Thielen at flex? I would probably go with Adam Thielen. Jerry Jeudy over 39.5 receiving yards. Yeah, I like that. And if you want another free player prop pick, guys, on top of Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards, then go into the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store, click on the player prop tool, and you will see another free prop pick separate from Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins is going over 20 fantasy points a day. The Detroit Lions secondary is just so bad. Lockett, Aguilar, or Landry? I would probably lean towards Landry over both those guys. Wilson or Cousins? I like Cousins a lot. Pick 2, Diggs, Dobbins, Mike Williams. I'd probably still go with Diggs there. And Jeffrey, if you're going for upside, I'd go Mike Williams. Otherwise, I'd go Dobbins. Do you think Lamar throws more than one TD today? Yeah. The Lamar Jackson TD prop still at 1.5 touchdowns. He's probably going to go over that, and you're getting plus odds on that too. I like that. Swift or David Johnson? I would lean towards Swift for the upside, David Johnson for the floor. It feels so weird seeing this background again. Yeah, man. Welcome back to Boston. Locke or Mayfield? I would lean Drew Lock over Mayfield. And Drew Lock's my favorite cheap quarterback on DFS today, stacked with Jerry Jeudy. I think that's an optimal upside stack for very few. Justin Jefferson over Brandon Cooks today? Yes. What do you think is the best QB this week? I think the best QB this week is Lamar Jackson. I don't think you can bench Lamar Jackson. I'm going for floor. Dobbins or Mike. Yeah, floor is Dobbins, definitely. Jeffrey, definitely Dobbins. I live in Boston. Nice, man. Kirk Cousins are over under 20 points. Over 20 points. Crowder, Lockett, or CD. I like Crowder more than Lockett and CD. Jared Cook or Irv Smith. I like Jared Cook a little bit more than him. I'd go Boyd over Madison. Again, Madison and Ty Montgomery to me are traps this week. They're traps. Is Cam Akers playing? Yes, it looks like Cam Akers is going to play through a high ankle sprain. Hard to know how much he's going to play or how well he will play. Jeff Wilson over Alexander Madison 100%. Top 5 QBs this week. There's a ton of quarterbacks I like. Lamar Jackson, the guys you have to be starting to me. Lamar Jackson must start. Aaron Rodgers, extremely high ceiling. I think that Deshaun Watson's probably in the top 5 this week as well. And I think even in a tough matchup, you got to be trusting Kyler Murray. After that, a lot of good quarterbacks after that too. Ryan Tannehill, really, really high upside. Again, I think that Ryan Tannehill versus Deshaun Watson game probably going to be the highest scoring game of the week. You want pieces of that offense. You want A.J. Brown. You want Corey Davis. You want Derrick Henry. You want Ryan Tannehill. You want Deshaun Watson, and you want Brandon Cooks in your lineups today. Then even further down from Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins and Phillip Rivers, both in fantastic matchups today. Kirk Cousins arguably up against the worst secondary in the NFL, and Phillip Rivers arguably up against the second worst secondary in the NFL. Both those guys are going to do very, very well. Floor, Rivers, Trubisky, or Hurts. Rivers has a really safe floor today. Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. I'd go Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. The risk with Tom Brady and the risk with Josh Allen today is that they're both going to be benched at halftime, which they probably should be. They have very little to play for. So it won't shock me at all if they are both benched by halftime. Samuel or Hollywood? I would probably lean towards Samuel. And guys, let's go through kind of what teams have Chubb only projected 14 by Walter. Is it possible to account for the Steelers situation? Yeah, that seems a little bit low for Nick Chubb's projections. I have Nick Chubb in a lot of my DFS lineups today. I like him a lot. Let me pull up this Nick Chubb projection really quickly. I think his projection should be probably closer to 18 fantasy points. Let's see here. Yeah, and I just reran it with the Steelers defense situation. It's closer to 16 now, Matt. I think Nick Chubb's a lock to go over 15 fantasy points today. Kittle or Font? I like Kittle more than Noah Fant. Ronald Jones or Nyheim Hines? I think I would go with Ronald Jones. Aaron Rodgers playing the whole game today? Yeah, they have to lock in that 1 seed. So unless they absolutely blow out the Bears, Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing the whole game. And there's a lot of teams with a lot to play for. Honestly, it ended up being more so than in past years, it feels like. The Cowboys versus the Giants. Winner of that game has a chance to make the playoffs if the Washington football team loses that night game against the Eagles. Browns versus the Steelers. The Browns need to win to make the playoffs. The Steelers are resting a ton of players. Dolphins versus the Bills. Similar situation. Dolphins need to win to make the playoffs. The Bills have every reason to be resting their players, though it doesn't sound like they're going to. They have a lot of reason to rest. Ravens, because they can't get that 1 seed over the Chiefs. Ravens versus the Bengals. Ravens need to win to make the playoffs. Cardinals versus the Rams. Winner of that game makes the playoffs. That is a playoff game. Colts versus Jaguars. Colts need a win. Jaguars have obviously been eliminated for some time. They already have Trevor Lawrence essentially locked up. Titans versus Texans. Titans need to win that game, but the Texans offense isn't going to lay down. That's, to me, going to be the highest scoring game of the week. Packers versus the Bears. The Packers have a lot of reason to try in this game. They need to win to get that 1 seed and get a bye. The bye is even more advantageous this season because there's only one team in each division that gets a bye. The Bears win, they're in the playoffs. Saints versus the Panthers. The Saints could be trying to win this game for that 1 seed. They're going to be watching that Packers game closely, though, because if the Packers win, Saints can't get that 1 seed. The Seahawks versus the 49ers. The Seattle Seahawks need to win to get into the playoffs, so they're going to be trying very hard in that game. I think DK Metcalf's going to go off in that game. Bucks versus the Falcons, 0 playoff implications in that one. Fix Ronald Jones in the app. Ooh, got to update that. Thanks for the heads up there. And Ronald Jones was not supposed to be playing this week, but now he is. We'll update this one. Got to rerun these simulations real quick. And according to Bruce Arians, Ronald Jones is going to see the normal amount of work that he sees. But Bruce Arians is known to be lying in the past, so we will see how true that ends up being. I did just update Ronald Jones. I also updated Nick Chubb. So if you close your app and open it again, both those guys should be updated. Why does it say Ty Johnson is projected less than 10 in the app? Let me pull this one up. Probably because he's on the New York Jets. Let's see here. Maybe double check the scoring system that you're using. Is Wilson playing today? Yeah, Wilson is playing. Ty Montgomery or Nyheim Hines? I think Ty Montgomery is a complete trap today. Let's see, Ty Johnson. Irv Smith or Font? I would lean towards Noah Fant over Irv Smith. And this Ty Johnson projection should be updated now. Be careful in the app. Ty Johnson and Tyron Johnson can be confused easily. Player prop pick of the week. It's Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. It's moved as high as 80 in most places now, but you can check what your line is at. I'd take it up to 80. Pick one, Chris Carson or Ronald Jones. I would lean towards Chris Carson over Ronald Jones. Corey Davis or Curtis Samuel. I would lean towards Corey Davis over Curtis Samuel. Sam, why aren't you answering me? Bryce, how's it going, man? Do you think the Eagles could win today? Yeah, I do think the Eagles could win today. The Washington football offense is not good. Going for floor, David Johnson, Gaskin, Carson. If you're going for the floor, go with Gaskin. Cooper, Diggs, or Anderson. I would lean towards Diggs over Cooper and Anderson, even though he could be benched at halftime. What's the best amount of money to leave on the table, or is it depending? It depends, Joe. I usually wouldn't leave more than 300 though. My line is at 85. Now I wouldn't take it at 85, even though he's probably going to still hit that. It's not exploitable at that point. Who do you think is winning the NFC East? I think the Washington football team's probably going to win, and if they don't, I think it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, or Browns defense. Jeffrey, I love the Browns defense against a team of backups for the Steelers today. Their receivers are probably playing, but Mason Rudolph is not very good. I really like the Browns defense. Yeah, you should start Montgomery. Bernard or Montgomery, definitely Montgomery. The best player prop for me of the day is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. You can get another free player prop pick that I like a lot in the WalterPicks app, completely free if you just tap on the player prop tool. WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. We've had over 85% accuracy giving away these free prop picks each week, every single Sunday on this stream. Really do appreciate everyone that's tuned in throughout the season. It's been a really, really fun season. And guys, 2021, the best has yet to come. I'm super excited for the next NFL season and for our NBA product to come out and the NBA props to start cashing in. Pick two, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, David Montgomery, or Austin Eckler, already starting Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, you got to go Nick Chubb and you got to go Austin Eckler there. It's really not much of a decision. Does the WalterPicks app need money? No, not for all of it, but to get the premium features, you got to start your 3-day free trial. It's only $5 a month, so really not that bad. Tannehill or Murray, and 3-day free trial, you're going to probably make more money than you end up spending on the subscription. Ty Johnson or Ty Montgomery, I would go Ty Johnson over Ty Montgomery this week. Jets or Browns D, I like the Browns defense more than the Jets defense, but both are probably going to do very well. Scary Terry, safe to start. He's not safe. No, he's coming off a high ankle sprain. He's going to be playing through it. He's probably not going to play his full allotment of snaps. Malcolm Brown or Dobbins for the championship. I would go Dobbins because Cam Akers is playing. I'd go Bernard over Ty Montgomery. Should I start Jeff Wilson over Gibson or Jacobs? No. If you're starting him, it'd be over Gibson, not over Jacobs. I'd go Crowder over Gaskin. Jalen Hurts or Matt Ryan. Ryan is projected 0.6 above Hurts on the ESPN app. Well, why are you using the ESPN app? It has less accurate projections than the WalterPicks app, which is also free to use. So go check that out in the iOS App Store to get a more accurate projection for Jalen Hurts and Matt Ryan. We've been 17% more accurate than ESPN and Yahoo over the last 2 years. The free prop pick, it is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. He's up against a Lions defense that's allowed 9 different receivers over 75 yards in the last 6 weeks. Should I be starting Austin Eckler? Yes, you can trust Austin Eckler. Madison or Ty Montgomery. These are the two traps of the week, and I think I would lean towards Madison over Ty Montgomery. The matchup for Madison is very good. The Lions defense is trash. Washington or Jets defense. I think Madison has a higher chance of a touchdown than Ty Montgomery. Washington or Jets defense. I would probably lean towards the Jets defense over the Washington defense. Patriots or Washington defense. I'd probably go Patriots defense over the Washington defense. Mark Andrews or Logan Thomas. It's definitely Mark Andrews. I like Mark Andrews as a top 3 tight end this week. Kyler or Herbert, please. Championship. I'd go Kyler. Should I start Herbert or Josh Allen? Please, it's for the championship. I would probably lean towards Josh Allen over Herbert still. Kyler or Kirk. close one. But I think Kyler Murray can't be benched. I don't think you can bench Kyler Murray. I don't think you can bench Aaron Rodgers. And I really don't think you can bench Lamar Jackson. Those three guys, to me, you have to start. I'm confused. How do you use the WalterPicks app? What are you confused about? You go into the app, you go to the Who Do I Start tool, you choose the 2 players you're considering about starting. And when you do that, you will get access to the most accurate projections on the face of the earth using artificial intelligence and machine learning. You will get access to boom and bust probabilities based on 10,000 simulations of the week. And you will get a matchup rating. All of the information you could possibly need to make your own start-sit decision. It doesn't just tell you exactly who to start. It gives you all the information you need to start, to make your own decisions. Jake, thanks, man. Really do appreciate that you just became a premium subscriber. All the premium subscribers in the WalterPicks app take me one step closer to a dream come true of doing this full time, Jake. So really do appreciate that, man. I hope you make more money than you spend on the WalterPicks subscription. Almost every single one of our subscribers has. Yeah, the Android version's coming. Just became a premium subscriber, Jake. It's going to pay off, man. Jeff Wilson or Antonio Gibson. I'd go Jeff Wilson. I'd go Tannehill over Russ. I do like the Jets +3 today. I think that the Jets have a pretty good chance to beat the Patriots. Devontae Parker at 5,300 in DFS. Yeah, the Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki consolidated target share is very real. I think Devontae Parker and Gesicki are pretty good, safe options, especially in head-to-head contests. I'm not so sure how high the ceiling is for them, but Devontae Parker and Gesicki, to me, are pretty safe bets to see at least 7 targets. I need you one last time, Sam. Do I start Diggs and Allen? They have increased risk. There's a chance they're both benched at halftime, but yeah, I think you can still start them. Jags -17. Who knows, Brody? That game could be a complete dumpster fire, but they're probably going to cover 17 points. I do think the Jets are going to beat the Pats today. It's going to be a brutal ending for the Pats. Shepard or Sanders? I like Sterling Shepard a little bit more than Emmanuel Sanders. Both of them, though, are really good values on DFS this week. Both are pretty good sleepers this week. I mean, they're both probably going to lead their team in targets, and they're pretty cheap. So I like Sterling Shepard a little bit more, though. Yes, we're still doing fantasy. It's week 17. You shouldn't have your championship in week 17, but a lot of people do. And DFS and player props is what it's all about in week 17. And there's a lot of good DFS values today. I think the best cheap stack at quarterback wide receiver is Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy. If you're going to pay up a little bit more, then you got to go with the Ryan Tannehill, AJ Brown stack, or you got to go with the Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson stack. Those stacks are tremendous this week in DFS. For the best running back defense stack, for me, it is the Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns stack. There's no running back defense stack with more upside. They're 10-point favorites against the Steelers team resting a ton of players. Nick Chubb's going to go off in that game. Browns defense probably going to do very well also. And if you're going for a very cheap value wide receiver with upside, look no further than Richie James, who's going to play 100% of snaps for the 49ers with Deebo Samuel and Ayuk out, or Andy Isabella, who's probably going to play 100% of the snaps for the Cardinals with both Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald out. Andy Isabella is a fantastic option within that Arizona Cardinals game today. Russ or Herbert? I'd probably lean towards Herbert. You like Higgins in DraftKings today? Yeah, I do like Higgins a decent amount. He's been really consistent, so you can trust him a decent amount in this game. And Wolford starting for the Rams, guys. God, Wolford is probably going to do very poorly. It's his first game in the NFL. Apparently, he was like an investment banker in the past too, so he's probably made a lot of money even before football. Richie James or Ty Johnson? I don't know how someone balances those two things. I would probably go Ty Johnson over Richie James. I'd go Josh Allen over Mitch Trubisky, even though Josh Allen might not play the whole game. I like Sterling Shepard, though, a little bit more than Richie James. Deontay Johnson or Brandon Cooks? I'd go Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is a great option. And Deontay Johnson's tough to trust. Guys, Mason Rudolph is not good. He is not good. Metcalf or Thielen? I'd go Metcalf. You're up at 82, but projected 10 less. Yeah, you should win. Did I miss the free prop play? Yeah, the free prop pick of the week. Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. Lock it in. It's moved as high as 80 in most places because we've been hammering this prop since 9 a.m. this morning. So it's definitely moved a decent amount. But yeah, I like Justin Jefferson up to 80. I would take it up to 80. He's got up against a horrible Lions secondary. No, there's not a chance that Mahomes comes back in the last minute to throw a behind the back pass. Do I start Diggs? Yeah, you can start Diggs, but just be aware there's a risk of him not playing later in the game. This is what you get for playing in week 17. Andrews or Kittle? I would lean towards Andrews over Kittle. And I know this is probably a bold take, but to me, Andrews has more a safer floor and ceiling than George Kittle, just because he's in a game that is a must-win. There's more incentive for them to ease George Kittle back a little bit more coming off the injury. He probably won't play his full allotment of snaps. Do you like the Bills or Chiefs more to win the AFC? I like the Chiefs. Melvin Gordon is a good option, guys. He's seen consistent volume. I would definitely be playing him over Alexander Madison. Madison is a trap this week. Do not play him over Melvin Gordon. Carson or Madison? Definitely Chris Carson. Colts D or Cleveland D? Last question, Sam. Thanks for your help. Yeah, I like the Cleveland defense a lot today. Colts defense should also do well. They're 17-point favorites, but I think the Cleveland defense is more intriguing for me. Hey, Sam, full DFS lineup. Yeah, Joseph, let me run through my highest upside DFS lineup for you really quickly. Drew Lock stacked with Jerry Jeudy. Running backs, that cheap stack with Andy Isabella at wide receiver as well, priced at $3,000, allows me to get in Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb at the running back slots, and DK Metcalf and Brandon Cooks at the other wide receiver slots. My tight end here is Jonnu Smith, and I went with the Browns defense as well. I like this lineup a lot. I think the Drew Lock, Jerry Jeudy stack could end up winning people a lot of money today. Witching hour. It is the witching hour. 1 hour till kickoff. Getting very, very excited. Pick one, Andrews, Ronald Jones, or Elliott. I would lean towards Elliott. Elliott's the workhorse back again for this team, so I do like Elliott. Michael Pittman, I would go Pittman. Get out of here with the jokes. Pick one, Andrews, Ronald Jones, or Elliott. I would go Elliott. Melvin Gordon or Aaron Jones. I'd go Melvin. I'm still concerned about Jalen Hurts against the strong Washington football team, and Matt Ryan went for 27 points last time against the Bucs. Yeah, I think that Matt Ryan over Jalen Hurts is fine. I think Jalen Hurts has a really, really hard matchup this week. Washington or Cleveland defense? I'd go Cleveland. Good morning, everyone. Just jumping on. Good morning, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get to 150 likes on this YouTube stream. Really close to hitting that. Really do appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Happy week 17. I would be starting Josh Allen over Mitch Trubisky. I would start Crowder over Madison and Isabella, but I do like Andy Isabella a lot today. Which round should Jefferson be drafted next season? Probably top 3 rounds. George Kittle or Ronald Jones? Definitely Melvin. Definitely George Kittle or Ronald Jones. Why did I say Melvin Gordon there? I would probably lean towards George Kittle over Ronald Jones, but it's close. I won't be surprised if the 49ers end up covering, but there's a lot for the Seahawks to play for today, so I wouldn't be betting on that. Lamar over 68 rushing. It seems like a pretty fair line to me. Tunyon or Irv Smith? I would lean towards Tunyon. Hardman today with Hill, Kelsey out. Yeah, McCole Hardman's definitely got the upside. We liked him a lot last week. You got to like him again this week. McCole Hardman's probably going to do very, very well. The issue is Patrick Mahomes is not going to play. Do you like the Pats today -3? No. I think the Jets are probably going to beat the Pats. Melvin Gordon or David Johnson? I like Melvin Gordon more. Hooper or Ertz? I would lean towards Ertz. CeeDee Lamb? Oh, God. Gibson or Wilson? Snake Sports, you got to get out of here, man. Gibson or Wilson? I would lean towards, but you're making me laugh, so it's okay. I'd probably lean towards Jeff Wilson over Gibson. Curtis Samuel or Boston Scott? I'd go Curtis Samuel. Boston Scott's very risky. Guys, we're 3 likes away from 150 likes. Hit that like button. It takes you 2 seconds. Helps me out probably more than you realize. So hit that like button. We'll get to 150 likes. Should I keep CMC or ninth round Taylor? Oh, that's close. Probably 9th round Taylor, but it's definitely close. Christian McCaffrey is going to be the number 1 overall pick. Colby, thanks for the gift, man. I appreciate it. Richie James or Robert Woods? I'd go Robert Woods, but it's close. Appreciate you, Colby. Can we trust Diggs to get 15 plus today? Trust is not the word I would use in a game where they have very little to play for. They can't get the 1 seed. They already clinched the AFC East, so there's not much for the Bills to play for, but I do think that he's still going to get 15 plus points. Trust isn't the word I would use. Madison, Dobbins, Curtis Samuel. I'd go Dobbins. Guys, the trap of the week is Madison and Ty Montgomery. Chase Edmonds or Melvin Gordon, for real. I would go Melvin Gordon over Chase Edmonds, 100%. Chargers or Chiefs? The Chiefs are probably still going to win the game, but who knows? With all the players resting, that game's a complete toss-up. Crowder or Marvin Jones? I would lean towards Crowder over Marvin Jones just because of all the injuries that Matthew Stafford is dealing with. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button. We're almost at 160 likes. Can you say your Drew Lock lineup again? Yeah, Spencer, let me run through that optimal upside Drew Lock lineup. You're going with Drew Lock stacked with Jerry Jeudy. That's the start of the lineup, which allows you to fit in Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb. Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb, you're able to fit in to this lineup. And it also allows you to fit in DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf has insane ceiling today in a game with must-win game for the Seahawks. I think DK Metcalf's probably going to go over 100 yards. Again, Jerry Jeudy's the other receiver. Andy Isabella, the cheapest receiver on the slate, bare minimum price. He's going to play 100% of the snaps for the Arizona Cardinals today. At tight end, I went with Jonnu Smith at tight end. You could also, in this lineup, pay up for Irv Smith if you like Irv Smith a little bit more. But I like getting a piece of that Titans game. On top, I like the stack of Derrick Henry and Jonnu Smith together. And then that last receiver is Brandon Cooks in the flex with the Browns defense stacked with Nick Chubb. That's the DFS lineup today. And I think you can lock it in with a lot of confidence. Corey Davis or Keyshawn Johnson? Definitely Corey Davis. Yeah, I think Andy Isabella is a lot more intriguing than Keyshawn Johnson for me this week. Cooper or Marvin Jones? I would probably go with Cooper over Marvin Jones. He has a tough matchup this week, guys. He's up against a good cornerback in Bradbury, top 3 cornerback in the league. So it's definitely nothing to gloss over with that matchup. But I do think that he's still going to do well. I think he's probably still going to go over 70 yards. Who's going to win, Steelers or Browns? Definitely the Browns. That's why I like the Browns defense so much today. The Nick Chubb Brown stack is one of my favorite stacks of the day. And I also really do like Brandon Cooks a lot in DFS today. The ceiling in that Texans game is just so high. So I stacked Derrick Henry and Jonnu Smith against Brandon Cooks in this lineup. Jerry Jeudy or Curtis Samuel? I'd go Jerry Jeudy. I like Jerry Jeudy a lot today, guys. He saw 15 targets last week. Hopkins or Gallup because of Ramsey? I'd still go Hopkins over Gallup. Don't overthink Hopkins. There's no Larry Fitzgerald, no Christian Kirk today. You like Zeke over receiving yards and rushing? Yeah, those are probably pretty good props. I don't think we identified those as exploitable, but he's going to see a pretty big workload in a must-win game against a defense whose weakness is stopping the run. The strength of the Giants' defense is the pass, stopping the pass. The weakness of their defense is stopping the run. I went with Locke, Jeudy, Tay Jefferson, Elliott, Henry, Ty Johnson, and Engram. Yeah, I like that, Marcus. Juju Davis or Samuel at wide receiver 2? I would probably go with Corey Davis over both those guys. It's hard to trust Juju, Deontay Johnson, or Claypool this week with Mason Rudolph starting at quarterback. Gallman, Ty Johnson, or Cam Akers pick 2. I'd go Ty Johnson and Cam Akers there. Over under Bucks Falcons 61.5. It's an insanely high over under. I would probably go with the under. Russ, Hurts, or Rivers, but life's too short to bet on under, so I just wouldn't bet on it at all. Russ, Hurts, or Rivers? I would probably go with Phillip Rivers over Russ and over Hurts. Guys, he's up against the Jaguars. Kirk Cousins is up against the Lions. Both those secondaries are just complete trash. So Phillip Rivers in that passing attack is very trustworthy, and same with the Kirk Cousins and that passing attack. Evans or Crowder? I'd go Mike Evans. Sean Watson or Lamar Jackson? I'd go Lamar, but both those guys. How high of a line to take the prop pick of the day? I'd take it up to 80. I wouldn't take it higher than 80. Up to 80 is exploitable. Anything past that is more fair, a more fair line that they're setting. But I do think he's probably going to go over 90 yards. So take that with a grain of salt. Jacobs or Johnson? I'd go Jacobs. Hooper or Gronk? I would go Hooper over Gronk, but it's close. That game has such a high over-under that you got to like Gronk a little bit too. But to me, the Browns have more to play for against a Steelers defense resting a ton of players. Guys, we're 3 likes away from 160 likes on the YouTube stream. Hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. And guys, if you're watching live on TikTok and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, you got to go subscribe. We're having a great time. We're posting weekly content over on YouTube. Full PPR, T.Y. Hilton, Robert Woods, Jerry Jeudy. I'd go T.Y. Hilton, then Jerry Jeudy, then Robert Woods. Yeah, Saquon, Zeke, and Miles Sanders as keepers for next year. Those are fantastic. Definitely, especially Saquon. Jonnu and Jay Taylor or Gesicki and A.J. Brown. Which duo? Oh, that's close. I think Gesicki and A.J. Brown probably has a little bit more upside. But I do think Jonathan Taylor is going to do really, really well today. Jonathan Taylor needs 86 yards, I think, to break that 1,000-yard mark. I think he's going to do it. Godwin or Ronald Jones? I'd go Godwin. Eagles defense or Steelers defense? I would probably lean towards the Eagles defense over the Steelers defense, just based off the matchup. Aaron Jones or Zeke? I'd go Zeke. Zeke is going to touch the ball more than Aaron Jones this week. How do you feel about DJ Moore? I like DJ Moore. I think when he gets the ball, he does good things. Really good things happen when they give DJ Moore the ball. They got to do it more often. Cooks or DeAndre Hopkins or JJ? You can't bench DeAndre Hopkins. I like all 3 of those guys, but you can't bench DeAndre Hopkins. Santos, Gano, or Bass? I'd probably go Bass. How about Kittle? Yeah, Kittle's a top 3 tight end. I think Mark Andrews and George Kittle and Darren Waller, those are the top 3 tight ends this week. And Travis Kelce not going to be playing. If he does play, it's not going to be for very long. Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, I think I already answered that one. Pick 2, Eckler, David Johnson, Madison, Akers, and Dobbins. I'd probably go with Eckler, and I'd probably go with David Johnson there. Giants or Cowboys? I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Giants. Amari Cooper or Mike Williams? I probably would go with Mike Williams over Amari Cooper, but it's close. Amari Cooper's better at football, but Mike Williams, without Keenan Allen, definitely has some upside. Reporting that Barkley will play after Josh Allen hits Buffalo pass record, needs 40 yards. Yeah, then Miami defense is definitely sneaky. And I think the Dolphins are going to end up winning that game. Bills or Dolphins? I think the Dolphins are going to win the game. The Bills have nothing to play for. Like, they should be resting their starters, and it does make Josh Allen risky. And if that report is true, then you got to reconsider starting Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. I think they're both extremely risky. Herbert or Murray? I would lean towards Murray over Herbert. Mike Williams or DJ Moore? I do like Mike Williams a little bit more than DJ Moore. Reported by Mike Giardi. Yeah, that's a pretty reliable source. Let me refresh my Twitter feed here. But if that's the case, then yeah, you can't be trusting Josh Allen, and you definitely can't be trusting Stephon Diggs either. Mike Giardi. My understanding is Matt Barkley will get meaningful snaps per source. Starter Josh Allen is just 40 yards away from breaking the team's single-season record. Bills also following similar formula to last year's Week 17 when they rested key starters. All right, get Josh Allen out of your lineups. Get Stephon Diggs out of your lineups. That's all we need to see. He's got the blue check mark. Mike Giardi, very reliable source. You need to be benching Josh Allen. You need to be benching Stephon Diggs now. You can't trust either of them. In the Miami Dolphins, also -3.5 also becomes pretty intriguing. I would be pretty surprised if the Dolphins end up losing this game. Yeah, the Dolphins defense is viable. Should I be starting T.Y. Hilton? Yeah, I do think you can start T.Y. Hilton with confidence. Giants pull an upset and beat them boys? I don't think so, but they do have a chance. David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, or Jeff Wilson? I pick two. I'd probably go Jeff Wilson and Aaron Jones there. Start Miami over Cleveland. It's close. The Miami defense is better than Cleveland, so it's very close. I think that they're a little bit more expensive in DFS maybe, but they're probably pretty similar options now. I'm okay going with Miami over Cleveland. Both of them should do really well against backup quarterbacks. Is Cole Beasley a good starter? No, he's not. Josh Allen looking like he's not going to play very much in this game, probably no more than a quarter. Stephon Diggs probably not going to be playing very much. So I don't think you can trust him. Is Tua trustable in this matchup against the Bills? He's tough in fantasy. He doesn't really take risks or throw the ball deep very much, but I do think he could do well in a game that means nothing for the Buffalo Bills. I would go Rivers over Tua, though, on DraftKings. I'd be okay starting Tua, I think, over Hurts and Matt Ryan, but it's definitely close. I think Matt Ryan, I think you got to go Matt Ryan. The over-under in that game is just way too high to not be playing Matt Ryan. So I'd go Matt Ryan over Tua and over Jalen Hurts. Ty Johnson or Boston Scott? I'd go Ty Johnson. Bills defense is not a good start. No, they have nothing to play for. The Bills probably aren't going to win that game. Can they still win? Yes. Will they still win? Probably not. Mike Williams, yeah, he's a good sleeper today with Keenan Allen out. Gaskin or Zeke? I'd go Zeke over Gaskin. Murray or Tannehill? I would personally go Kyler Murray over Tannehill, but I think Tannehill has a higher upside. I think Murray's got the safer floor. Gaskin or Eckler non-PPR? In a non-PPR league, I think I'd go Gaskin. I'd go Zeke over Gaskin for sure. Murray or Tannehill? Yeah, again, I think Murray's got the safer floor. Tannehill has the higher upside. Gaskin or Eckler in a non-PPR league? Again, I'd go Gaskin there. Antonio Gibson, Rodney Smith, or Mike Williams? I'd go Mike Williams over Antonio Gibson and Rodney Smith. This is my season long. My league sucks. Miami over Cleveland? Yeah, Miami over Cleveland. Gallup or Parker? I would lean towards Parker over Gallup. Gage or Crowder? I'd go Crowder there. Any expensive receivers in place for Diggs? Yeah, DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown or Justin Jefferson. All three of those guys are going to do great. Thanks, man. Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year, guys. 2021, I'm optimistic about this year. Are you going to be live streaming before playoff games? Yes, I will be. Any bets today? Yes, it's Justin Jefferson. Over 73.5 receiving yards. It's moved as high as 80 in some cases, but I do think up to 80, Justin Jefferson's going to easily clear that up against a horrible, horrible line secondary. Colts defense 3,900 or Dolphins defense 2,900. I'd go Dolphins defense there. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks have something to play for. Yes, they need to win to make the playoffs. So yeah, they have something to play for. Thanks for what you do, bro. Yeah, I got you. NBA experts lost me big money last night. I need your NBA props. Yeah, Spencer. The experts don't use math like we use math. We are less opinion-based, more math-based, and that's what makes us different. So yeah, I'm excited to have those NBA props out to you soon. We have had over 65% accuracy on the beta testing so far with the player props for the NBA. I've spent over 2 years building that algorithm. Any Rams or Cardinals? Are the Rams or Cardinals winning? I think the Cardinals are going to win that game. But if there's any team that blows it today, it's probably going to be either the Cardinals or the Titans. I think one of those two teams could end up blowing it. Mike Williams or Tyler Lockett? I'd go Mike Williams there. Russ or Herbert? I'd go Herbert. Thoughts on Pascal? Yeah, he's got an upside in a game that should be really high scoring. Thank you for winning me my league. You won your league. You chose the right person to listen to, but you won your league. So I thank you for saying thank you. Washington football team or Saints defense? I'd go Washington football team. Guys, we're almost at 165 likes on this YouTube stream. Hit that like button. If you're watching live on TikTok and you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, you got to go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got 45 minutes till football, week 17, last week of the regular season. I'm pumped. I'm getting excited for some football. I'd go DK Metcalf over Allen Robinson, but it's definitely close. I'd go Browns defense over Seahawks defense, but the Miami Dolphins defense very much in play now. Allen Robinson or DK Metcalf? I'd go DK Metcalf. Akers, Diggs, or Davis? I would probably lean towards – you can't play – guys, you cannot play Stephon Diggs or Josh Allen. There was just a report that they're both probably not going to play more than the first quarter. Do not play Diggs. Do not play Josh Allen. They probably aren't going to play more than a quarter. You got to bench them. So don't get them out of your lineups. I should see no questions about them. Bench Josh Allen. Bench Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I do think Cooper can still do well, even in a tough matchup with Bradbury. A-Rob or Waller? Definitely Allen Robinson. Akers, Diggs, or Davis? I would lean towards Davis there. You can't play Diggs, guys. He's probably not going to play more than a quarter. Based on this report that from Michael Giardi, you can't be trusting him. Allen Robinson or A.J. Brown? I'd probably go Allen Robinson, but you want to start both those guys. Antonio Gibson or Aaron Jones? I would probably go Aaron Jones over Antonio Gibson. Kittle or Waller? I'd probably lean towards Waller, but it's close. Ridley or Jefferson in DraftKings? I like Jefferson more than Ridley, but they're both going to do very, very well. No Diggs. Can you dig it? Yeah, don't start Stephon Diggs. What do you think about Ronald Jones and DeAndre Swift? I think both of them are high risk, high upside plays today. I think both of them could score 2+ touchdowns, but they both also have some risk. DeAndre Swift risk is attached to just the offense being horrible with the Matthew Stafford injury and him just not playing enough. The Ronald Jones risk is him coming off an injury. And do we trust Bruce Arians when he says he's going to be the workhorse back again? You're the GOAT. Karras, thanks, man. Definitely lock in Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards today, guys. Do not start Stephon Diggs because he's looking like he's not going to play more than one quarter of football. Josh Allen almost definitely isn't going to be playing more than one quarter of football today. So don't start either of them. Giants pulling, and this is why you don't play Week 17 championships, by the way. Giants pulling upset and beat them Cowboys? I don't think so. Cook or Hawkinson? I would lean towards Hawkinson over Cook. Swift, Chubb, or Wilson? Nick Chubb cannot be benched. Nick Chubb cannot be benched, guys. He's a 10-point favorite against the Steelers defense, resting a ton of their starters. You're doing God's work. Thanks, man. How about Chargers defense? Chargers defense should do okay, but I like the Dolphins defense much more. I like the Browns defense much more as well. I even like the Jets defense more than them. Jags wide receiver, Laviska over Diggs. Yeah, you got to bench Diggs. You have to bench Stephon Diggs. You have to bench Josh Allen. They're probably not going to play more than 15 minutes of football today. Jaguars receiver, I would probably go Laviska Shenault over Stephon Diggs at this point. And we got to update the app to reflect this report. Josh Allen going to be projected less than 10 points now. He's probably not going to play more than one quarter of football. So he's tough to trust this week. Same with Stephon Diggs. They have no reason to be risking their starters when they already can't get the 1 seed. They've already kind of solidified where their seed is. The seeding doesn't even matter that much. Only the 1 seed matters. So I don't think that they're going to be fighting very hard in this game. And that's bad news for Josh Allen. It's bad news for Stephon Diggs. So to me, you got to be benching both these guys. And I'm updating their projections in the WalterPicks app right now. If you close the app and open it again, both of them are projected under 10 points now. So you got to get them out of your lineups. Both probably going to do very well in the first quarter and then not play the rest of the game. Jameson Crowder or Corey Davis? I'd go Crowder. Mike Williams or Jameson Elite? Crowder. I would lean towards Crowder, but it's close. Mike Williams has probably more upside than Crowder as the number 1 receiver for Justin Herbert today. So if you're going for upside, go with Mike Williams. But if you're going for the floor, Jameson Elite Crowder is probably going to get at least 7 targets today, which you can't say the same about Mike Williams. I do like Corey Davis a lot today, though. Honestly, I think I'd go Corey Davis over Jameson Crowder. I think that Ryan Tannehill, Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, all of them are going to have fantastic fantasy days. Madison or Aguilar? The trap of the week. It is Alexander Madison, and it is Ty Montgomery. These are the big traps. These are the big traps of the week. Both of them have a way lower floor than you probably realize. Both of them could very easily get under 5 fantasy points, just like we saw with Alexander Madison back in week 6 when he played the Atlanta Falcons. No Dalvin Cook in that game. He had 30 total yards. He had less than 3 fantasy points. It was brutal. T.Y. Hilton or Jerry Jeudy? I would go Jerry Jeudy in the situation where you're going for maximum upside. But T.Y. Hilton's probably going to end up doing better than Jerry Jeudy. T.Y. Hilton's up against the Jaguars, who have the worst secondary only up against the Detroit Lions. Those two are the worst secondaries in the NFL. So if you're going for the safety, it's T.Y. Hilton. If you're going for the upside, to me, it's Jerry Jeudy, who saw 15 targets last week. Corey Davis, Antonio Brown, Tyler Lockett. I'd go with those first two guys. Pick 2, Carson, Madison, Gallman. I'd go Carson and probably Gallman over Madison. Josh Allen or Justin Herbert. Bench Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. There was just a report that they're both probably not going to play more than one quarter of football today. I think you're struggling to trust Chase Claypool, Juju, or Deontay Johnson. The Steelers are resting a lot of starters. Big Ben not playing today. Sam has made a lot of money. Don't take this man for granted. Made me a lot of money. Don't take this man for granted. Download his app. Thank you, Karis. I appreciate that. Definitely don't take this for granted because Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards is an absolute lock today. So you can lock that one in with a very large amount of confidence, guys. And hit that like button. Who's going to be that 165th like on this YouTube stream? Madison over 13.5 points. Nope. Don't think so. I think he's going to go under 10. Logan Thomas or Kittle? I'd go Kittle. Montgomery, Taylor, or Jacobs, pick 2. I'd probably go with those second 2 guys there. I don't think you can bench Jonathan Taylor, his over-under for rushing is 85 yards today. He's probably going to go over that. Jonathan Taylor's averaging 97 yards per game this season, and he's up against a defense that has allowed 170 rushing yards per game over the last couple of weeks. Struggling to trust Phillip Rivers over Hurts. Addicted to rushing floor. Dumb? No, it's not dumb to be addicted to the rushing floor, but you got to look at the matchup for Phillip Rivers, and it's a great, great matchup and a must-win game for them. Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins? I'd still go Aaron Rodgers over Kirk Cousins, but it's close. Kirk Cousins has a fantastic matchup today as well. I like Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson a lot today. It's one of the best stacks in DFS of the week. I'd go Agumbawale over Boston Scott. Scott's got just too tough of a matchup to trust. You have to bench Stephon Diggs. There's no one you can't start anyone over Stephon Diggs or Josh Allen. And if you're just arriving to the show, there was just a report that once Josh Allen gets past 40 yards today, he's going to be benched, just like they benched their starters at the end of the last season. So in week 17, don't start Josh Allen. Don't start Stephon Diggs. They might not play more than a quarter of football. Last time Alexander Madison started, he had 21, 12, and 1. Yes, that is true. The last time he started actually was against the Atlanta Falcons, where he had 10 carries for 30 yards and 0 touchdowns. The game before that, he started against the Seahawks. He had 18 carries. That game, he actually did very well, 136 yards. But he hasn't played over 25% of the snaps since week 9. Since week 9, are you really sure they're going to give Alexander Madison more than 10 carries, more than 2 targets? I am not so sure. D-Hop over 10? Yeah, definitely. Pick 2, Montgomery, Taylor, or Jacobs. There's no need, Rocco, to spam in the chat. I'm going to get to your questions, man. But I would go with Taylor and Jacobs there. Carson, Eckler, or McKissick? I'd go Carson and Eckler over McKissick. Zeke or J.K. Dobbins? I'd definitely go Zeke. And Zeke was on our must-bench list a couple of weeks ago, but he's proven now that he's a workhorse back again. Bill's Red Zone, man. Good to see you again. I hit that like on your video, as promised. Logan Thomas or Waller, and is Antonio Gibson playing? It does look like Antonio Gibson is playing. I think you got to go Darren Waller over Logan Thomas. Darren Waller, guys, he's had the best month of a tight end ever. I mean, Travis Kelce, best tight end season, arguably ever, but Darren Waller's had the best month for a tight end in the history of months of tight ends. But yeah, it does look like Antonio Gibson is playing. I think the Chargers-Chiefs is a complete toss-up. Who knows who's going to end up actually playing for the Chiefs? Apparently, Darwin Thompson's going to lead that backfield. Patrick Mahomes not playing. Travis Kelce probably not going to play at all. If he does play, it's going to be very, very few snaps. Kev here for Flex. Who would you start, Lockett or Gibson? I'd go Lockett. So what is the other prop for today, Miguel? If you want the access to the second free player prop pick on top of Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards, go into the WalterPicks app, click on the player prop tool, scroll down, and you will see a second free prop pick waiting for you. That is also exploitable and is a part of our artificially intelligent algorithms designed to identify exploitable player prop picks. It's had 66% accuracy over the last 2 years and over 200 picks. And we've had 85% accuracy giving away free prop picks on this stream. I hope you win your shift today as well, Jeffrey. Browns or Cowboys D? I like the Browns defense. You have to play Crowder over Diggs. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are not going to be playing over one quarter of football today, so get them off. No, get them out of your lineups. We are not on Google Play or Android yet, but by the next NFL season, we definitely will be. What players have the most value for how much they cost in DFS/FanDuel? Well, Marcus, if you go into our DFS optimizer on the WalterPicks app, you can see that for free, actually, if you just go into each position, sort by value. But one of my favorite values at wide receiver, it is Andy Isabella. Andy Isabella he's minimum priced on DraftKings. He's going to play 100% of the snaps. 100% of the snaps for the Cardinals. No Christian Kirk, no Larry Fitzgerald. Andy Isabella is a fantastic, fantastic spot. Yeah, I still think you can trust Amari Cooper against Bradbury, even though he only had 20 yards against him last time. I still think he can do well. Player props for the playoffs, Birdie. You know it. Yeah, let's get this stream to 200 likes. We're close, guys. Let's get to 170. Who's going to be that 170th like? What are the prop picks you have? The free player prop pick of the week is Justin Jefferson over 73.5 receiving yards. It's moved as high as 80 since the start of the stream. That's how exploitable it was. That's just proof that we knew this prop was exploitable, and the books figured it out a little bit late. But I would take Justin Jefferson up to 80 yards. And if you want another free player prop pick, go into the WalterPicks app. There's another free one in there. Yes, we will have props throughout the playoffs as well. Corey Davis or Robbie Anderson. I would lean towards Corey Davis. I want nothing to do with Alexander Madison or Ty Montgomery today. At least one of them is going to completely bust. But if I had to choose one, I'd go with Alexander Madison. Ty Montgomery to me is a complete wild card. I think that we're going to see more of Taysom Hill today. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Let's get to 175 likes. If you're watching live on TikTok, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to end the TikTok stream. I'm going to end the stream like I usually do just on YouTube. The reason I do that, it's a little less spammy. So you can come join that YouTube stream. I'll be live on YouTube for another 30 minutes or so. Dobbins or Hines. I like Dobbins a little bit more. Kirk or Cousins? Kirk or Cousins? Kirk Cousins is a good option, but you're asking about the same player. Thank you, Sam, for an amazing season. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. I really do appreciate every single one of you a ton. This has been a really, really fun season. I'm definitely going to enjoy the last day of regular season football today. Yeah, Jeff Wilson is a good start. I like Dobbins more than Hines. Isabella or Ty Johnson? I think Isabella has a higher ceiling than Ty Johnson, but Ty Johnson definitely has the safer floor. Thoughts on Mixon for next season when he gets good O-line? I think he's going to break out. Yeah, Bills Red Zone. I agree. I mean, Joe Mixon's been one of the more underrated, talented wide running backs in the NFL for quite some time. He's had probably the worst offensive line that I've ever seen a running back have in his career. He's never had even a semblance of an offensive line. So the breakout season is probably coming for Joe Mixon. I agree. T. Higgins, Corey Davis, Richie James, pick two. I'd probably go with those first two guys, T. Higgins and Corey Davis. Samuel or Boston Scott? I'd go Samuel. Boston Scott's tough to trust. What do you think of the Bills +3 and Packers -4.5? The Bills are resting Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs as soon as the first quarter. So I don't like the Bills +3, but I do like the Packers -4.5. Yeah, honestly, the numbers that Joe Mixon has put up behind that O-line, I mean, it's really impressive. You go back and watch the tape. I go back and rewatch every single game at least once. If you go back and watch some of Joe Mixon's games, like he's making 3-4 guys miss before he even gets to the line of scrimmage. It's brutal. It's insane. Gaskin, Zeke, or Gordon? I would probably rank these guys this week as Zeke number 1, Gordon number 2, and then Gaskin number 3. And guys, hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. We're almost at 175 likes. Hit that subscribe button too if you haven't subscribed yet. Akers, Ty Johnson, or Boston Scott? I'd go Ty Johnson, then Akers, then Boston Scott. Kirk or Kyler? LMAO. Yeah, I'd go Kyler over Kirk. How do you feel about Emmanuel Sanders? I think Emmanuel Sanders and Sterling Shepard, similar situations. They're both probably going to lead their team in targets, pretty good values and sleepers this week. I think both of them are going to go over 50 yards. Hurts or Ruggs? Hurts or Russ? I would probably go Russ over Hurts, but it's close. You think your locks are Eagles +5.5 and Titans -7. Yeah, I like those, Marcus. We won the ship, Steven. That's what I'm talking about. Good job, man. Congrats. Wilson or Dobbins? I like Jeff Wilson a little bit more than J.K. Dobbins this week. And there we are, 175 likes. We're close to hitting that 200 like mark, guys. And I'm going to be ending this stream over on YouTube. So if you're on TikTok and I haven't got your question yet, or you want to continue on the stream, come over to our YouTube Live. It's linked in our TikTok account. And join the YouTube Live for the next 20 minutes or so as we wrap up our final regular season stream of the week. Was a ton of fun this season, guys. Thanks for everyone who supported me along the way. Really do appreciate everyone, all of the people that have listened in and followed us on our social media channels and enjoyed the WalterPicks app this season in its first inaugural season. Many seasons to come. So I'm going to be ending this TikTok stream, guys. Just going to be on YouTube trying to answer as many questions as I possibly can before kickoff. So come on over to YouTube and I'll see you there. Have a great Sunday if you don't join the YouTube stream. And we are live just on YouTube now. Let's go, guys. This is the last 20 minutes of the show. I'm going to be logging off just a little early because I got to make sure my DraftKings lineups are updated. I'm in a head-to-head DraftKings league, a season-long DraftKings league. It's $120 to enter. 62 teams are in this. No, 64 teams are in this league. Each team, there's basically 2 full NFL leagues. And the winner gets $5,000. I'm still alive in the playoffs. So I got to make sure my head-to-head contest is updated with all the reports out of this over the last couple of hours. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, get them out of your lineups. looking like they're going to be benched in the first quarter. Judy or Dobbins? I would probably go Dobbins for the floor, Judy for the upside. I like Isabella, I think, more than T. Higgins, but that's definitely a risk. How do you feel about Swift this week? I think DeAndre Swift has the same ceiling he has had all season. He's got a top 5 running back ceiling each week, but he also has a really low floor because the Detroit offense has struggled, and they just don't play him enough. Tunyon or Kittle? I'd go Kittle. Jerry Judy, T.Y. Hilton, or Curtis Samuel? Pick one, please. I'd probably go T.Y. Hilton, then Jerry Judy, then Curtis Samuel. Pascal Gage or John Brown? Beasley out and Diggs not playing. Yeah, I think John Brown is an interesting option, but he probably won't play that much either. I'd lean towards Pascal there or Gage. Both those guys are really similar options. That Falcons-Bucks game is going to be so high scoring. Over-under is like 61 or something. Hit that like button, guys. Let's try to get to 200 likes before the end of this stream. Really would appreciate it. Is it crazy? I only have 3 players for the 1 p.m. slate. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. What round do you think Mixon should go in? I think he should go in the second round. Are you going to be doing NBA DFS on the WalterPicks app, Tanner? You know it, man. We're changing. We're using that optimizer we built for the NFL. We're transitioning it into an NBA optimizer. So we're going to have an NBA DFS optimizer out in the iOS App Store in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to have player props for the NBA as well. Very excited for that. Guys, hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. Let's get to that 185 like button. Let's go Browns, says Ben. Yeah, the Browns are going to make it into the playoffs today with a win. I love that Nick Chubb Browns defense stack today. Let's go NBA. Kenyon Drake or Cam Akers? I like Kenyon Drake a little bit more than Cam Akers today. We're almost at 185 likes, guys. If you haven't liked yet, hit that like button. We're trying to get to 200 likes before the end of this stream. Sterling Shepard, T.Y. Hilton, or Richie James? I would lean towards T.Y. Hilton for the upside, but the safest floor there is definitely Sterling Shepard. Punt for NBA DFS. Sebastian, glad to hear it, man. I am too. Jacobs or Gaskin? I would go Jacobs over Gaskin. Devontae Parker is back. Does this change anything for Tua? Yeah, definitely boosts Tua a little bit. And I think it downgrades Mike Gesicki just a tiny bit as well. Guys, we're 2 likes away from 185. Hit that like button. I don't think the Giants are going to beat the Cowboys today. I think the Cowboys have it in the bag. Jacobs or Gaskin? I would go Jacobs. Aguilar, McKissick, or Agumbawale? I think I would go Aguilar, Robert, over both those guys. And McKissick to me is a really big risk with Antonio Gibson back and playing. I would be going Aguilar there. To me, Nelson Aguilar deserves to be in the conversation for comeback player of the year. We'll see how Alex Smith does. I know Alex Smith literally almost died, so he should get the comeback player of the year, but I don't think you're being fair if Aguilar is not in that conversation. What round do you think Mixon should go in? I think he's going to be I think he should be a second round pick next season. If he's anything later than that, then that's too late. Chubb or Gaskin? I'd go Nick Chubb 100%. Do you have Lock in a lot of your lineups? Yes. In the tournaments, I think the Drew Lock, Jerry Judy stack is the low price, high upside stack. That was my favorite this week. So I do have him in a lot of my tournament lineups. In my cash lineup, though, I think I went with either Ryan Tannehill or Kirk Cousins. Mike Evans or Amari Cooper? I'd go Mike Evans. Aguilar or Rashad Higgins? I'd go Aguilar, I think, over Rashad Higgins. Pick 2, Diggs, Jacobs, Godwins, or you got to get Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen out of your lineups. I would go Jacobs and probably Godwin there. Akers or Malcolm Brown? I'd lean towards Akers over Malcolm Brown, but who knows? Who knows who's going to get that goal line carry? It's what gives both of them a increased risk this week. And guys, hit that like button. Let's get to 190 likes. Hit that like button. If you haven't hit that like button, just X out the chat. Hit the like button. Takes you 2 seconds. Really do appreciate it. It helps me out a ton, probably more than you realize. What round do you think we've already answered this one? Got a few more minutes for everyone's questions, guys. We got like 10 minutes left in the stream. We're going to be ending right around 12:40 today. Trying to get to every single one of your questions before we log off. And again, let's run through what matters in these games today. Cowboys versus Giants. Both those teams need a win. And then a Washington football team lost to make the playoffs. The Browns versus the Steelers. Browns win, they're into the playoffs. Dolphins versus the Bills. The Dolphins win, they're in the playoffs. The Bills are supposed to be resting Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs after Josh Allen gets 40 yards, I guess. Ravens versus the Bengals. Ravens need a win in this game. Cardinals versus the Rams. This is a playoff game. Winner makes the playoffs. And the Rams are playing a backup quarterback today that has never played a snap of football in the NFL. So Cardinals probably going to destroy the Rams. But I think the Cardinals are one of the more likely teams to choke today. Colts versus the Jaguars. The Colts also need a win in this game. I think they're 17-point favorites. Titans versus the Texans. Titans are also another team I think could choke today against Deshaun Watson, an offense that I think that could keep up with the Tennessee Titans. The Titans defense is a pretty big weakness of the team, but I like Ryan Tannehill and everyone on that offense today. Packers versus the Bears. Bears need to win to make the playoffs. Packers need to win to get that 1 seed. Both teams will be going all out. Saints versus the Panthers. Saints need to win to get the 1 seed. So the Saints are going to be watching that Packers game closely because if the Packers win, the Saints have nothing to play for. So be careful with the Saints players. Seahawks versus the 49ers. Seahawks need a win in that game. The Bucs versus the Falcons, there's no playoff implications, but there's going to be a lot of points. They over under 61 in that game. I know McLaren's a risky start, but is he really worth benching? Depends who you're benching him over, but yeah, he is risky. And he's probably going to play a fraction of the normal snaps that he plays. Davis or Hawk at flex. I would go Davis. What do you think about Carson Wentz and where he will go if the Eagles trade him? I think he will go to the Pats for a second-round pick. If he goes to the Pats, that'd be amazing for the New England Patriots. I think that's probably the best landing spot for him, too. Claypool or Emmanuel Sanders? I would probably lean towards Emmanuel Sanders with Mason Rudolph starting at quarterback for the Steelers. I got Chubb, Henry, and Adams in my DFS lineup. Yeah, that's fire. All three of those guys are going to do very, very well. Devontae Adams is the number one receiver this week, as he is every single week, the best receiver in the NFL. I just posted a video on TikTok a couple days ago. He's had the best fantasy football season by a wide receiver in the history of the NFL if you look at averages. What round should Robinson go? Allen Robinson should be top 3 round pick. James Robinson also should probably be a top 3 round pick. Both of them probably going to be pretty good values again next year. Guys, hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button yet. We got 5 minutes left on the stream. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can get to. If you need any more questions answered, I think I would go Jameson Lee Crowder over McLaren. GPP. What's up with the GPPs? Yeah, GPP stands for Guaranteed Prize Pool, also short for tournaments in DFS. Davis or Hawk at flex. I would lean towards Davis over Hawk. I'd probably go Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders over Woods. Miles Sanders, though, by the way, is not playing. Cardinals defense or Bucs defense? I'd go Cardinals defense. Sam, give us a FanDuel lineup. Yeah, on FanDuel, again, I like Andy Isabella at a really cheap price. I've liked Jerry Jeudy as a really good sleeper on FanDuel as well. Another guy that I think is really underpriced over on FanDuel, and we give away our DraftKings and FanDuel favorites each week in the WalterPicks app as well, and you can get access to one free one for each position. But I think Ezekiel Elliott's priced way too low on FanDuel this week as well. He's a workhorse back again, guys. He's going to see at least 20 touches. Sterling Shepard, also a really good value play. And to me, my favorite tight end on FanDuel is Mark Andrews. I like Mark Andrews a lot with the upside in that offense. It's really the number one receiving option in that offense. Chubb and Hunt should have a big game today because Cam Hayward, TJ, and Tuitt is out today. Yeah, I like Chubb and Hunt a lot. I like Chubb more than Hunt, but I think Nick Chubb's going to do fantastic today. Tunyon, Gesicki, or Hawkinson. I would rank those guys as Tunyon number 1, Hawkinson number 2, and Gesicki number 3. But I like all three of them as pretty good values in DFS this week. Probably the game I'm most excited for today is the Cowboys and the Giants, which is like a must-win game for both teams. I think the Cowboys are going to do very well, but they do match up pretty well against the Giants defense that struggles to stop the run and is really good against the pass. I'm also really excited for that Bears and Packers game. Yo, Sam, kudos to all the knowledge you've provided us this year for fantasy football. Props, man. Thanks, Dustin. Looking forward to next season already, man. I promise you, I'll be getting started with the fantasy football drafts way sooner than I should be. What is your favorite team? I'm a Pats fan. You can see the banners behind me. Absolutely brutal season. I think the Jets are going to beat the Pats today, and it's not going to be fun to watch, but I will be watching every single snap of it. I think that Mitch Trubisky has more on the line today than any other quarterback that is playing on a football field today. If they win this game, Mitch Trubisky essentially guarantees that he's back on the Bears next season and even gets into the playoffs, which is insane that the Bears have a chance at the playoffs. Rodgers or Brady? I would lean towards Rodgers over Brady this week. I don't think you can bench Aaron Rodgers. I don't think you can bench Kyler Murray. And I don't think you can bench Lamar Jackson. You love the Pats too. Love to hear it, Mason. Hopefully we can get a decent quarterback next season. We got 3 minutes left, guys. Get in those questions. Hit that like button. See if we can get to 190 likes. If you haven't hit that like button yet, really do appreciate it. And again, I think that you got to get Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs out of your lineups based on this report from Michael Giardi. They are probably not going to be playing more than one quarter of football today. Should I start Rodgers or Lamar? I would not bench Lamar Jackson. You want Matt Stafford. Yeah, Matt Stafford, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott. If we get any of those three guys, I think the Pats can compete next season. Will this week be the final stream? No, Jake. It's the final regular season stream. Last long stream like this, but I'll be streaming before the playoff games as well. Should I start Anderson, Cooper, or McLaren? I'd probably lean towards Cooper. See you in the playoffs, Greg. Guys, we're 3 likes away from 190. Can we get to that 190th like before we log off? A lot of football to look forward to today, guys. Make sure you're enjoying the football. It's almost over. We've got like a month and a half left, and football will be over. We'll be waiting for our fantasy football drafts again. So make sure you appreciate the football on our television screens today. I know I will be. Do you do MMA picks? Nope, not MMA at the moment, though I know a lot of people have had success with that. Start 2, Jacobs, Gaskin, A.J. Brown. I would lean towards Jacobs and A.J. Brown there. I don't think you can bench A.J. Brown. The ceiling is just way too high to be benching A.J. Brown. Guys, we're 2 likes away from 190. Hit that like button. We can get to 190. Do you know around what times you'll be streaming for next week? Yeah, let me pull up the playoff schedule. I think it's already posted. Yeah, Saturday. I guess the times aren't posted, but I'll be live the hour before the first Saturday games for sure. Congrats on 2.6K. Thanks, man. Mason says, can you follow me on TikTok? I don't know what your TikTok handle is. And there we go. 190 likes. Love to see it. Guys, appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Seriously, appreciate all of our YouTube subscribers, TikTok subscribers, WalterPicks subscribers especially. Appreciate every single one of you. It's been a fantastic season, guys. Enjoy week 7 of football. I will be back live the hour before the first playoff game. We'll be talking some playoff football, who I like in the NFL playoffs. We will have some props for the NFL playoffs as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. The NFL playoffs are always super, super exciting. And I don't think you can trust Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp today with their backup quarterback starting. Yes, we are going to be talking a little bit about fantasy basketball. We're going to have DFS advice in the WalterPicks app for NBA as well. It's sports_account. All right, Mason, I'll look it up. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, Herbert or Allen. You can't start Josh Allen. He's not going to be playing more than a quarter. So definitely Justin Herbert. Guys, have a fantastic week 17. And trust me on this one, Andy Isabella. I'm excited to root for the UMass alum today in a full starting role for the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm also very excited for Justin Jefferson to clear 73.5 receiving yards, which would bring us over 90% accuracy on our free prop picks of the season. The profile pick is Cam Newton. All right, man. Guys, have a great week 17. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everyone hitting that subscribe button. And I'll be back before the 1 hour before football in the NFL playoffs. Have a good one, guys.